Hey, welcome back to the Crash Base. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's February 8th, 2026. I'm so massively out of breath. Oh my god. Hold on. How's everyone Sunday morning? It's good to be back here another Sunday at a somewhat consistent time slot. I think we did start at 10:15, which was my personal promise to myself. So it's good to nail that, you know? Promises are important. How's everyone doing on this Sunday morning? I'm so out of breath. I was just running around. I just got coffee down. I think we're just going to sit in silence and like just do a breathing exercise. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is content. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hey, Andre, City, how's it going? City, you playing some Eternal later today? Or more accurately, we watching you play some Eternal later today? Is that correct? Is that correct? I think that's correct. How's everyone doing? It's a Sunday afternoon. We're back for some streaming stuff. It's been a busy week. Today, once I catch my breath, this will be a bit easier to talk through. But as of 3 o'clock, I need to be doing a different stream somewhere else. City knows what it's about. There is something in Netrunner, a format called the Eternal format, which is a way to play Netrunner in which you have the entire card pool from the last like 15 years. And it's a nonsense format of absurd power level. Every year they do something called the Eternal Super League, which they stream Eternal events amongst like a league of 10 to 12 players. And it goes on for like 9 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that. And I definitely help out. So this afternoon here at 3 o'clock, I'm streaming week 2 of the event on a channel called the Eternal Super League. If you want to watch it, it's like really ridiculous Netrunner. But that means at 2 o'clock, we have to pop out again today. So it's already 10:20. We'll get like 3 and a bit hours in of Marvel Champions, so it'll be good. But we are time gated today, unfortunately. Hey, Joey, how's it going? Hi. How you doing? How's your week been? Welcome back. Cool. So I guess we can do a real quick catch up. I was really hoping to get a video out this Friday, but I couldn't. I was a couple hours short of getting that sort of export out in time and doing all the publishing. But I do have a video coming up. So what we're going to try and do is I'm going to try and stay one video ahead of the channel. So that means I'll try and upload this video. So it's already done, but it'll be up Wednesday morning at around 10:15, 11. I think 10:15 is my time zone. And then we'll stream every Sunday. So it'll be like every 3 to 4 days, a piece of content to watch instead of trying to put them together. And just to get ahead of the curve, I've already filmed the next one, which is going to be edited. So I should have a back catalog, actually having this channel run smoothly, which is really cool. It's been a while since we were, but just constantly have stuff that's in the works as opposed to be like, oh crap, it's Friday in a couple days. I have to go think of an idea. I have to prep a deck. I have to record a deck. I have to edit a deck. I have to publish it, which takes, it takes a bit. It definitely takes a bit. I'm trying to make it so that perfect is not the enemy of good. So you are going to see decks and gameplay which I upload where I'm very clear. It's like, hey, this is the first or second iteration of a deck. It's probably not perfect. If you have any ideas, please hit me up in the comments. And hopefully that's like a constructive way without feeling like I'm, kind of cutting corners. Just give me 1 second. My partner left. And so my cat is now yelling in the other room because she thinks she's alone. 1 second. All right, all good. She knows she's not alone. That's good. Okay, still out of breath, but I think we're going to start talking about things. Today, we are playing Jubilee. And I think what kind of fuels me to do just about anything modernly Marvel Champions, besides new releases, which we should have one hopefully soon. I don't know if Canada's going to get the short end of that stick again. But I have a whole list of all the Marvel Champions characters, and I tried to play a campaign with each of them in about a year. Now, unfortunately, 2025 ended, and we had like a dozen and a half left. And so I'm going through the back catalog of characters who we haven't played a campaign with for a while. And on there was Jubilee, which Jubilee, from my understanding, is a lot of people's like favorite hero or one of their favorite heroes. And for me, it wasn't that case going into this deck. We're definitely going to talk about Jubilee, but Jubilee has a pretty bad stat line. A 1/1/2 stat line is not great. However, you don't want to activate with Jubilee. You more so want to use her to generate a wild resource, which is really powerful. Not only because resources are good, but Jubilee's kit specifically cares about the type of resources you use to spend to pay for things. So having a wild actually opens up a lot of lines in very obvious ways you'll see when you see her cards. It kind of reminds me of like Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's stat line is obviously super underwhelming, but her hero is basically like a support. She's like an upgrade, where her text is really good and you have to exhaust her to interact with that text. So functionally, you're short one character. It's like you're missing this permanent ally, but still Miss Marvel can be very good. As much as I do admittedly struggle a bit with Miss Marvel. I need to go back and play her. 1 second. I gotta go now. Good luck on the stream. Enjoy some games later today. Hey, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it for sure. I'm glad that you're playing some Eternal. So this is what we got today, and there's a whole bunch of different Jubilee decks. I think the majority of the decks I've seen have been Justice decks. This one's no different. Boom Guy posted a basic deck, and I think this deck, as you'll see, like when we go through it, 95% of the deck is not Justice. Like, I think we end up with like only 6 or 7 Justice cards. It's mostly gray cards. So naturally getting to a basic deck, like a gray deck, which is something you can do, but technically you are an aspected deck, I think makes sense over time, because a lot of the cool things that you can do are basic. And one of my favorite cards in the deck is a basic card. So yeah, we're just doing a bit of Justice. So you could do a bit of anything. Justice makes a fair bit of sense. Now our alter ego. This is an interesting ability. It's called Mall Rat. As an action, you can search your deck, not your discard pile, only your deck, for the shopping spree player side scheme, and you can put it into play limit once per phase. So this is something you can always do on turn 1, unless you get to the sort of embarrassing opening where you draw it in your opening hand or your mulligan, and then you lose 1 hand size. It's not technically 1 hand size because this goes into play, but you do lose 1 hand size because you never want to draw into this. I really wish this wasn't set up. I really wish you could look into the discard pile, but that actually makes this much more powerful, because once you clear this thing, and we'll talk about it in a second, you have to go get it back into your deck. Otherwise, Jubilee can just pull it over and over again, which I don't think they wanted you to do that. Now, Shopping Spree is really unique. We've never seen a scheme like this. It only comes in with 2 threat, and it doesn't scale per player. However, threat cannot be removed from this threat cannot be removed from this with heroes or allies. Heroes is actually extends across a lot of different things. It means your heroes, your events, your resources, and your upgrades cannot interact with this. And obviously allies can interact with this, which leaves the card pool that can interact with this actually really small, but not zero. Specifically when it comes to Justice, it turns out specifically alter egos can interact with this because they're not heroes. So if you can thwart an alter ego, that works. Or if you have a support that can remove threat, that works, because supports are not an extension of your heroes. They're meant to be technically separate ideas. Now, the alter ego action, you can always exhaust your identity, and anybody can do this, to remove 1 threat from here, and any player may trigger this. And then when it's defeated, the players who defeated this the player who searches this deck and discard pile for an item and puts in play. Wait, I don't play a lot of multiplayer. I assumed everyone at the table would go shopping, but only the player who defeats this goes shopping. I mean, I guess that makes it not busted because this is only 2 threat to get rid of. But in theory, on turn 1, you can drop this down, you can go shopping, then your teammate can go shopping, and then they'll end up with an item, and then this clears. It's a funny looking spider hero. Yeah, I was a bit worried that we'd keep playing spider heroes, and I really did want to play more spider heroes. I'm missing playing Silk. I haven't played Silk in a minute, but we're going to do something different. Tony, how's it going? So this card is really weird, right? Because it consistently gets you items. Items is a trait that in Marvel Champions, I don't think gets used the way that you'd think it would. There are a lot of cards that are by definition items, but usually if it's an item and then something else, the card is only something else, right? So like Sonic Rifle is an item, but it's also a weapon. So it's only a tech and a weapon. Basically everything you can hold technically is an item, but there's only a subsection of cards that are items, and it's a truly small amount of cards. I think Justice only has like 2 cards that are items. I think Neutral only has like 2 or 3 cards that are items. It's a noun that is so ubiquitous and to be able to describe just about anything you're interacting with, but the amount of items in the game are actually relatively small. That being said, when you play 2 players, Shopping Spree can pop off on turn 1, and there are a bunch of heroes that have really important items in their kit. That's nice. That's super consistent. You draw the item, you install the item, you pay no costs. All you have to do is exhaust yourself. And usually on turn 1, exhausting yourself is not incredibly expensive because there's not that much you have to do on turn 1, despite some villains having pretty substantial setups. Now, this card I find to be so damn awkward. We did mention exhausting ourselves for Jubilee is not a huge cost because her stats aren't that great, so generally you're just losing a hand size to interact with this. But the fact that you have to do this twice means that you either have to stay down an alter ego a whole turn, which is not great. So largely you play it, you put it into play, hopefully you don't draw into it. You Jubilee once to take 1 threat off of it, then you jump into hero mode, you do your hero mode stuff, then you have to jump down unexhausted, and then you do it again. That is technically the workflow to get this done as fast as possible, and that largely depends on you getting it confused, which her kit has a lot of. But This, like, to me just feels so clumsy and so strange. And one of the things I run into is like it kind of makes sense to build a deck that plays a lot of side supports technology and side supports in general, right? Sorry, not side supports, side schemes, because you already have the side scheme guaranteed. And so if you play something like Skilled Investigator that draws a card whenever a side scheme is cleared, well, firstly, this doesn't technically work usually because this is a hero response and you're usually clearing this, not always, but usually clearing this in alter ego, so it doesn't work. But then you run into other issues where, like, I have played early versions of this deck and I have tuned this deck a fair bit, where I play Shopping Spree on turn 1 because of course you do. And then if you can't clear it soon, your other side schemes that you naturally draw that you put in your Justice deck, you can't put them into play because you already have one side scheme in play. I actually need to double check whether it's you can't put into play or you just have to trash until you have only one player side scheme. But if you're playing solo, you're only allowed to have one player side scheme on the table at once. So again, I'm not sure if you can destroy this, but then if that's the case, what's the point? Besides, I guess, thinning your deck on turn 1. So this is the thing I ran into, is like Skilled Investigator doesn't work well with Shopping Spree. If Shopping Spree isn't cleared immediately, which is kind of hard to do in solo, it's much harder to do in solo than multiplayer. You can't really play other player side schemes and things get a bit awkward. I'm a Jubilee believer, but boy, is her kit a bit awkward. That's what I come down to. I think her kit is actually generally a bit awkward. And Shopping Spree is like the big part of it. The other thing that happens with Shopping Spree, which if you play Expert, like, and this has happened surprisingly way more than you think I would, Shopping Spree hits the table turn 1. Maybe I clear one threat on it. Then you don't draw Confuse on turn 1 or turn 2, so you can't jump down. And then you draw Master Plan, and it puts 4 more threat on Shopping Spree. Congratulations. So Shopping Spree is cooked. There is no world where you can remove 5 threat from Shopping Spree to get an item when you're only removing 1 threat at a time by exhausting your alter ego. Like, this has happened 2 or 3 times when I've been testing this deck. And at that point, you just give up on Shopping Spree and at least the Master Plan didn't do anything. It's weird. The amount of ways you can interact with this are very, very minimal, especially if you're not playing Justice. And removing 1 threat a turn is just not good enough. If any threat is added to this, you kind of are cooked. Very, very strange. I want this card to be like my favorite part of the kit, but it's always the part of the kit that like only sometimes works. And I can't tell if I'm not building into it enough because building into side schemes in general has felt a bit strange. But I guess really quickly, well, actually, let's not talk about it just yet. But the items in our deck are really, really good. And I do think one of my things of how I perceive Jubilee is perceiving Jubilee before she gets her items or after gets her items. It's not exactly akin to like certain heroes that have a build around upgrade, like playing Quicksilver before he gets the friction resistance thing and after. But it is very, very important. Having your items down does make all your cards, it multiplies their value, and you end up playing a bit more like a Gamora, where now like every event is worth X plus something. And that does really well because your deck is mostly events. Speaking of mostly events, and this is going to be a bit interesting because these all technically have different icons in the bottom left corner. So this is Firecracker with an energy, but you have Firecracker with mental and Firecracker with physical. I can show every different copy on the screen, but it's going to be hard for me to double check which one is which because this is just labeled Firecracker 3, unfortunately. Technically, this should be Firecracker physical. But a really cool thing her kit does, and that's why when you open her deck list on Marvel CDB, it looks like it has 600 cards in it, is that she has many different cards with the exact same text with different icons on it. And it actually does matter and in a really interesting way. I think that's a very cute part of her kit. Regardless, she has 3 copies of Firecracker and it does 2 for 4 damage on a superpower. So Deft Focus is actually not something you want to do with this kit, which is kind of interesting. Because if you paid for this card using 2 different resources, you can stun that enemy. Not a different enemy like Miles technically can do, I've learned. But you can do 4 damage and a stun for 2, which is not bad. I think this is like maybe part 2 of where like I haven't really enjoyed Jubilee that much. The same way that I hadn't really enjoyed Miles Morales really that much, which we played recently on the channel, is that her kit is so loaded with stun or confuse. So again, every hero has a budget of what they can do for their costs, their power level, and her, like Miles, have substantially put a lot of their budget into stun and confuse being relevant. Now, if you play against a steady villain, you still can do something because you have so much stun or confuse, you can overwhelm a steady. But I haven't played Jubilee against a stalwart villain in a while. And I think it's been a moment since we got a stalwart villain that can just have stalwart forever. But that's just sort of the issue when you play Miles or you play Jubilee, especially when you play solo. Either stun or confuse is too good, or against stalwart, it does nothing. And generally, I think you'd want something that's a bit more in between. That being said, I want to say that the Miles deck that we played Heroic Rhino was so fun that I continued to play a heroic run through of the entire core set box, and we beat Claw, and it took us a couple runs, but we finally beat a Heroic Ultron, and it was like the most fun. But like stunning Ultron is super important because the less Ultron attacks, the less drones are in play, and then the less problems you have on 3 different axes. So like having stun or confuse, especially on higher difficulty where the villain will still attack you a fair bit, particularly because heroic draws a lot of encounter cards, so the villain is likely to double activate, I thought was really, really fun. So I honestly don't think she seems as obviously powerful as Miles, but again, it is very stun and confuse heavy, so your mileage will vary incredibly depending on the hero, or sorry, the villain. But we have 3 firecrackers, 4 damage and stun is sick. As I mentioned, you want to play 2 different resources for this, and that's really important. That's why generating a wild is really good. That's unfortunately why her deck has so many superpowers, but you don't want to play Deft Focus, because this reduces the cost. So you can only pay 1 for this, and then you can't get this kicker. So you actually don't play Deft Focus in this deck. In fact, Jubilee has some good resource generators that generate wilds, but yeah, Deft Focus is definitely not one of them. Now, similarly, we have Flash of Light, and Flash of Light has all 3 kinds, energy, mental, and physical. And this removes 3 threat from a scheme, and if you did the kicker of spending 2 different resource types, you also confuse an enemy. This one is your choice. These are really, really good. And this is kind of the bread and butter of the Jubilee deck is stun or confuse, and that will just keep the villain the way that you want the villain to be. And this is also ideally how you get the villain confused. So you can jump down and go back to the mall and go shopping, which is fine. I guess it is totally fine. A cool thing about these events is they're so important. Our deck, or the way that we built our deck, and the way that most people I think build their Jubilee deck, is we're gonna have ways to recur these. We've seen a lot of like X-Men characters that can recur things from the discard pile when they jump down to alter ego. We're gonna have to work a bit harder on it, but these cards are like some of our most important cards because they push us forward, and that's just really important. You'll also notice Jubilee has some very important upgrades, but her upgrades only fire when other things fire. So her hero kit is entirely dependent on playing events. It's kind of like Gamora, it's kind of like Miss Marvel, where like she has no way to get forward tempo or forward value if you're not playing events, because her entire kit is either an event or a card that says when you play an event this turn, do something good. And that is actually significantly different than a lot of other heroes. They usually have like a weapon or an upgrade or a support that can do something on any board state. She has literally nothing besides events and things that fire when you fire events. So making sure you always have access to events is really important, which is why recursion is really important. Now this card's really cool. And all these cards care about spending multiple types of resources. So we have 3 copies of Plasmoid Energy, and they have 2 different kinds of resources. We have all the combinations you could have. So blue, yellow, blue, red, all of them are here. These are sick. These are Jubilee cards, so we can actually recur them. And that's really important because now it's a 1 card to do a Flash of Light or a Firecracker, and it will always hit its kicker. Blinding Flash. This one's okay. This is technically more CC, but no damage. It's 3 cost, and it says choose X enemies, where X is the number of different resource costs. And you actually can pick wild, apparently, which I didn't know you could do. I don't know if that actually matters that much. And then you can stun and confuse each chosen enemy. This is a really good panic button when the board state's a bit bad. Generally, if I have the Blinding Flash in my hand, or I have a Flash of Light or a Firecracker, I'll just do the other one that actually does something, like does damage or removes threat, and then just jump down or stay in hero depending on whether we have a stun or confuse. Sometimes Blinding Flash is the best you have. If you have a lot of things on the table and you're in a bad spot, which can happen to Jubilee, because again, Jubilee, if she doesn't draw events, she can't really clear minions unless you play aggression or build something around that. So having a panic button to run away when the enemies kind of clump up, it does make a fair bit of sense. Then we have Grand Finale. This is our big AoE card, if you want to call it that. This costs 3. It says deal 2 damage to an enemy, and for every different type of resource used to pay this, you can deal 2 damage to a different enemy or the same enemy. You technically choose an enemy and keep going. That's sick because in theory, this can do up to 11 damage for 3 in the way that the deck when it's fully built out. If you don't have your build out, this usually does 2 for 8, right? Which is what you'd want. Sorry, 3 for 8, but it's 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, so you can spread it across the board and actually catch up, which is kind of nice. Master Mold beat me a lot when I played Jubilee. Permanent Stalwart is gross. Yeah, I'm really interested to know what the designers of Marvel Champions, how they want to use Stalwart and how they, are they going to make more characters that are permanent Stalwart? I feel like a lot of people don't like that. And now Stalwart is more, I wouldn't say relegated, but it is used tactically on like attachments or timed things. Like Magneto can be Stalwart, but can lose Stalwart and get steady. I actually think it's the opposite, is steady and can lose steady. But like attachments can give Stalwart, like you see in Civil War, but you can remove the attachments. So it's something you have to play around as opposed to be like, oh, that sucks. Sorry, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Hey, JDS, how's it going? Good morning. How's your Sunday been? Now, these are our 2 big items. And again, we need to play items in our deck. And these items are very, very good. And it functionally just makes your events into Gamora, if you remember playing Gamora. So this is Jubilee's cape and coat and Jubilee's sunglasses. And they're very symmetrical. One gives you +1 thwart, one gives you +1 attack. And they say the opposite thing. Hero response thwart or hero response attack. So they do actually get hit by confuse or stun, but not that that really matters the way they work. After you play a thwart event, or the other one's an attack event, exhaust this, and then either remove one threat from the scheme for each different resource type used to play for that event. And then Jubilee's sunglasses is do 1 damage for each different resource used to play that event. These are very good. This just multiplies the value of your event. So if I play a 2-cost event that does 4 damage, now I tap Jubilee sunglasses and it's now a 2-cost event that does 6 damage. And it's damage you can spread because you can do 4 damage to one thing, 2 damage to another thing, because it doesn't have to target the thing that you did. And you're always going to be paying different kinds of resources. That's why Jubilee building a wild is really nice. But these cards are so good. But again, that is the entirety of her kit, barring her ally, Wolverine, which is the one permanent thing she has on the table. And it is actually really permanent. Wolverine does stay around. But all of her kit is either events or things that fire off of events. So you need to make sure you draw good. You need to make sure that you're getting your events back in your deck, because if you don't draw any events, you can't really do anything, because none of these cards actually do anything besides the events that they play. And then they're quite good. It's a neat kit. It really is neat, and it's fun when it pops off. I don't know if we're going to see Stalwart today, but like, you do stun and confuse lock pretty well. You make some interesting decisions on how you spend your resources. The wild, pseudo wild resources are really fun. I actually enjoyed Jubilee way more than I thought I would in my like 8 to 9 testing games I got to this point. I think she still has weaknesses. I think she's still kind of one note. The good thing though is that the note is actually a pretty fun note. It's not the worst note at all. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hey Brandon, how's it going? Hey Nolan, I'm at church and I'll watch the stream after, maybe catch at the end, but want to say good luck. Jubilee's fun. Thank you, Nolan. Happy mass service. Hopefully we'll see you after this. But yeah, it's I've not been the biggest Jubilee believer, and this week testing for the stream, I've definitely brought my idea of what Jubilee is up a fair bit. All right, so our deck has 2 items currently. I think it really does behoove us to add another item to our deck, just so in the mid to late game when we draw Shopping Spree for the 3rd time, which again, I don't think clearing Shopping Spree more than once is super realistic the way that I play, is that there's some items you want to put in your deck so you have items. I went for Disguise because Disguise is a thwart, max 1 per player, play under anyone's control, and you can exhaust this to remove 2 threat from a scheme. And because this is an action you could do in alter ego, this technically does beat Shopping Spree, because Shopping Spree just says threat cannot be removed by heroes, but it can be removed by alter egos. This is an okay card. Honestly, so far in the deck, I haven't had it hit the table yet. The other thing you can do is you can play Cell Phone, and I think Cell Phone makes a fair bit of sense as well, as an event, or sorry, as an item that runs out of counters, so it has limited charges. This card is much more interesting from my understanding in multiplayer, where it allows you to use your hero's basic activation on call, because you can call for actions in multiplayer. You can't call for a basic action in multiplayer, let alone this does technically give you +3 stats over 3 turns. So this one's neat too, because it discards itself so you can get it back, so doing Shopping Spree over and over again makes sense. But I honestly don't think you need to build the deck around firing Shopping Spree multiple times. Generally, Shopping Spree will get the item that you didn't play on your first cycle, and from that point, you probably are never going to get it again. At least that's my experience. But it's nice to have Disguise, because on theory, Disguise lets us crack Shopping Spree as soon as turn 1 if we draw Disguise on turn 1. Now, the other way that you can kind of cheese a Shopping Spree, and I don't feel cheesy about it because the theme is kind of funny, is B-Cop. And B-Cop is a way they can remove threat that is not your hero, and it's not an ally, because supports are not your hero. It's a really wild distinction, but supports are just things that are helping you, but they're not an extension of you, which means you can beat Cop Shopping Spree. That is a lot better. This also means that this is one of the few ways in the game you can clear Shopping Spree in hero mode, so that you can fire Skilled Investigator, which we are playing Skilled Investigator because it's really quite good. The issue with Beat Cop is I originally had 3 Beat Cop in the deck, and it's very expensive. And unless you build into more side schemes, I feel like Beat Cop is not amazing. It's still a really good card, especially in solo, because it removes 1 threat a turn, and then gives you the ability to nuke a minion, which sometimes Justice struggles with a big minion all at once. But this card is very expensive for 3. And in my first cycle through the deck, I always find there's more important things to do, because if we have a 6-card hand size, it's kind of 7 hand size with Jubilee. It's like playing Beat Cop is half your hand, and then you can't really set up, so you're just playing 1 event, and 1 event is probably good enough. But I found 3 Beat Cop to be too expensive, and I don't prioritize getting Shopping Spree back, because once you clear it, you have to wait for the whole cycle. And I don't like playing multiple side schemes, because if you don't clear Shopping Spree because something bad happens, your other side schemes are kind of useless. So we're on 2, and admittedly, you could cut these. Honestly, I don't think they're that important, but we'll see if they work out. Now, this is by a mile my favorite card in the deck, and it came out in Jubilee, which is sick. It's multi-talented. And this card's amazing because, well, many things, but firstly, it's an attack and thwart traded, which means that it fires both your sunglasses and your coat. So after you pay for this and you want to play 3 different kinds of resources, which is a lot easier for Jubilee with a wild on deck, let alone all of her resource cards in her kit generate 2 different resource types. This deals 2 damage, removes 2 threat, and heals 2 damage from your identity, which is really, really good. And then because it's an attack and a thwart, the glasses and the code fire, so it removes 3 more threat and it does 3 more damage. So this becomes 3 cost for, what is it, 5 damage, 5 threat, split, and healing 2, which is so absurdly good. The problem is that we can't recur this card. We can only recur Jubilee cards with the way that we have things set up, but multi-talented is just amazing. You do have to watch out if you're stunned or confused, it cancels all of this card because it's both attack and thwart traded. But yeah, multi-talented is just like the best card, especially if you have both of your items. At least one item makes this really, really strong. And having healing is nice as much as we have a fair bit of confused. So jumping down in alter ego to recover is not as hard as it could be in certain other characters. I love Jubilee, but her going shopping, calling the police to deal with villainy is hilarious. It's a mall cop, not a beat cop, and they're just going shopping for her. One of the problems I felt like classically I ran into when playing Jubilee is that the games were long because Jubilee was spending so much time like just doing stun or confuse lock, and she doesn't have any sort of ramping board presence. This is what I mentioned before, right? A lot of heroes have upgrades that kind of compound what they do, but Jubilee is just like play an event this turn, hopefully fire your items. And so it did not feel like you built yourself up unless you played a lot of allies, and I'm not a big ally swarm player. And so games for Jubilee, in my experience, especially when you played the precon, went really, really long. So I wanted to go out of the way to play cards that were faster at dealing damage to close the game. And so Turn the Tide fit the bill as a very easy to play 0 cost card. Turn the Tide is very, very good. It's a 1 card, 3 damage, which is absurd in this game. That's really, really good. However, you have to play it only in a certain condition, which is after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme. You can play this for 3 damage. I think there is some chance that this is maybe not the best thing you can do, but I couldn't find anything better. Because the best thing that you could possibly have is a 1 cost attack. Because that's the thing with your sunglasses, is that every turn you want to fire your coat and your sunglasses, but your coat and your sunglasses functionally only fire if you play an attack and a thwart every turn that cost at least 1, right? That's what you want to be doing. However, Justice only has like 1 attack that costs 1. The one that they have is like the gunboat diplomacy one. I tried this. It's way too clumsy, but this is really cool. That's a 1 cost attack and thwart, so you can fire your items every turn. But in theory, you do want to pay for attack and event every turn. It's just not that hard. It's not that easy to do in Justice. So the best I got is Turn the Tide, which is 0, so it doesn't interact with your sunglasses, but at least it adds a fair bit of damage super cheaply to the deck without slowing your other stuff down. Hey, Metaphor, how's it going? Wanted to pop in and say, hey, working today. Oh, hopefully it's not too bad. The more I play multi-talented, the more I like it. Multi-talented is the more I play it too. It's the sort of card that you could easily see from a distance and be like, oh, that seems like it's not that great. It's like very expensive. But as long as you're hitting these, like you're playing 3 different resources for consistently, which some heroes can do better than others, flexibility is king in this deck. Sorry, flexibility is just so important in this game. It's very, very important in this game, especially when you play solo. And any deck that plays multi-talented usually plays it because they're like Gamora or they're Nebula and they have a kicker attached to it. But like the decks that play multi-talented, it's like one of the best cards in the deck. It's really, really cool how it works. Queen of the Vampires. All right, let's talk about our allies. That's the majority of our kit that we've decided on. Invisible, get Jubilee, you say? Sorry, Metaphor? All right, so our ally Wolverine's really nice. We have Confused so we can jump down. Wolverine attacks for 3 and has piercing. This is the biggest long-term value card we have in the deck, so Wolverine needs to come down. Oh, Invisible Gear. Yeah, Invisible Gear is one of the 2. There's only like 2 items in Justice. It's like Disguise and Invisible Gear. That's it. I think you could play Invisible Gear, but like, I don't think I want to unless it's super important for the deck, because the first item you'll get will always be your coat or your glasses, and the second item you'll get will always be the other one you didn't get. And so then you have to have a third item. And at least when it comes to Disguise, it helps you get your first item. But I think like building into the shopping spree doesn't make sense that much in solo, or at least it's like very, very clumsy from my experience. I haven't figured out how to make it feel good. Wolverine's really good. Jump down to alter ego, heal Wolverine. Cool thing with Wolverine, if he's injured, you can jump down, he recovers, and he can still activate when you're in alter ego. Wolverine's fantastic. I'm playing Cypher, who is honestly not that good in the deck. I just wanted to play more Justice allies because we're playing mostly basic allies. Cypher is really cheap, is X-Force traded, and after he attacks and damages a confused enemy, draw a card. We're very good at confusing enemies, so that will fire somewhat consistently. 2 cost allies are really good. We only have 2 defense and 9 health, and as much as stun and confuse will do a lot of to keep us surviving, having cheap allies to chump block when you need to is important. But this is the only Justice ally we're playing. I think you could argue that there's a whole bunch of different Justice allies that you could play. A lot of Justice allies are quite good and cheap. But this is the one that was the most like pseudo thematic. I'll be honest, I thought this was an X-Men. It's not. Legion. Legion is both so fun, but also like not perfect. So Legion says as a response, so it's not forced, but you usually do this. After Legion uses a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. And if the card's printed resource type has, and then if any of these 3 types, unlike Hulk, they're all very, very quite good. And the cool thing about this deck, why I originally decided to play Legion, is that we have the multi-types. And if you discard them, they fire both of those types. And that happens somewhat consistently, at least consistently enough. Now, what I have found out is also Legion, you have to watch out. Your deck has fair few wild icons, more than you think. So your items are wild, Wolverine is wild, Grand Finale and Blinding Flash are wild. So you actually do have more wilds than most decks do. And if you discard a wild, you can't choose what type it is because you're not spending it. So Legion just whiffs on those. But Legion has actually been really quite fun. And specifically, if you get Legion down, you can use your recursion cards to recur just these resources because they do pay off enough when you rip them with Legion. Legion has probably been a bit more fun than consistent, but damn, when Legion pops off, and that's great. Then we're playing a whole bunch of cheap stuff. Triage, cheap. Heal 2 damage is nice. Our Beaky Boy here removes a whole bunch of threat. Really cheap, really nice. Forge, we have some supports we want to get on the table. It's okay. Again, we're just playing cheap stuff here because we mostly want to play events. Marrow, really cheap. Does 4 damage the turn Marrow comes in as long as we're X-Force or X-Men. And that's good. And then everything else is like relatively reasonable. We're playing Endurance, but the other art. So +3 health helps because 9 health is squishy. We don't defend really well. Expansion is actually really important, not only because we can heal our allies and ourselves, but it's really important that we have recursion in this deck. So we're playing the full set of Mutant Education. So an alter ego can shuffle 2 of our identity specific cards back into our deck. And if we have the X-Mention, we'll draw a card, which makes us so much better. This is really important because, again, the entirety of the deck is playing your best events over and over again, so get your best events back into the deck. Otherwise, your deck doesn't do enough per cycle, it feels. We're playing Skilled Investigator despite not having a lot of side schemes. I think it's fine. Again, you have to watch out. This is a hero response, not any response. So if you clear your shopping spree while your alter ego doesn't fire, but this is a fine Justice card. And then, of course, because we really do value getting wild resources, we're playing the X-Jet. And of course, we're playing the X-Gene. So these are both wild generators, which is incredible. And then we're playing 2 copies of the Power in All of Us. We generally don't want to play any of the natural doubles because we want to generate 2 kinds of resources. But our deck has so many basic cards that cost at least 2. And in the worst spot, these generate a wild, which is bad for Legion, but good for Legion. But that's the deck so far. Hey, Andy. Hey, dude, good morning. I'm late to the party. Currently deck building for a meetup, playing MC today instead of watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, I guess it is a Super Bowl today. I'm kind of out of the loop on this one, but I'm assuming that maybe viewership later today is not going to be that great because if you're stateside, I think football is pretty important from my understanding culturally. Glad you're putting Jubilee on the table. She's awesome. Yeah, I think I said this earlier and I will repeat it again. I have never been the biggest Jubilee fan. And then I started preparing for the stream where I wanted to play Jubilee and I've warmed up a fair bit to her. I actually had a heck of a lot of fun playing her. I still think she's far from perfect. And I still can't like just get over the idea that stalwart means you're not going to have fun. And I'm a person who plays campaign mode a fair bit. So stalwart sometimes is unavoidable, particularly like permanent stalwart. But if you can decide what you're playing against, which like shout out to your agency, Jubilee could be quite cool. It's a fun loop. It is a really fun loop. And I think what I like about this deck is like things with multi-talented, things like Mutant Education. They give you a fair bit more agency of what you're doing, specifically Mutant Education. And then it allows me to like bite deeper into what we're working on. I was cooking and listening and I stopped like, wait, Cypher is 100% X-Men. Then I realized you meant the X-Men tribe tag. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, this is going to be the easiest Justice X-Men. I wish I had a good way to show you the history of the deck, but in the history of the deck that I've been trying, I tried a whole bunch of different things and some of them just didn't work. I was playing a lot of side schemes and that didn't work because if you don't clear the mutants in the mall, you kind of get jammed up, and clearing the mutants in the mall sometimes isn't the easiest thing to do in solo. I tried for a bit Utopia, and that's why we're only playing X-Men here. And Utopia was okay, but readying a Jubilee is not that important. So you can ready another ally, but our allies were 2 health, so they don't actually like stay on the table for that long. Professor X, which is your easy include, got cut from the deck because Confuse is not something we need, and readying ourselves or our allies is not super important. Readying Wolverine is also not super sustainable. So there's like a lot of different things we tried. I think I mentioned I tried Gunboat Diplomacy for being at least costing something and being attacker thwart traded. And that's why we ended up with like, I was playing a couple more X Factor characters in the deck, especially Justice ones, X Force. And like, that was like super clumsy because exhausting yourself also sucks. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that like just don't work really well, at least for my like somewhat limited testing. But yeah, she was way more fun than I thought she'd be. We have played Jubilee once on stream before and it hasn't gone that well. And also we have played Mojo once on stream before and that hasn't gone well. So we are combining 2 different things. I think the one good thing we can say about Mojo is very, very soft to jumping down and relatively soft to confuse. We'll see Mojo stats in a second, but Mojo does have 3 thwart, 1 attack. So confuse is actually like super, super relevant. So hopefully that like does us well. As much as the variance on the setup is gonna sometimes be a problem. I don't know if we can deal with Mojo runner super easily. What are you cooking, by the way, Tony? All right, when I'm cooking, that's also a good thing. All right, we'll give this a shuffle. Let's talk about the setup. It's Mojo Mania. I feel like I've only played Mojo a handful of times. This is a really cool standalone, especially because it has a campaign-like structure, which I'm a big fan of. So we're playing Expert, Mojo 2 and Mojo 3. So we're only using Mojo in Standard because we're going to build the rest of the deck. I couldn't tell you what's in Mojo. There's only 2 minions. It's mostly treacheries. Curtain Call is terrible. I think it moves all threat on the table onto the main scheme, and you can lose to that for sure. But the setup says, choose 1 modular setup plus 1 additional modular set from the Mojo Mania scenario pack and set them aside. Put the Wheels of Genius environment into play. Spinning side face up. Wheels of Genius. There is a YouTube channel called Wheels on Genius, which if you watch the UK quiz show, Only Connect, they're the person who like pirates it and uploads it. So they have this like really famous YouTube channel called Wheels on Genius. If you haven't watched Only Connect, it's sick, especially if you're a trivia nerd, as much as some of the questions can get like really UK heavy, which obviously doesn't land that well over here, but Wheels on Genius, shout out to Wheels on Genius. So spinning side face up is what we have. So we have to pick 1 modular set plus 1 additional modular set. So we can do 2 things here, chat. If you want to talk about which sets you think would be interesting or fun, or if you want me to roll a die. Both of those are very much in my comfort zone. I also want to say that we're going to add long shot to the deck because it's fun. I forgot that long shot's a thing you can do. But long shot, you can just add to your deck. It does make the scenario easier, but it's more fun. Long shot's an X-Men that gets piercing. It has an encounter card back because you shuffle into the deck. And when revealed, you put long shot into play under your control and again search. And this effect cannot be canceled. So it's a bad boost as much as it's a 0 boost, but we'll throw long shot into the deck because it's nice, flavorful. Hey, Lucy, how's it going? It's the Crash Space. I forgot to respond, man. I've been really bad at YouTube comments on the Metball Grid, but the last Thursday where you didn't drop it and people were concerned and then you came in and then you said you're good. I saw that like the night of and I was like, okay, thank God, that's great. Hopefully you're well. I'm like way behind on YouTube comments. Going great. Hey, that's good to hear. All right, I think we're going to roll a die then. So if you don't know, these are all sets that both have an environment that gives an ongoing ability, usually a boon, but also a malice of sorts. And then usually an extra, 5 to 6 encounter cards that match that scheme or that set. I need to buy a better die because this D6 doesn't show up on camera well. So we're going to do 1 to 6. Let's roll it twice. 1 top left corner. 6 Mojo in the middle. This one is mostly obligations. It's one that's like kind of difficult to interact with when you're playing solo if you can't jump down, especially if you don't have confused, but we should be okay. And we'll just do 1 to 5, same ordering. 4 Wild Mojo. So everyone's gonna have quick strike. Yeehaw. Not to narrow tangent, but first district was yesterday, and it sure was an event. First district, like your first district or the first district in general. People are running districts in the pre-meta. You can do that. How was it? Was it an event? Okay, I'll look into it. I don't know, like the meta as it gets more mature, I'm not sure if I like it more or less. Give me 1 second. I need to move these, so I'm gonna move the microphone. Okay, so we set them aside. That's all it asks from us at this point. So put the wheel of genius, of wheels of genre, spinning side face up. Let's look at that. So it's spinning. Boy, is it spinning. So forced response after the counter deck resets. So when we deck out, if there are no set aside modular counter sets remaining, the players lose the game. Otherwise, flip this. So I think we get 1 deck out because we're going to add 1 of the sets to the deck. And then on the first deck out, it adds in the second deck out. I think we lose. All right. Here we go. Mojo Mania. 25 is a massive number. When revealed, choose 1 of the set aside encounter sets randomly. Reveal its show environment and shuffle the remaining cards into the counter deck. Starts with 10. Force interrupt. When a character flips or leaves play, move all threat from that character to this scheme. So characters in this scenario can accrue threat themselves. It has no ability when the threat's on the character. It's not like it's on the main scheme. Just when you flip down or when that character leaves or flips down, excuse me. You put that threat on this scheme, and 25 is when we lose the game. All right, so we have 2 options. I put the dice away. We should keep that die. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Mojo in the middle. All right, so we are playing in sitcom world. So Mojo in the middle is what we're gonna have, and we're gonna shuffle the rest into the deck. So this says every obligation gets 1 acceleration token. That's not great. And responds after a player discards an obligation, at least that player draws a card. So that's okay. So jumping down to alter ego is gonna be really important, and luckily Confuse is gonna help us do that. When revealed, discard each other setting, and if this card was revealed from the counter deck, it also gains Surge. Cool. This deck is not that big. I remember it being bigger, but it's just Mojo, Standard, Expert, Our Obligation, Long Shot, and that's it. I think Mojo's a nightmare in solo. I feel like you're locked into Justice. He's great fun in multiplayer. Yeah, I haven't played him in multiplayer, but I remember most of my successes against Mojo have been in Justice, and that's because obviously the amount of threat is comical, but Confused seems important. I remember playing this on stream like last year and playing Iceman and just getting like totally crushed playing Protection and feeling like we can't do anything. Because as soon as there was like 17 threat on us, we can't jump down. And then the entire game plan was just like, hope you don't draw Curtain Call. Now Mojo does have text. Mojo says, when revealed, place 2 threat on each friendly character. Friendly is us reading the text. So we have 2 threat. It doesn't do anything, but when we flip, it goes up here. And forced response only in hero mode, which is cool. You don't actually see that formatting a lot. After your turn ends, discard the top 4 cards of the encounter deck. Place 1 threat on your hero for each card discarded that way that does not belong to the Mojo encounter set. So long shot actually might make things harder. This is why like chilling in alter ego is really important, because that not only gets to the deck faster, and when you deck out, it's a bit of a weird tempo nightmare because you draw a lot of cards of the same set. But yeah, only 18 health. Started playing more heroic and defeated Green Goblin with Leadership Falcon. Was so much fun. Yo, that doesn't seem that easy. Falcon into Green Goblin? What are the interaction points that are like favorable? I can't even. That seems good. Man, yeah, heroic has been kind of fun. But like heroic is the sort of thing where the deck I need to play, it needs to be good. And usually good to the point where like it makes expert not fun. So yeah, shout out to Miles. That was actually a lot of fun. And the cool thing about playing like against heroic Ultron with Miles is I had to make deck changes to beat the scenario. Which she didn't have that many cool options to deal with a lot of small minions in Justice. Air Supremacy. Oh, very cool. That's the one that does 3 damage to every enemy, right? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's really, really neat. All right, we are off. There's 12 threat in play. As soon as we jump up, we have to put that 2 threat on the main scheme. I guess the best thing we could do is find our code as soon as possible and just thwart. Getting confused would be really nice. I think that's mostly it. I think we're off. Sunday morning, man, I was thinking about this in the shower this morning. It's like, I am usually not the most functional person before 3 o'clock. And the fact that we're doing streaming like this before 3 o'clock, I think you can tell there's a difference in like how coherent I am and how sharp I play, as opposed to like when we stream in the evening, but let's hope for the best. Hey, it's Marrow. Marrow's cheap. Mojo only attacks for 1 in a card, but this is just damage. We don't really need damage on turn 1. Mutant Education, we probably don't keep this for a bunch of reasons. Not only does it not do anything, but we want the kicker more than anything. Turn the Tide. Oh, this card's gonna be terrible in this scenario. That's unfortunate. Forge is maybe a play, because you play Forge for 2, you can grab a card. I'll put this in the maybe camp, and then it can be the X-Jet, which you can set up on turn 1. Nope. And Blinding Flash. Blinding Flash is like your panic button. It is a stun and confuse, which does go pretty hard, and we can exhaust ourselves to remove a threat. And this is what I mean. It's like, I don't think we're going to exhaust ourselves to go shopping, because exhausting ourselves for Blinding Flash seems a bit better. I don't know if we're going to keep Forge if we have to play Blinding Flash. So I think we're just going to full mulligan this and hope that we find either X-Gene or the X-Jet naturally, or one of our 2 items. Issue here is if we draw into our side scheme, we just lose like functionally a hand size. Endurance, okay. I mean, if it's cheap, you can play it. This is the other art. The Power in All of Us. We don't have an obvious play for this. Now we do, but multi-talented. You really want to play multi-talented when you get, the full thing, because healing we kind of miss. That's perfect. That's the X-Jet. That's really good, especially because we have our double. So this has to not be our shopping spree. Oh, Skilled Investigator. That's kind of perfect. There is a lot of side schemes, I think, and there could be more, but we're not playing in the detective set. So now we can do our alter ego action, so we can search our deck for our side scheme we can put in play. Shopping spree. Okay, cool. So again, we can exhaust as soon as turn 1 to take 1 threat off of this. When he has 2 threat off of it, we go get an item, which we haven't seen our items yet, and they're really, really good, but like, I don't think we can do that. We're just going to map out our hand here and see what it takes to play everything. My guess is we're going to play X-Jet, Skilled Investigator, Blinding Flash, but that actually might be a 1 to 2 card too many. Okay, so again, in hero mode, when we flip up, we're going to have an extra wild. So we can do 1-2 multi-talented for X-Jet. We can do X-Jet, Endurance, our wild for Blinding Flash, play skilled. I think that's the play, right? Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then skilled investigator. I mean, that's it. We're not doing anything to the table because none of these cards actually take threat off or do damage besides multi-talented, which is not good enough. So yeah, that's fine. That means we're not going to do our hero text or alter ego text more accurately to get rid of the shopping spree because who cares? And we need to be ready to play this hand. So we're going to flip up. And Mojo Mania says whenever somebody flips, you have to put their threat next to it. Excuse me, this is Mojo Mania. So it says whenever forced interrupt, a character flips or leaves play, move all threat from the character to the scheme. Okay, so that's this. Then we'll exhaust Jubilee, generate a wild. We'll go 2-3 power on all of us. X-Jet's a good setup. Generates a wild for an X-Men character. We'll exhaust it to generate a wild. So we generate wilds, yellow, red, blinding clash. We'll just buy ourselves some room, choose X different enemies. We'll pick one. So using different resource cards didn't matter, but we get a stun and confuse. Hopefully that'll deal with him. We can't thwart, but we'll play skilled investigator. And now we're really hoping that we draw into our the thing that removes threat. But the thing that removes threat only removes 3 threat, and we only thwart for 1. Like, I don't know. This doesn't seem great. And this should be exhausted, but we'll pass. Hey, Uncanny, how's it going? Well, look who's is. You all right, mate? Love the mutant theme. I'm doing all right. Thank you. It's a Sunday morning. It's a busy day. After this stream, I have another like 4 or 5 hours of streaming, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you're well too. There, that's what we need, a flash of light. So we're gonna need more than one of these. This is the one with the physical icon. Apparently I labeled it as might and science, but this is only 3 threat. That's not enough. Plasmoid energy, okay. So we can play another event. Uh-oh, please draw something else. Okay, that's okay. Unfortunately, we're gonna have full health, but at least that's now a 5 threat hand. And then we have Beak, who on his own doesn't do too much because there's only no other X-Men allies, so Beak will thwart too. So, I mean, this hand is playable, but it's not phenomenal. We definitely wanted something else there. All right, Mojo Mania just goes up to 13. Mojo is stunned. We draw 1 encounter card. Yeah, that's fine. Thought off guard is fine. If we only destroyed our X-Jet, we would be emotionally devastated, but losing skilled investigator is not the end of the world. That could have been terrible. I'm so glad we put down the 0 coster. All right, now we just dump our hand, right? So Beak costs this. I don't think we can play our whole hand. This costs this. That's all we got, really. Oh, we were meant to do this text. Oh, hold on. We forgot Mojo's text. It says, after your turn ends, discard the top 4 cards in the counter deck. Place 1 threat on your hero for each card discarded this way that does not belong. Okay, so we have to do that. Obviously, that's like Mojo's thing. In theory, we would have discarded caught off guard, but a random card is a random card. So we're going to discard 4 cards. So that's Mojo's set. That's really good. That's curtain call. So place 1 threat on your hero for each card that does not belong. Advance, so that's 1. Top billing, that's a Mojo card. So getting rid of 2 curtain calls is incredibly good. Because curtain call moves all the threat. So we only put 1 threat on us. And whenever we flip, that threat gets added. But, okay, that could have been worse. This is why staying in alter ego is really good, because you're not ripping through the deck at that speed. Okay, need to remember to do that. It's been a minute since we played Mojo. So we'll definitely do Flash of Light. Then either we do multi-talented, which is 2 threat, and we can use the X-Jet, and then we just hold Beak. Jubilee can generate 1 more resource, but we can't do anything with it. So Jubilee could work on the shopping spree, and then we could clear the shopping spree next turn. That actually might be the play. Like, I'm not excited to play Beak anyways when there's no other allies, because then Beak is just thwarting for 1, 2, and then 1. It's like not bad. It's a 2 for 3. Flash of Light is also kind of awkward because we lose the kicker on it, which is like the confuse. So whatever. It's just what we have to do here. So I think this is all we do. So Flash of Light, we'll play it. We'll remove 3 threat. We have nobody to confuse. No kicker. We'll do X-Jet plus Plasmoid Energy for multi-talented. So we'll do 2 damage to Mojo. We'll remove 2 threat from here. And then we'll heal 2 to ourselves, which we can't do. I will jump down, and when we jump down, we have to move this threat, so this goes back up to 9. We lost 1 advance, which is good. And then I'm just going to exhaust ourselves to work on our shopping spree. Our code is like really important because it's a big thwarting thing, but we'll just remove 1 threat, which means next turn we can clear it if we're lucky. And we'll pass. And I think we don't hold on to Beak. I don't know who our biggest thwarting ally is. It's like, technically it is Beak. Yeah, maybe we'll hold on to Beak. Yeah. What do we want to draw into here? I think we want to draw into the X-Mansion to get our like recursion because we've only seen one mutant education so far. Yeah, I think we'll hold on to Beak. It's fine. We'll pass. So draw. Plasmoid. Okay. Triage. Useless healing, but we can always heal an ally that activates. Firecracker is a stun, which is well timed. There's our coat, so that's good. That means we're getting our glasses. We always could get the disguise. It's something. So one more card. We have mutant education, which we will just play as long as we have enough cards, as much as we miss the kicker. We'll see if the next card was better because Beak would have drawn it if this ties the hand better. But hey, getting the code is really good as much as we don't have a thwart event. And that's what I mean with these things. It's like really important when you build Jubilee, if you have your coat and your sunglasses, that you always pay a thwart event or an attack event every turn that costs something, which like sometimes doesn't line up perfectly. All right, this goes to 5. We don't have to do the text on Mojo Mania because it's a hero interrupt, or is it? Oh, sorry, it's on Mojo. It's not on here. It's a hero response, so we don't have to do that. Mojo would scheme for 3, but it's confused. And hopefully we draw an obligation. Master plan. I tried to warn you all about this. This is what happens. This is why you play the coat on turn, and then by turn 2 it has 5 threat on it and you have to give up on it. I am so frustrated with the shopping spree. Like you plan your turn that we're going to clear it in 2 turns and we draw master plan, and it's good because this is not actually drawing another side scheme. But yeah, shopping spree has 5 threat on it. Like we're never going to clear it. Oh my god, why do we always draw master plan when we're playing Jubilee with the coat on turn 1? The shopping spree, it's so good. Oh, that's rich. So it happened. The bad thing happened, but luckily we like naturally drew our coat. Like honestly, shopping spree getting it on turn 1 is fine, but also playing like what is it called? What's the basic side scheme that allows you just to grab an upgrade? Like that one just seems so much better to me, as much as this is free and comes on the table every turn 1. I told you it would happen. That's sick. That's really funny. All right, so we don't have a stun. Sorry, we don't have a confuse. We have a stun. So we want to set this up. So we can use Jubilee and X-Jet now because we don't have to use our basic to play Firecracker. First, we can play the coat. Doesn't really matter, but we want to get it down. That leaves us with this hand. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. So if we play Mutant Education, we can't play any of these. Beak does very little. Triage does very little. Superpower Training, yeah, that's the one, right? Like Superpower Training is just what this card does, but much more consistently. And this is each player. Shopping Spree is not each player. It's only the player who completes it. Now this will have 6 threat on it, but you can just clear that threat so much easier than the Shopping Spree. Like this to me just like feels like such a worse Superpower Training. Oh man. Anyways, at least it thins our deck. We play a 39 card deck, I guess. Yeah, so we definitely play the coat. We probably play the Firecracker. It does 4 damage and a stun, which is good. That means we're exhausted. So then I think we just end up playing Beak and not doing any recursion, and Beak thwarts for 1, removes 1. The other options we could play Triage, but Triage is kind of wasted. But Triage schemes thwarts for 1, and then Beak thwarts for 1 more because Beak cares about the other X-Men in play. I don't think that's worth it though, especially because we lose half the value on Triage and we don't need a blocker next turn. So we'll start there. We'll do Plasmoid for the Jubilee's coat. Best part about this though, gives us +1 thwart. So now generating the wild is actually a bit more expensive because our stats are actually good. So if that's the case, the other options, we could play Firecracker for X-Jet and a card, and we could play Mutant Education and float 1. That actually might be better. Admittedly, it doesn't use our whole hand, but Mutant Education, it's like so important that we put every copy of Flash of Light back into the deck. We've only seen 1 so far, so there's still 2 Flash of Lights, so we'd probably flip in Flash of Light and then no joke Blinding Flash. That might be better, and this is where like Jubilee is satisfying, is like thinking about the future. But when you play Mutant Education, you can shuffle 2 cards into your back into your deck. I honestly don't mind that. I think Blinding Flash and Flash of Light are so important that we could do it. Blinding Flash is like not, it's like Plasmoid Energy is not that important because we have the X-Jet. But I think that might be better actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So before we jump up, mind you, this has an exhaust counter. We'll play Mutant Education. We don't get the kicker here. That's the one thing we would have got with Forge, I think, is actually the X-Mansion. So choose up to 2 identity-specific cards. We'll pick the one that gives us the ability to jump down, because staying in Alter Ego is so important against Mojo, because you don't have to rip 4 cards. And unfortunately here, we don't draw a card. So we'll just shuffle. 5 threat. So good. It always happens. I don't know why. I always rip Master Plan on turn 1 or turn 2 with the shopping spree out, especially when you plan your turnaround to clear it. Like we could have removed, it's only one threat, but we could have removed one threat. That's the other thing is like her stats go up, which is good. 2 thwart is like something. And hopefully your stats go up by the time you don't need to generate the wild because you have resource generators. That's like the cool thing. We'll flip up. We'll do X-Jet plus Beak because we're probably not going to be attacked. Sorry. So I guess Triage to play Firecracker. So this is an energy. We'll make the wild not an energy. So this does 4 damage to Mojo. And we can stun Mojo. And then we'll just thwart for 2 to make sure we're keeping pace. So now we have 2 thwart. And we'll pass. So just to check, Mojo's text says after your turn ends. So we drop first, I think. I think you drop still in the player phase. So do we hold on to Beak? Probably not. We've been holding on to him for a couple turns, it feels like. But in terms of the allies, we've seen most of our cheap allies, so I don't think Beak is worth it. We're ready up. We'll draw to 5, and then we'll rip the top of the deck. First, Firecracker. Okay, so that's a stun. So there's something there. We have the power in all of us. Flash of Light, great. That's why we always want to put those back in the deck so we can jump down. Wolverine is here. Very important we get Wolverine on the table because Wolverine, is our only consistent damage. And we have Cypher who actually might fire this turn. But I think Wolverine is more important, but maybe a bit more expensive. All right, now we do the villains deck. So we rip 4 off the deck. So not a Mojo card, Mojo card, not a Mojo card. Both advances are out. Mojo card. So we place 2 threat on us for each card discarded this way that does not match. So we're at 2 threat on us. Again, the threat doesn't matter. It's just when we flip, it jumps up there and some encounter cards jump up there. All right. Mojo's stunned. We had 1 per player. Excuse me. 1 encounter card. Oh, that's bad. She has a very bad nemesis if you play on standard 3, because if her nemesis attacks you, it's a disaster, at least if you have allies. So let's go get Nanny. If someone could please explain me what we're looking at here, that would be sick. Because I do not know what this giant egg is. 4 health, toughness. After Nanny attacks you, if you control 1 or more allies, search the encounter deck for a copy of Lost Child and attach it, or reveal it, which attaches it. This is Naughty Children. Is this an egg? What is this? When revealed, place 1 additional threat here. And mind you, it has Crisis. For each resource type in your hand. So we have all resource types here. So we unfortunately added a 6 threat Crisis. And we're not going to be able to clean it. We're going to shuffle 2 copies of Lost Child. It attaches to 1 of your allies and makes it a nemesis or like a minion. And that's this. This also has toughness. I mean, I think we're in the verge of scooping. This is quite bad. Every time I play Wolverine, I get my nemesis set and Lost Child steals him. I'm so sad. Yeah. That's the problem. Is like when Nanny actually does have quick strike, when you draw at the bad time with standard 3 and it takes away Wolverine, it's awful. It's really, really bad. But yeah, like 6 first solo play, 6 threat Crisis is kind of wild, especially on top of Nanny, which if we don't play allies, Nanny can just attack us for 1. It doesn't matter. But as soon as we play an ally, Nanny is not allowed to attack us. Yeah, this is bad. This isn't good. All right, so we have to play this perfectly. If we jump down, we add 2 threat to the main scheme. I think our hand does have some Confuse. So we have Confuse and Stun. Cool thing, we use our code. This technically this Flash of Light does 6 thwart. Sorry, 5 thwart and a Confuse. So we could do 5 off of this. We would have to thwart it ourselves. I don't think we're gonna be able to play our allies here. I think we're just gonna have to tank Nanny. Not good. Not good. Very bad. Okay, let's think about this. So if we thwart for 2, then unfortunately it's like 1 short. So if we play the Flash of Light, it removes 3, it's down to 1. Then we can remove 2 threat from a different scheme. Because of Crisis, we can't remove it from anything besides this. So we clear it and we confuse Mojo. All right, so we've played X-Jet plus a card. Let's say we do this. If we want to do Firecracker, we can, but there's toughness here, and Mojo is like not a priority. So the next thing we could do is like play Cypher. Cypher could attack Mojo to draw a card. This card is probably not usable. Okay, what about the line is ignore this and we just throw it into Nanny? Because we could like play Wolverine, attack with Wolverine who attacks for 3 and piercing. and then we attack ourselves for 1. That's an option, but then we don't fire the coat, we don't get a stun, we don't get confused. And I think we want to be in confused side as much as possible. Now 25 is a big like margin. We have room to work with. So we need to clear this, and then we probably don't defeat Nanny. So maybe we hold on to Wolverine. So if that's the case, we can do X-Jet plus this for Flashlight to clear this. We clear it. But then, yeah, if we don't use our hand, we lose Wolverine. Because we need to use Jubilee. The other option is if we like play Cypher. Cypher thwarts for 1. Flashlight X-Jet thwarts this for 5. We clear it. Then we are ready. So we get attack for 1 to take the toughness off. Or we could thwart this for 2 and jump down. That is a possibility. That's not great. Huh. We do want to take a bit of damage because our multi-talenteds are not doing enough because they're not healing. But yeah, kind of clumsy here. I really think we need to keep Wolverine. The issue is if we keep Wolverine, we like lose 3 cards unless we don't clear Naughty Children, which actually not clearing Naughty Children is probably fine. Because we can still do Flashlight, clear down to 5. Then we could use ourself plus Cypher to Firecracker to hit Mojo just to do some damage. And then we could hold Wolverine, jump down still. I think that's also fine. But I think Wolverine's the easiest way for us to deal with toughness next turn. And we're going to have like a 7 hand size next turn or 8 hand size with X-Jet and Jubilee. I think that's probably it. Like it doesn't actually serve us to clear this anytime this turn. So I think we just want to do as much as we can. I think that's right. Okay, we'll do X-Jet plus a wild for Flashlight. Oh, this is the one with science on it, I've called it. Apparently I named these when I didn't know the names of things. So remove 3 threat. We use 2 different things, so we can go ahead and confuse. We're going to confuse Mojo. We now can fire a coat. So now we can remove up to 2 threat from things because we spent 2 resources. So it's for each different type, play for that scheme, remove 1 threat from 1 scheme. Okay, so this goes down to 1. Okay, then we will exhaust Jubilee and Cypher to play Firecracker. So this does 4 damage and we pay 2 different kinds, so it also stuns. So I think we're just hitting Mojo here because obviously Nanny is tough. So Mojo takes 4, down to 8. We will jump down to Alter Ego, which we have to move this threat here. So this goes to 11. And then we'll just pass. All right, we need something good here. The AoE stun confused thing would be okay. Flashlight, that's nice. We want as many of these as possible. This is our stun confuse. Or sorry, this is our confuse. That's the one we wanted. So this gives us like another time to just buy time. Legion. Oh yeah, it's also kind of risky to play Wolverine here because we just shuffled a bunch of cards that like eat our minions, so or allies, so that's not great. But a Legion can be quite flexible. Turn the Tide will probably fire this turn as long as we thwart Naughty Children. So this is a good turn the Tide because if we thwart for 1, this does 3 damage, which means we can probably knock out Nanny. And then we have Disguise, which is fine, I guess. It's not super important. We've given up on the shopping spree. 6 cards, very expensive. We at least have 2 resource generators and we'll pass. So no text to Mojo. This goes to 12. Mojo's confused, but Nanny just schemes for 2. So this will go to 14 or 25. 2 advances are out, which is good. Pat, how's it going? Encounter card? Good. It's good to draw this now and not play Wolverine. So it says, attach to the ally with the highest cost. Otherwise, this card gets surged. We don't want to play Wolverine and immediately lose him as a lost child. Oh, we're grounded. Okay. This is a really cool, like, thematic, flavorful obligation. Sometimes it's not that bad. Here it's bad because we drew it at a time where we have more important things to do. But this forces you down to Alter Ego. When you want to flip up, it costs you 2 resources of the same type, so it's very expensive to unground yourself. However, as soon as you play a Jubilee event, which is what you do anyways, you remove this. So, a bit awkward, but we're gonna have to think about this. Multitasking, theming for the post VP set, watching Crash Space and losing in Monster Train 2. I mean, pick 3, do them all poorly. Let's go. I played Monster Train 2 yesterday. What was I doing? I forget, but hopefully it was while I was editing, I think. I can't wait for Jubilee's Wolverine Ally and Colossus Hero using Cameo. Yeah, that seems really good. And let alone you can play the team up, which is quite sick. I think Wolverine's one of the interesting cameo characters. Jubilee's Wolverine, for a bunch of reasons. Okay, so let's talk about it. If we want to jump up, we have to spend 2 of the same. So we have to do this in hero mode. So we can't use the resource generator on the X-Jet or Jubilation Lee. So that means we have to do it now. So I honestly don't know if we can afford Wolverine anymore. So these technically could be the same. What does that leave us with? Nanny can attack us for 1. We don't care. We have no allies. So we can do jump up, We need to clear this though. If we clear this for 1, we can play Turn the Tide, which knocks off the toughness, which is like kind of ugly. And then we can do X-Jet. I mean, it's so much more important for us to play Flash of Light because it does 5 threat as opposed to Blinding Flash. So unfortunately, it does 3 damage just to take off the toughness, which is obviously not great. But we need to remove the threat from here because Turn the Tide requires you to do the thwarting, your hero, so you can't like send a minion in. Are we holding on to Wolverine or no? I don't think we are. So we jump up, we throw these out, we thwart 1, Turn the Tide, ping the toughness. So we can do 3 damage to the Mojo, which maybe that's fine. And then we can just do X-Jet plus, like, I don't know if we hold on to these cards. Blinding Flash for Flash of Light. That removes 5, confuses Mojo. I think that's fine. The question is, like, we're always holding a card. What card do we hold? Is there any card in our hand that we want to hold? We can hold Wolverine. Oh, no, we could hold Wolverine, but Wolverine still has 1 more lost child. If we draw that, Wolverine fights against us, which is bad. My guess is Wolverine is the most important. So let's try and hold Wolverine. So we'll flip up. When we unground ourselves, this removes from the game. So we're going to flip up. And we're going to spend a mental and a wild. So we spend 2 the same, and we can no longer be grounded. Okay. That's in there. This is our hand. We will thwart for 2, clearing Naughty Children. And that means we can play the Turn the Tide. Is the Turn the Tide that good? I guess all our cards are really expensive. So this just does 3 damage. We could hit Mojo if we're really going to play Wolverine next turn, because it wastes a fair bit of damage on the toughness. It does waste damage on the toughness. I think we have to clear this. Yeah, because we're probably going to draw 4 cost damage, a Firecracker. Okay, Turn the Tide, nice. We'll do X-Jet plus Legion for Flash of Light. Again, we did shuffle one of these back in, and you could really feel it when your deck gets thinner that you're playing this again. So remove 3 threat. Cool. And then we did play 2 different kinds, so we can confuse Mojo as much as 2 advances are out. And then we can do our coat. So we can remove 2 more threats. So we'll drop this down. So we are treading ground. We'll hold on to our wolfy friend and we'll pass. 1, 2, Beat Cop. Again, way too expensive, too slow. This is where like Beat Cop, I'm not sure should even be in the deck. It's really cute to do the shopping spree, but like it is very slow, very expensive. That's perfect. Again, we want to fire a coat every turn, so why not? Don't you draw a card for clearing an obligation? Oh my god, yeah, we do. We do. This has acceleration. We do. I missed that. So we would have drawn it to Beat Cop. Yeah, it's huge. I totally forgot about that. Good catch. So Mojo in the middle says, after you clear an obligation, draw a card. It's a response, so technically it's optional. We would have drawn into the Beat Cop. Does that open up the turn at all? We discarded 1 card. I think we will discard the Beat Cop. So I'm just going to draw the Beat Cop and discard it because I don't want to draw the Beat Cop. So it doesn't help us that turn. It'll help us this turn. But good catch. Thank you, Tony. I totally forgot about that. I was like waiting for the obligations. I forgot we have an obligation. All right, 1, 2, Flash of Light. X-Chain, we have to place an alter ego, and with the confuse, it shouldn't be that hard to get that working for us. We found our sunglasses. Thank you. The Maul. So this one gives us +1 attack and does the thing with the attacks. And we have a Mutant Education. The bummer is that the bottom 5 cards of our deck, one of them is the expansion. So that's good. But we have a Firecracker in the bottom. So it's going to be hard to knock out Nanny this turn. All right. That's us. We have to rip 4 off the deck. Mojo text. So Battlesuit, not a Mojo card, not a Mojo card, Mojo card, not a Mojo card. So this goes from 9 to, it'll go up to 12 +1 because of regular. So we go to 13. Yeah, that's unsustainable. Oh, it doesn't go there. It goes on us. Right. That seems much more reasonable. I think we might have missed that once. I think we put it straight there, which didn't matter because we're jumping up and down every turn. But yeah, it doesn't go straight there. It goes on us. So we put 1 there to 10. We put 3 on us. So yeah, it says after, your turn ends, place 1 threat on your identity for each card discarded this way that does not belong to the Mojo encounter set. Cool. All right, Mojo's confused. Nanny isn't. Sorry, stunned. Nanny isn't. So Nanny will ping us for 1. So we'll take 1. First damage we've taken all game. And it says after Nanny attacks you, if you control 1 or more allies, so we don't do that. Cool. Wolverine just standing outside in the mall, man, is waiting to get called out. I mean, like, Might not even be this turn, let's be honest. We're not having double resources, like you can feel it. And admittedly, we do have double resources in our kit, but like the hands are harder to play. Undercover Mojo. Oh, Crisis. Nice. Hinder 2 comes in with 4. Force Interrupt. When Mojo would take any amount of damage, remove an equal amount of threat from here instead. Oh, that's pretty cool. So we ideally do damage to Mojo because it clears that at the same time. Remove an equal damage from here. Oh, it says instead. Okay, so there's just 2 different ways to do it. Fun. Okay. Back to us. So jumping down is good. This will go up to 13 to 25. We are definitely on a treadmill of some sort. I don't think we're playing Wolverine this turn, I'll be honest. I'm not sure we're playing Wolverine this turn. If we play Wolverine, it's like Jubilee plus XJet plays Wolverine. Wolverine can attack for 3, but then we also have to throw out 2 more cards. But I think it's way more important that we play our coat because our firecracker is coming up, which deals with Nanny, and that we do Flash of Light because it fires Jubilee's coat. So then we can play X-Gene on the way down. Yeah, I don't think we do it. I don't think we play Wolverine. I think we've been holding on to him like an absolute brick trying to swim upriver. So Mutant Education is actually really potent here because our deck is, we're going to deck out so we can ensure that we're drawing a thing that we want to. The problem is I don't know if we can play everything. Excuse me. So like we throw out Wolfie, X-Jet. We do Flash of Light. That removes 5 threat. We can confuse Nanny. That's valuable. So that's these 2. We could use our Self and X-Gene, unfortunately, to play the Sunglasses. And then just not have X-Gene. And then we can just play Mutant Education. When we play Mutant Education, we can shuffle back 2 cards, which means we will not deck out. So we don't have to draw an encounter card now. It's not the most important thing. We do know the bottom 5 has a Firecracker, so Nanny will be knocked out. So that's good. And a Multi-Talented and an Expansion. So that's one way to do it. This like just delays the deck out a bit. The other option, yeah, there's no shot we're playing Wolverine, is to play the X-Gene as a setup card for our first cycle, at the end of our first cycle. So if we wanted to do that, we would do like Jubilee plus X-Jet. It's fine. We can do Flash of Light, removes 5 threat. And admittedly, it's 3+1 from here, which is actually kind of awkward. So we might want to thwart for 2, then Flash of Light, and then do 2 off of this. So we're exhausted. We would do X-Jet plus Mutant Education. Then we can jump down and play Sunglasses. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I think we do what we do. I think we do what we do. So it's 2 for Sunglasses, us 2 for Flash of Light, play Mutant Education. Ugh, I guess. None of these feel perfectly efficient. It's mostly because the breakpoints on this are ugly. 4 means that we'll waste 1 thwart. It's like not the end of the world. X-Gene is very, very good. And we're going to be jumping down an alter ego to play it. So if we jump down and play X-Gene, we can't use it because X-Gene is only for a hero identity specific card. So their events, you usually play them in hero mode. There's like only 2 that don't work that way. We definitely want to play the Sunglasses because it's cracked. And we definitely want to play Flash of Light. The issue is we can't do all of it because Jubilee plus X-Jet is Sunglasses, or sorry, Flash of Light, and then we're short 1. So we have to make a sacrifice. My guess is the sacrifice is the X-Gene. That's my guess. So 1, 2 for Flash of Light. We do 1, 2 for Sunglasses, and then we just play Mutant Education. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll generate a wild using our hero text. We'll generate a wild and we'll play Flash of Light. We have to target this, so we'll remove 3 threat. We've spent 2 different kinds, so we'll confuse Nanny. And then we'll do our coat, which we spent 2 different resources. We can remove 2 threat from this. Cool. We have nothing else to do in hero mode, so we will hop down. We have to move this threat here. We'll pitch 1, 2 for Sunglasses, so our attack goes up. So this has the exact same text as our coat, but it's for attack. So anytime you spend an attack for each different resource, you can do damage to somebody. Nanny's been on the table for so long. Then we'll play Mutant Education, which just allows us to shuffle 2 cards back into our deck, which means we won't deck out this turn, and we can like largely carve what our deck is going to be. They have to be identity specific cards, so like I'm not going to fall for the Wolverine trap again unless we do Wolverine and double. We know the bottom of our deck. We want to play an attack and a thwart. And unfortunately, the bottom of our deck has an attack and an attack and a thwart. So it shouldn't be that hard. In fact, we're making it more diluted. But like X-Mansion's playable. So I think with this bottom of the deck, which I guess we can look at, I think it serves us well to add a double to that just to make it more playable. Right? And then we probably should just add the thwart event. because in case we don't draw multi-talented, this is the other card that we can play that will remove 5 threat, which seems important. I think that's it. I don't know why I'm shuffling this, but I'll shuffle this instead. Okay. Oh, why does she have one of those? You don't get one of those. Those are ours. We'll pass. Feel like we're treading water. And that's, you know, the big things. We don't actually have a bigger setup than this. Like, this is a setup we are, barring X Gene. So treading water is, you know, the feeling you get with Jubilee. Okay. Already. And that's it. We only draw 6 of these, so we're not going to draw. We're going to draw all but one, not all of them. So we got the thwarting events. We got the multi-talented, which is overkill, admittedly, because we can't play all of these. X-Mansion, the setup, it's, if we can, we will. Grand Finale is a damage. We don't need that. Plasmoid is great. And Firecracker. So the card we didn't draw is Beat Cop. That's good enough with me. We wouldn't have played it. And it's back. So this goes to 4. The whole board, the whole world is confused. We could have gone for the AoE stun confused thing, but I feel like we just can't keep doing that. Under fire. Okay. So good thing we didn't draw too many encounter cards. 2 more. And we're in alter ego, so obligations might not be that hard. All right. Major Domo. This attaches, I think, to Mojo. So it says, after Mojo attacks, discard cards in the counter deck equal to the amount of damage dealt. Dealt means defense will reduce it. And you have to spend 1 of each to discard this. And he gets +1/+1. Salt gets Surge. So we're in alter ego. Supporting actor. Okay. So this has 6 health. Force response, after surviving actor activates against you, place 2 threat here. And anytime this is defeated, its threat goes to the main. We are absolutely overwhelmed. Like, I don't know how you come back. People, please, Jubilee fans, what am I doing wrong? I don't know what to do. I don't feel like we're getting more powerful. Like, our 2 items are good. Okay, so we need to deal with the board. Grand Finale is the way to deal with the board. Because this card is an attack event, so it does 3. Plus we spend 2 different resources, it does 11. So this might just be a Grand Finale board and then just like take an attack from Mojo. Because if we play Grand Finale, we can do 1, 2, 3. This does 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. So we can knock out the supporting actor, no problem. And then we can do 5 damage to Nanny, knocking Nanny out. That leaves us with this hand. With this hand, we want to play Flash of Light. So we can do us and this for Flash of Light, which removes 5 threat and confuses. It leaves us with 2 cards, which doesn't do anything. So we might as well... We could go for the stun instead. The stun stops us from discarding cards. So maybe we go for the stun. But we already have an attack anyways. Okay, so that might not be it. One of the things with Firecracker is that, like, if you play Firecracker, whoever you attack, you have to stun that character. So if you defeat the character, it's useless. So like doing 4 damage to Nanny with Firecracker is like not a good use of resources. So I feel like the only way we can get back onto the board state is actually doing the Grand Finale. So we do X-Jet plus this for Grand Finale, which does 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Mojo could snowball and be hard to plan for if you're choosing random genres. He's really tricky, I think. You're not doing anything wrong per se. Okay. Well, try this after this like really sucks onto another hero, which might be more amicable. Because yeah, Mojo is a final boss of sorts, that's for sure. I remember struggling against Mojo, but not having a good idea or remembering why. Besides, yeah, there's a lot of things happening to us all at once. And we're going to deck out in like 2 or 3 turns, which it usually gets worse when that happens. Okay, that leaves us with 4 cards. The problem is like 4 cards is ugly. If we play multi-talented, that uses our hand. So multi-talented doesn't do a status event, but multi-talented will remove 5 threat. It'll heal us 1, and it'll do 2 damage to Mojo. That's an option. It doesn't do a stun or confuse, and stun or confuse is really valuable. In fact, if we stun Mojo, we don't have to discard more cards. There's something to that. But this uses our hand the best, and we can thwart for 2. I think that's currently my favorite option. But if we want to go for the stun or confuse, like we end up floating 1 card awkwardly, which like maybe floating multi-talented for next turn is fine because it ensures we fire these and it ensures we heal a bit. I could see that being good too. I just can't tell whether we want to go for the stun or whether we want to remove threat. I think we can remove 2 threat ourselves and maybe that's good enough. I'm going to go for the stun because I think like we can't just tread water. We have to close the game out. And I know that's one of my issues with Jubilee is like I always just do the stun or confuse and I struggle to push forward. So let's try and push forward and we'll hold on to multi-talented because it has to be good next turn. Unless we want to hold on to the Flash of Light because we need to jump down next turn. I could see that being an argument too. That's the cool thing about Jubilee is like you can plan for the next turn really actively. So Flash of Light allows us to thwart 5 and jump down because we have the safety confuse. I think that might be important. Nanny has been a mutant scientist. How's it going, by the way, Ogilvy? But when they cracked down against mutants, she started wearing the egg-shaped armor in order to avoid detection. Her power is like mind control, kind of. I'm assuming it is detection from like science, but when it's detection for being subtle, I think the giant egg suit is probably not cutting it. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. Why is she interacting with Jubilee so much? And why does she also look like a jet plane with lipstick? Why does she have lipstick? X-Jet plus Plasmoid will play grand finale. So deal 2 damage to an enemy. We'll ping the actor. For each different resource you spend, deal 2 damage. Choose an enemy, deal 2 damage. So we'll ping the actor for 1. We'll ping the actor for 1. And then we'll ping Nanny for 2. Then after we played an attack event, we can do Jubilee's sunglasses. So we can now do 3 damage to an enemy. That's a really good card when it lines up. That's very, very good, especially with the sunglasses, of course. Then I think we'll do 1-2 into Firecracker. So Firecracker, no, I think we should do Flash of Light because it uses our Jubilee's coat. Yeah, we'll do Flash of Light, I guess. So Flash of Light instead. So if that's the case, we will hold on to multi-talented. So remove 3 threat. Goes down to 11. We spent a card of 2 different kinds, so we'll confuse. And then we can do our coat, which we spent 2 different resources, so this goes down to 9. We also could have got rid of Major Domo. That might be correct. And then we can do something, I guess we'll thwart for 2. I'll pass. 1, 2, we decked out, drew the beat cop, which again, I don't know if beat cop should be in the deck. Seems like a bit, seems very expensive. That's not 2 different types? Wait, was it not? Was it not? If it wasn't, we would have rearranged. Wait, did we actually get into... I'm so used to like auto coasting where 2 different types is so easy. Gotta use multi-talented. Yeah, I shuffled the deck, so I can't remember what it was, but it might have been 2 energy. So we could have exhausted Jubilee, but then we wouldn't have thwarted for 2. Yeah, okay. So we have to use the multi-talented, which means we hold on to the Firecracker. Yeah, good catch. I don't know which Firecracker it was, which actually that does matter because they're different, but there was no way for us to fix that really easily because we used the X-Jet on the other one. What we could have done probably, and I'd have to rewind the tape, is use the card from our hand on the X-Jet on the finale, assuming it was the icon that didn't match for the double we played. So we might have been able to do it, but I'm gonna assume that we just can't fix it easily. It was a blue Firecracker. Okay. Do you know, was there a way to fix it with the double off X-Jet? Blue Firecracker. Yeah, I need to spend more time thinking about that one. Because yeah, maybe the X-Jet, or sorry, maybe the double plus a card in a hand could have played finale, and then we could have actually done the right thing. Because I don't actually think we hold on to Firecracker. I think we would discard Firecracker. Because Firecracker's not that good here. We want to jump down. So yeah, I'm going to discard the Firecracker. I won't keep it blue Firecracker. Okay. 1. Multi-talented, it's back. That's good. Another beat cop, hate it. Mutant education. I'm sure there was lines, but I can't find it easily. Yeah, it's hard to find easily. And Flash of Light is back. So we don't have any stun here, but at least we have a multi-talented. We're going to get hit and we're going to do a lot of deck damage to ourselves, which matters. But this hand is okay. It's just these beat cops are real stinkers. Real stinkers. So, villain, we have to rip 4. Not Mojo. Not Mojo. That's the last lost child, though. Not Mojo. There's 4 threat on us. That's not good. And so Mojo's now attacking for 2 and a card. And Major Domo says, after Mojo attacks, discard cards from the counter deck equal to the amount of damage dealt. So if we defend for 2, I think no matter what, we're probably going to deck out because there's only 3 cards left and we have to draw an encounter card. So I think we're cooked. So I think we won't exhaust. I think we'll just take it so we can be ready. So attacking for 1-2. 3-4 is Paparazzi. Very cool card. So we'll take 4. And we're down to 4. And now we have to discard 4 cards. So 1, 2, 3. We deck out, which there's an interrupt here. We have to do the wheel. Can't attack, you're an alter ego? Oh, we're not meant to be an alter ego. We didn't flip our card. How's it going, by the way, Grolix? We were definitely meant to be in hero mode because we just played a bunch of events and didn't jump down. I just didn't flip my card, I think. Well, yeah, we were definitely meant to be in hero mode. I don't know what happened. After the encounter deck resets, so I guess we shuffle this. It's a response. If there are no set-aside modular encounter sets remaining, the players lose the game. Otherwise, flip this card. All right, so it stops spinning for a second. At the start of step 3 of the villain phase, deal encounter cards, which is right now, randomly choose one set-aside modular set and reveal its show environment. Reveal means it will have surge. If you do defend, you reduce the damage that helps. It does reduce the damage, which does help, but I think we want to be ready for both the resource and because we thwart an attack for 2. Like reducing the damage by 2 or jumping down and recovering by 3. One of them is a bit better than the other, and we were going to deck out anyways, which is the problem. So yeah, not great. Anyways, at the start of the step 3 of the villain phase, which we're there now, randomly choose one set of modular set. There's only one. It's Wild Wild and Mojo. Reveal its environment. So we reveal Wild Wild and Mojo. So this gets discarded because there can only be one. So each enemy attack gains overkill, not quick strike, overkill. Thought it was quick strike. I guess that's the horror one. When a character takes damage, increase that damage by 1. That's everybody, including consequential damage, which is kind of messed up. And when revealed, discard each other setting in play. This card was revealed from the encounter deck. Oh, cool. Though it wasn't. That's great. So it doesn't get surge. Nice. Okay, shuffle the rest of the modular set and place it on top of the counter deck. Deal the first player 2 face down counter cards, then flip this card. Oh god, this is gonna be bad. All right, we'll just put that there. We'll flip it back. We'll put it here on top of the deck. Goes this way. We draw 2 encounter cards, and then we draw 1 encounter card. Yeah, this is the bad tempo hit, especially if you go into like the Mojo in the middle one and draw all the obligations because you can't get rid of them. First card. Whoa. Okay, wait, that's sick. Long shot basic. Not long shot basic, long shot basic encounter. Hey, we got long shot. So this gets surge. So at least we got a guy. I mean, I'm so happy to see long shot because we're going to need him. First card. It's card shark. Again, everybody takes an additional damage. So the card shark has 7 health. It says after card shark attacks, you discard the top 3 cards of your deck and take indirect damage equal to the different icons on it. That's going to hurt us. Mojo's becoming Mysterio. It's not good out here for us. A game of cards. This card's neat. So draw 5 cards. Okay. 1. I like the set a lot, actually. 2, 3, 4, 5. For each different printed resource type. Oh no. Discarded this way. Wait. Discard 5 cards from your hand. For each different printed resource card discarded this way. Discard an upgrade or support. Oh, it's bad. We can discard physicals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves us with this hand, which doesn't look immediately playable. So not the worst. But otherwise, we have to rip up our board, and our board is really good. So for each different resource type, discard an upgrade or support. So we still have to discard 1 upgrade or support? That sucks so much because we just shuffled our deck. I'll get rid of the attack one, I think. Thanks, Mojo. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? Always awesome to wake up and see you stream. Glad you can make it. It's been a lot of fun to stream on Sundays. Dead or alive. Attach to the minion with the highest printed hit points. If you cannot, it gets +3 hit points. So it's a 10 health card shark. When attached minion is defeated, each player adds 1 card from the discard pile to their hand. Okay. And we have the gunslinger who does have quick strike. Yeehaw. Is going to attack us for 3. And when this minion engages you, but before resolving quick strike, you can spend 2 energy. Mind you, our attack goes down, which is bad timing. Really bad timing. If you deal damage to this minion equal to your hero's attack, which will be 1 + 1, which is 2. So we can quick draw him by spending 2 energies, but if we do quick draw him, we hit him for 2 and then he hits us for 3. Again, everything that takes damage takes 1 more damage. Because Jubilee doesn't build much of a board, any board destruction is just backbreaking. Yeah, it's awful. This is really bad. I really want more cards like Fluid Motion, and I'm not a big Fluid Motion player, but it's like kind of alarming how rich and deep this card pool is. But there are so few cards in the game that give you a benefit from playing an event every turn. And like, there's so many decks that just want to play an event every turn. Like event-based decks are fun, but they struggle with this like ongoing board presence. And so I really think that every aspect could do well with a card like Fluid Motion that says if you played an event plus value. And I think in the whole game, it's only Fluid Motion besides Heroes kits themselves. Excuse me. I am disgusting in 1440p. If we don't do anything here, we take 3 damage. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're scooping it, right? I'm pretty sure we're scooping. We know the top of the deck is all still like the Western stuff. So there's another Gunslinger. I think there's another Card Shark. That might be it. I want to check. There's one more Gunslinger. That's it. There's one more Gunslinger on top of the deck. Okay. So at least that's it. There's one more Quick Strike attacking for 3. Funny enough, losing our +1 attack. If we didn't lose our +1 attack, we could actually like draw the Gunslinger. Great. Just had a game night last night with friends. Played Exploding Kittens, Millborns, and Betrayal. How was your weekend? It's been good so far. It's a bit busy. We got 2 streams today, which is maybe I'm actually overextended. But I had a similar thing last night where we had family over and we played, what did we play? We played Irish Gauge, which we hadn't played in a long time. And it's like, doesn't look like the most exciting game, but it's a lot of fun. I'm not like an 18xx guy, and it's like an approachable trains stocks game. It's way more fun than it sounds. And then we played Quaxaquedlinburg, which we hadn't played in a long time. Had a good night. As opposed to the games where I did not do well in any of them, but I had a good time. I mean, I think we just take the damage here. I think we're like obviously in a very bad spot. So Gunslinger attacks us for 3. We could exhaust to prevent 3 damage. It's the same as recovering, so I guess we might as well. So we won't do anything cool with the Gunslinger. And so Gunslinger attacks for 2 + 1, but it's each damage is increased. When a character would take damage, they increased. So when we defend for 2, we don't take any damage, so there's no damage to be increased. Quacks is my wife's favorite game, so fun. I'm like, I had a bad like second last round where I drew, my bag was obviously rich in terms of so many icons, and then I drew 7 tokens and blew up with no flask, unfortunately. And so it feels really bad. It like gives me the sort of vibe with Mario Kart where you can do everything right and still lose, which I think that's very valuable as a life lesson to be okay with that. Like you can make all the right plays and still lose. That's fine. Like that's kind of the cool thing about the game to some extent. There is still better Quacks play than some others. But yeah, I did have a game where I didn't do anything wrong and lost terribly because your last round, if it blows up, it's really, really bad. But Quacks is a lot of fun. We upgraded it with like plastic tokens back in like the pandemic, and it's such a nicer thing to touch. All right, back to us. We need to jump down. X Mansion is doing some healing, so we can do like X Mansion here. We can do X Jet plus Beaky for Flash of Light, and we can confuse the shark. This will remove 5 threat, which is good, as much as we're adding 4 threat and we're jumping down. And then Mutant Education can draw a card. We put our tokens in coin capsules. Yeah, I think that's another nice way to do it for sure. We spent way too much money upgrading our Quacks, but we used to love to play Quacks all the time. We hadn't played in a while. Longshot, we're going to attack for 2. It's upgraded to 3. But Longshot takes damage, which is upgraded. Again, anytime anything takes damage, that number is increased, which includes Consequential, which is pretty wild in terms of like what allies should be doing. We'll just go ahead and get out the X Mansion, which we probably are going to have to heal ourselves as much as Longshot. If we heal him, it does not actually give him another activation. We'll do X Jet plus a Beak for the Flash of Light. We spend 2 different kinds. I'll make sure I check. So we'll remove 3 threat from this. It goes seemingly down to 4. And then we can do Jubilee's Code, so we can remove 2 more. So that's the lowest this has been in a while, which feels good. We will jump down, and when we jump down, these 2 get married. Congratulations, you're at 6. And at least we're going to be dodging the Quick Strike. We'll play Mutant Education. And so here, not only do we draw a card, but we can shuffle 2 cards into our deck. So Flash of Light, and I'm assuming it's our Sunglasses, because we're going to need a fair bit of damage for the Card Shark. And then we draw 1 card, because we have the X Mansion. I love Irish Gauge. I thought only played it the once with you guys. Yeah, Maddie didn't even remember that. She's like, I've never played this. I'm like, we played it once with Pat. It was actually like really cool. The most charming thing about Irish Gauge is that the rules book is 1 page of paper. And the game has like very simple rules, but they're so interesting and deep because it is a stocks game. It's like the value of a train line is so dependent on like 7 different variables, all of which every player can interact with. So like you can profit by just waiting for somebody else to build a train line and then buy it cheaply. You can do auctions to bankrupt people, and then when they don't have money, you can buy things underneath them when they can't auction. Like I made some terrible plays where I overspent for a share in a good line, and then the person I was doing the bidding war now says, "Okay, you're bankrupt. I'll buy the third final share for market price." Like very cool. All right, we draw one card. It's Blinding Flash. I mean, that actually might matter. It's a nice way to deal with the card shark. Do we hold on to it? We'll find out together. We'll X-Mansion to heal. I think we have to heal ourselves just because things are pretty scary. So we'll recover one. This heals any X-Men character. So we could heal Longshot. And then I think that's it. For a moment, Mojo's giant scheme was smaller than the shopping spree. Yeah, I know. For a moment there, this shopping spree is just going to sit there. I think Blinding Flash is worth holding on to because we're not going to knock out the card shark, and it deals with Mojo because Major Dome was a problem too. And I think we'll pass. Hey, Andre, someone who also tends to avoid status heavy heroes, I'm curious to see what you've done here. Tuning in slowly to a disaster. No, it's not that bad. But at the end of the day, you are just status heavy. So just like you, I'm not huge on status heavy heroes, but you have to be okay with that if you're playing Jubilee. There's not much you can do because her kit is entirely based off of playing her events. So yeah, I don't have any like beautiful thing to solve that. Flashlight, Plasmoid, Firecracker. So hey, we have options. I mean, we have options. And we have Legion, which is nice. We did shuffle the deck, so the thing that eats our allies is back in there because we draw our Nemesis. This hand's a bit expensive for what we wanted to do, but at least it'll do a lot of different things. Okay, this goes up to 7. Oh, we forgot to confuse the card shark when we played our Firecracker. The card shark is confused. Not Firecracker, the Blinding Light. A Legion of options. Legion is so fun in this deck because ripping the double resources feels so good. You do have some wild issues, but it's really good fun. Okay, nothing has to happen. We draw this encounter card, which we know has Quick Strike. The Force Interrupt on this is really interesting because it's not hero, which is kind of cool. I guess it doesn't matter that it's not hero because it talks about your attack and you don't have attack. So when this minion engages you, you may spend double energy if you do deal damage to this minion equal to your hero's attack. I'm assuming it only references your hero's attack if you're in hero mode. So at least that's a soft encounter step. As much as any encounter step will seem like a soft encounter step based off of what we've done. Yeah, the Gunslinger for theme is so sick, especially when you have exactly the 2 attack that gets buffed by the Wild Mojo and he blows up. Okay, we have to win before the deck decks out. So I think we have to prioritize just throwing damage at Mojo. Any damage we take means we have to rip more cards off the deck. But if Mojo decks out one more time, we just straight lose the game. That's just how it works. That's the text. And Mojo 3, I think probably has like 22 health. 25 health? Holy crap. Okay, so we have some work to do. Issue is, again, every turn we only have X output of damage, and it might not actually get there. Okay, I'm glad we didn't wipe because I think this is within the realm of possibility. So we have to decide. When we knock out the card shark, which we can do, Dead or Alive will trigger. And I think we can add any card from our discard pile to our hand. We don't play it, but we can add it. So ideally, we play like a Plasmoid Energy first, and then we can bring it back so we can actually mag dump this damn hand, which would be sick. That would actually feel really good. So what are we going to do? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Longshot can trade with the Gunslinger, which is fine. We can Grand Finale the card shark, and actually, the Grand Finale is really, really good because anytime they would take damage, they take +1 more. So this has gone from 11 damage card to like a 16 damage card, something like that. Because it does actually like 5 extra instances of damage. So it's a 16 damage card, which that actually seems really quite good. We actually are not in the worst spot. I'm building Scarlet Witch deck today. What aspect should I use? I'm a big fan of Scarlet Witch and Justice because you have some nice top of deck control. I think I've only played her in Justice. I think she's just really smooth in Justice, but she's like relatively generalist. I don't know if there's anything that she builds into more than others. But I've only played like a dozen Scarlet Witch games. I had really fun playing her Justice. I can show you the Justice deck I played. It was like 42 cards, so I couldn't figure it out. All right, X-Mansion, we got to heal someone. Healing the Longshot doesn't matter because if Longshot attacks, Longshot's defeated anyway, so we'll heal ourselves 1. She's really good in leadership, isn't everyone? I hear you, but most people are. Okay, so we're gonna do 1, 2, and X-Jet, and we'll just rip straight into the Grand Finale. So again, every instance of damage is 1 more damage. So let's math this out. So deal 2 damage to an enemy, we'll do 3 damage to the card shark. So this goes down to 7. And then we play 3 different kinds of resources. I'll find the 2 eventually. It's not a D6, so they're not on the opposite side the way that I'm used to. And now we can do 3 more instances of 3 damage, which is 9 damage. So actually we can knock out Gunslinger. Ghost Spider, probably not great in leadership. I played that on the channel weeks ago. How could you say that? We played Ghost Spider leadership on the channel and had a great time, Grawlix. Tried building Iceman. He ended up being mostly gray with a handful of Justice cards. Protection has readies, and he has 1 thwart. Which any suggestions? Anything that readies Iceman is really good. I'm a big fan of aggression because you can play the whole suite of things that interacts with upgrades because Frostbite are upgrades. Protection is fun because you have a lot of like interesting readies and protection. I don't think you can really go wrong with Iceman. His kit is a bit expensive, so like you are going to jam all your resource generators in there that you can. But I do think there's a reason to do just about everything. Dang, I need to watch it. It's actually really fun because you have a couple cool ally interrupts and responses. It was a really cool deck. Genuinely was fun. I played a bit of heroic with it off camera and it was not awful. All right, 3 damage. So this goes down to 7 goes into 4. So that's 1 instance. Second instance, 3 damage. So I'm going to do it to Mojo. Third instance, I'm going to do it to the Gunslinger. And that's that. And the reason why we left the card shark on 4 is that now... Oh, wait, we didn't have the glasses in play. Oh, we didn't have the glasses in play. I thought we had the glasses in play, so this would do 4 damage. It doesn't. So I'm going to undo the Gunslinger. Oh, I thought we had the glasses. Because the glasses does 4 damage when this resolves. But we don't. So that sucks. So I have to do this better. So we'll rewind this a bit. We'll undo Mojo, villain recover 3. So then we'll do the first instance to card shark, the second instance to card shark. We can attack for the last. So the third instance will knock out the Gunslinger. And then we don't have glasses. I thought we had glasses. Okay. Cool. When we defeat the card shark, we draw a card. So we want to play Firecracker. So I think here now we'll just do Flash of Light. So Flash of Light will remove 3 threat. We'll use Jubilee's Coat to remove 2 more threat. And we did the thing, so we'll confuse. I didn't check the resources, did there for a second, it's fine. Then we will attack for 1, which defeats the card shark. Card shark has after he attacks you text, or after it attacks you, excuse me. And Dead or Alive fires, which means we can grab any card from our bin. So we'll go grab, I think the best option here is Plasmoid Energy. Then we can just do the whole thing. So we'll do Plasmoid Energy for Firecracker, which this does 5 damage because it increases by 1. And then we also get a stun. So that turn was actually pretty sick. If we attack with Longshot will knock out Mojo. I just want to see if on Mojo 3 there's a bad one revealed. Place 3 threat on each friendly character. I mean, I think we have to do that. We don't have to do it now for whatever it's worth, because we could draw Curtain Call, which will add to the threat here. At least 2 threat, we're happy. But Longshot could block an attack. I think we don't have to use Longshot, so we won't. We can just do it next turn, so we'll pass. All right, that was a good comeback. That was a really good hand. Then we actually could use all the hand really well. Firecracker, okay, another stun. This is the one with a mental on it. I don't know what number I put it. Firecracker 2, nailed it. Forge, which doesn't do anything, just cheap. Disguise, again, building around Shopping Spree just never feels right for me. I think it's a multiplayer thing. Multi-talented is great because healing is good. Not you, almost you, kind of like you. And then finally we have Marrow, who Marrow is now also inflated the amount of damage that Marrow will do. All right, end of our turn. We have to do Mojo's text. Oh, excuse me. So we have to rip 4. And now this deck is, I guess the odds are about the same still what it is. So not Mojo, not Mojo, not Mojo, not Mojo. At least we got rid of 2 horrible expert cards, but we have to put 4th threat on ourselves. And when we flip down in a moment, that'll be added. So we're adding so much threat a turn and we're still keeping up. A stun, 1 encounter card. Please be not impactful. Nice, the one with the breakup. So each encounter card gains peril. That technically chat can't talk. As an alter, you actually discard 3 cards from your hand and choose a player. The chosen player draws 1 card and you discard this obligation. So we have to go down 2 cards to get rid of this? Good thing our cards are bad, he said. That's unfortunate. Okay. So I think the obvious play here is multi-talented. The greedy play would also be Firecracker to get the stun. But I think it's more important that we just get rid of the one with the breakup, because an extra encounter card is not something we want at all. So we will do multi-talented for 1. Our ready would probably be a recovery at this point. We could thwart for 2, but it's not going to matter. So we can do 1, 2, 3. To get rid of this, we need to discard 3 cards. So I guess we are using ourselves. So we'll generate a wild. We'll generate a wild. And then we'll play, I guess, Forge for multi-talented. Losing our glasses really did suck. Like, we've lost a fair bit of damage. Like, it's so important to get your glasses down. So deal 2 damage to an enemy, that's 3 damage. So we're going to be advancing Mojo. So takes 3 and we advance. When revealed, place 3 threat on each friendly character. Oh, okay, hold on. So before we do this, we have to do this in the right order. We want to attack with Longshot first. So we're going to attack with Longshot first. When Longshot attacks, Longshot does 3 damage. That means Longshot will actually still be in play, because Consequential happens last. I guess there's no smart way to do this. So we won't attack with Longshot first, because you take the Consequential last, so Longshot will actually see this when revealed. So we'll still multi-talented. Place 3 threat on each friendly character. So 3, 7. Okay. After your turn ends, discard the top 5 cards in hero mode. Place 1 threat on your hero for each card that does not match Mojo. Okay, that's fine. A slightly worse. Then remove 2 threat. Heal 2 identity. Okay, yeah, now we don't have to heal. We can't Jubilee's code here. The problem is that it doesn't actually do anything. Because it says after you play a thwart card, choose and remove 1 threat from that scheme. So we can't remove threat from characters, which would be sick if it just said remove threat from a card. We can't remove threat from this because it's an upgrade, which is a hero card. So we do waste our code this turn. So this still is okay. We won't use Longshot because it adds more threat than we want to. Man, flipping down's really expensive. This goes up to 7. We just need 25 damage, which the Firecracker will help as much as we're losing the Firecracker here. We'll do the one with the breakup. So discard 3 cards from your hand. We'll choose ourselves. We draw 1 card. Draw a Mutant Education Cipher. And then we get rid of this. Well, Expansion to heal ourselves. Healing Longshot is only a long con. Actually, let's heal Longshot. Because Expansion, we can heal him next turn. Because X-Mansion says heal from a mutant or X-Men character. Longshot takes 1 consequential, which is 2 consequential, so we don't love that. We'll discard this. So if we heal him next turn, he can activate once more and survive. Turn the Tide, probably won't work. Endurance, don't need it. X-Gene, a bit too late. Mutant Education, sick. Again, it's all about getting our best cards back into the deck. Power in All of Us doesn't have a target. This is such a bad hand. Okay. Yeah, we're an event-based deck. If you don't draw your events, it's not good. That being said, we have a chance to draw 1 card. You always want to be on top of your events. Like, discarding that actually was a bit expensive. We wanted to keep the stun in our hand, but we have to watch out. We have 1, 2 Firecrackers. So there's 1 Firecracker left in this deck. And then when it comes to the blinding lights, or is that what's called? Flash of light, excuse me. 1, 2. So there's only 1 of each of our important cards in our deck, and Grand Finale and the blinding light is out. All right, this goes to 4 or 9. Confuse. We don't do any of the hero text. 1 encounter card. Assault gets Surge. Top billing. What do you do? When revealed, heal 1 damage from each character you control. Place 2 threat on each character you control. I mean, thanks, man. Very big of you. Okay. So what is this text on Mojo Mania? It's only when they flip or they get destroyed. So now we have to protect Longshot at all costs. The issue is that there's 2 copies of a card called Curtain Call, which is moves threat from this to the main scheme, from all characters to the main scheme. So you can't protect Longshot forever as much as you can try. When a character flips or leaves play, so Longshot now we have to protect at all costs. Okay, I think we have to start here with Mutant Education and hope we get something playable. So we definitely need a mixture of stun and we need a mixture of confuse. So it has to be 2 of our cards. So Firecracker we can put in. I don't think I'm going to stress on what icon is on the bottom. And then Flash of Light we want to put in. Multi-talenteds we can shuffle in, but again, we want to fire Jubilee's codes every turn. And there's no multi-talented in the deck. So I think stun is actually really important. We'll shuffle 2 in and then we draw a card. We're within striking distance. Actually, if that's the case, we should just put Grand Finale back in because Grand Finale does 300 damage. I'm going to get rid of the only copy of, I guess there was 2. Yeah, let's get rid of Firecracker and let's do instead Grand Finale because Grand Finale, again, is just absolutely cracked with additional damage. There's an argument to kill him when you know you can remove a lot of threat. Yeah. On the turn that you're removing a lot of threat, you just like defeat him so the threat goes, which like we were trying to do the turn ago, but unfortunately consequential happens too late. Yeah, Grand Finale just seems good because Grand Finale does 12 damage, which like, I mean, defeating Mojo would be cool. All right, this is a very important card draw. Yes, actually sick. It's okay. Not you. You. That's actually good. I mean, it's playable. Let's just say that. So we will do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Wolverine. Coming in for 4 health, but when he attacks, he takes 3 consequential. But hey, it's damage. I forgot we had this guy. We held on to him for so long and we forgot about him. Oh, hold on. Could we hold one of these cards to play something? Because we have the X-Jet. I don't think it super matters. Playing Endurance is good. Playing X-Gene is good. Yeah, it does matter. So hold on. We won't play him right away. So we'll play him in a second. Okay, so what are we doing here? We have the X-Mansion. That's the only thing we can do. So the only way to use X-Mansion is to use an ally first and then heal with X-Mansion. So I think we're going to use Long Shot. And I think we're just going to try and push the game forward for damage because we know we're drawing into a Grand Finale, which can end the game. So Long Shot will attack for 3 into the villain and then take 2 consequential. And then we'll X-Mansion Long Shot, which is like not super impactful, but whatever. We'll flip up. This goes to 11. Okay. Now here, we can do the X-Jet plus Plasmoid plus Turn the Tide for Wolverine. Oh, hold on. We're meant to play X-Gene first. So we'll play... Yeah, we'll play X-Gene first. I guess we might play this later. So sorry, X-Gene we have to play when we're down there. It's not going to be useful this turn, but it generates for an identity-specific event. It might be a bit too late, but now we'll play Wolverine. Wolverine comes in, is just going to straight attack here. We're going to lose the piercing. He's going to take 3 consequential and deal 4 damage to the villain. So like just drawing Grand Finale will get us there. And so then I think we either can attack for 2 to put Mojo even closer, or we can just thwart for 2, or we can play the Endurance to give us more health. I think we're just going to attack thwart for 2, excuse me, so that we can't lose here. If we draw well and draw Grand Finale, we should win this turn. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. Here we go. First, Flash of Light, that's thwarting. Skilled Investigator is not super useful. There's a Finale. So again, this does a ton of damage. Turn the Tide, can do 4 damage maybe, and Immune Education. So I think if we survive this turn, we might have it. All we have to do is survive this turn. Speaking of surviving this turn, Mojo says, after your turn ends, discard the top 5 cards of the deck. Not Mojo. Not Mojo. Not Mojo. Not Mojo. Not Mojo. So we have 5 threat on us, which means we'll be at 15. So if we draw a Curtain Call, we perfectly lose because this goes to 16 and then we have 5 on us. So if we draw a Curtain Call, we just are cooked. There's nothing we can really do about it. So we have to get slightly lucky here. This goes to 16 because of the acceleration. And now Mojo's going to attack us. Okay. So Mojo's attacking for 1, 2, 3. I forgot to flip the guy, excuse me. So 1, 2, 3 plus 1 plus a card. So say this is a 3 boost. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would survive, but then we'd rip 7 cards off the deck, which like doesn't make us lose. I think we just take it because we want to keep everybody else ready. So we're just going to not block. If we don't block, we have another resource, let alone we attack for 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4. It's an advance. So we take 4 damage. Down to 5. Major Domo has text. So we took 4 damage, so we had to discard the top 4 cards of the deck. Actor, we need a not. We want to discard a Curtain Call. That's a Curtain Call. I think there might be one more. So now the card we have to draw just can't be Curtain Call. It's not massively likely. Okay. Is that bad? Does this heal him? Attached to Mojo. Mojo gets retaliated too. Wait, that's frightening. When any amount of damage will be dealt to Mojo, it put it here instead, then there's at least 5 damage. Oh no, okay. Okay. Retaliate 2 is technically Retaliate 3 because all damage goes up by 1. That being said, we now have to do the math whether we can end him. In terms of damage, all we have is Grand Finale and the table. Wolverine is 4, Longshot is 3, we are 2. So that's 9 damage. Grand Finale is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I think we're short like 3 damage. We are short 3 damage, if I'm not mistaken. And it's because we don't have our glasses, which are still in the deck somewhere. There's nothing we can draw into because Mutant Education can't do it. We can't clear the threat off of anything, so we can't turn the tide. We can still flash a light and just like try and hold on, but we're still like one curtain call away from disaster. So that means we have to just Grand Finale for a bunch of damage, jump down and hope for the best, and then like put Grand Finale back into our deck. So we still have to hold on for one more turn. It's within the realm of possibility. Okay. Retaliate, which means we should do this with Wolverine. If we want to keep Wolverine around, if we jump down, Wolverine recovers 3, which puts Wolverine at full health, so then he can do it again. If Longshot attacks for 3, Longshot does 3 damage to Stinger Tail. Wait, is the text really weird here? Wild Mojo says, when a character takes damage, increase that damage by 1. Takes damage is not deals damage. Takes damage increases the damage taken, and then the damage can be reduced on dealt. I think. So Stinger Tail says, when an enemy man would be dealt. I don't think that matters, does it? No, because take happens first. All right, so if Longshot attacks a Stinger Tail, we have to put the 5 threat here, which means we're at 16. Longshot drops us down to 2. If we attack for 2, when any amount of damage would be dealt, place it here instead. Then if there's at least 5 damage, discard Stinger Tail. Does the Retaliate happen after the Force Interrupt or before the Force Interrupt? Oh, man. To the rules document. Timing of attack. How many times have we ever looked at this in our life and we still get confused? Attack, player ability type. Retaliate, then forced abilities. So this is a forced interrupt, but damage happens first, right? Yeah, the damage will happen first because you assign the damage. Yeah, you do the damage first, then you do all the text. So the Stinger Tail will be discarded, if I'm understanding correctly. I know it has a forced interrupt. It has a forced interrupt, but you will actually discard it first. So we'll do Longshot. We'll attack for 3. It's defeated to retaliate damage. And then we add its 5 threat to this board. I think this goes into the right discard pile. Yeah, I guess that goes where it comes from. Then we'll attack for ourselves, which is 2 damage, which removes the Stinger Tail. So retaliate 2 does not happen. Okay, lane is wide open. That's good. We'll do X-Jet, X-Gene for Grand Finale. Oh, excuse me. So deal 2 damage to the enemy. That'll be 3 damage. And then we played 3 different resources. So wild. So we made a red, blue, yellow. And so now we can deal 2 damage 3 times, which is 9 damage. So Mojo takes 9. No retaliate, down to 6. Issue is all we have is 4 damage left. We're short exactly 2 damage. So we were worried about curtain call, but there was worse fates, it seems. I think we have to not play Mutant Education. If we don't play Mutant Education, it depends what's in the bottom of our deck. In theory, if Wolverine survives, we get there. But the bottom of our deck has 1 Firecracker. So we're probably going to be okay. All right. So we'll do 1, 2 at 2 different types for Flash of Light. So remove 3 threat. We spend 2, we get the Confuse. We can use our coat so we can remove 2 more. So we're the exact same spot we were last turn. We'll jump down. When we jump down, Wolverine full heals, or technically heals 3, so he's on 4. And then Wolverine will attack for 3, taking 3 consequential, which is 4 damage. So Mojo's down to 2. When we jump down, we have to add this back. Expansion will recover 1 from us, and we'll pass. So 2 advances are out, so we won't lose to that. So Curtain Call no longer gets us. I think we might be okay here. 1, Firecracker, that's our damage. Turn the Tide, Triage, Flash of Light, Sunglasses are finally back. We have 1 card left over. We don't deck out. But again, the Firecracker will be 5 damage. This goes up +2. So this is at 21. 5, 10, plus 6, 16. Sorry, it goes to 18. Of 25. Mojo would scheme, but is confused. Give us a good encounter card. All right. Peril. Can't tell me nothing. Force interrupt when you look up a rule, which we just did. You are confused. Alter ego action, exhaust your identity, discard a confused status to discard this obligation. Insight 3, very importantly. So we go to 21 of 25. All right. When you look up a rule, you are confused. Super relevant. This card is really funny. It has peril, so you can't help me with this. Exhaust your identity and discard a confused status card from it. Discard this obligation. Cool. This doesn't do anything. Exhaust your identity, discard a confused status card, discard this obligation. This card is so confusing. So all this does is when you look up a rule, you're confused. And in an alter ego, you have to get rid of this. However, it doesn't do anything because it doesn't have acceleration. We will expansion ourselves. We will flip up. We will attack for 1 damage, which is increased by 1 damage to 2 damage. We didn't scoop. We got there finally. I mean, it's hard. It's hard out there. Mojo is doing a lot, that's for sure. And the Stun or Confuse goes so far. Any villain in which their power is attached to like being in a certain mode or anytime they attack, do this bad thing. Like obviously Stun or Confuse is really good. But you can see every turn, if we draw bad, we just are bad because our cards or our events are how we push forward. And our board state does not like mature the way a lot of other heroes do. So we're at the whims of card draw. And that's why I think like Mutant Education is so genuinely important, because making sure your deck, especially when you get lower half through your deck, is exactly the cards you need is so important. I'm really, really glad. And I know that's like a short sight of my play, which I need to fix, is like, just making sure we're closing the game at all times or at most times is really important. So we almost didn't shuffle the grand finale back. And if we didn't shuffle the grand finale back, yeah, we lose the game. And I think that's the thing I said before is I tend to, when I play Jubilee, just kind of tread water. And I think just like putting grand finale back as a 3 for 11 will stop that from happening a fair bit. Good game. That was sick, actually. I have a Justice Wolverine deck and I've been working on building around cheap threat removal and then using Waylay for damage. Is there any way I could send it to you for thoughts? I think sending a link in chat might not work. What you can try to do is if your deck is shareable, if you just send like the numerical code, like the string, and then I can add it on my side and we can pull it up. I just want to let you know Wolverine is a character I haven't played a lot and I have a terrible win rate with Wolverine overall, but I can take a look at it. I'm just like not a very good Wolverine player, but I would be happy to look at it for sure. Last card is Plasmoid. Waylay says after your hero thwarts, deal 4 damage to enemy, 7 damage if that thwart removed the threat from a scheme. That seems a bit tricky. Obviously this can be free and a free for 7 is kind of nice. Okay, that was Mojo. Scary, genuinely frightening. I think if you don't have Stun or Confuse, I don't know what you do besides Rush. Because if you can't jump down, you can't control any of these things. Cool though. Very cool. Actually, on turn 1, we had a good setup. If we lost on turn 1, it would have been pretty bad. And we did come back for some really bad turns. Like shout out to Mother, who's on the table for like 3-4 turns in a row. It's 12:22. We definitely have time for one more. Is there any villain y'all would like to see us play against today? And I don't know if we need to like push the envelope and check like what happens when you play against Steady, what happens when you play against Stalwart. I think it is a data point we could look at. I don't think it's in my best interest on the channel to show Jubilee struggle because I genuinely have been doing that unintentionally. So if we can have a matchup where Jubilee looks like super hype, I think that would maybe be good. Venom? Yeah, it's a cool choice. I'm down with that. I like Venom. It's been a minute. Yeah, let me try that. That's a good idea. Yeah, Matthew, you want to share your list, just hit me up. And again, shout out to Shopping Spree. Man, I don't care for this card. And yeah, Master Plan on turn 2 just happens somewhat consistently to me. I don't know why. It's a curse. Project Wide Awake. Yeah, that one's a bit more like thematic for sure. Maybe that's more interesting. It has a lot of small minions. It has a lot of side schemes, which is good for us. The grand finale to ring the bell. 11 bell counters is kind of awesome. So, okay, let's think about it. Project Wide Awake, we can't block with allies, which is fine. You do get Stalwart and Steady in the what's it called, the Sentinel. I think the Sentinel gets everything, right? Like I think Sentinel 2 is Steady. Yeah, and then Sentinel 3 I'm pretty sure is Stalwart. Yeah. Like that sucks. Wait, we can't even do Project Wait, but we can't wait, but no. Doesn't that scenario have Jubilee in it? So you already immediately run into an issue? Swap Sentinels with Future Past? Like the campaign encounter set? I don't think we're doing that well. I don't know why we would make it that much harder. But the problem with Project Wide Awake is that the Jubilee ally enters play and it kind of messes everything up, doesn't it? Like, I don't know what happens if you play Jubilee against Project Wide Awake, the one scenario that has the Jubilee character in it. What are you meant to do? I'll do a better job cleaning this off screen, I promise. And by that, I really do. Everything's super organized. I played that. It was so fun. Who'd you play as? Because I don't think we're cut out for that. This is good. Oh no, we need that. Where would we go without gang up? Long shot, you were cool. You actually were really important, long shot. I think long shot was actually really important the more that we think about it. It's fun when it is that way. Yeah, these will all be the same. Cool. Oh, wait, where's the rest of our nanny cards? Domino? Yeah, that tracks. Domino's great. Cool. Completely different girl in a jacket and sunglasses? I don't know that person. She has good style, though. I wonder what mall she shops at. All right. I think we're going to try Venom. Give me one moment. I just have to grab the box. It is out of frame. So I will disappear for a moment. I think if I hit reset, this works. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Let's go digging. I keep the campaigns in the boxes they come in. I think it's kind of cool. It does make it a bit harder to get side schemes, or sorry, encounter sets if you want to mix things up, because you have to know where to go, which is not perfect. So this is Venom. I think we need what, down to earth? Yeah, down to earth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Oh, that's City in Chaos. Hold on. You just pull this out. 1, 2, this down to earth is 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you try to do your best to make things look organized, you just make a mess out of it. Okay. We're good. Multiverse Earth 2 Jubilee. One of them cares about all resources. She only cares about one resource. What's going on? All right, this is it. That, plus our obligation, plus Venom. All right, quick setup. Don't need this. So I double sleeve my villain cards. So this is Venom 1, back. This is Venom 2 with Venom 3 in the same sleeve. When I started playing this game, I would play more standard than expert. And so I would have 1 and 2 in the same sleeve because that's what I'd use more often. I'd be like, okay, beat 1, flip over to 2. But now because I play more expert, it's usually 2 or 3. So you can tell how little I play a villain or when the last time I played a villain is based off of how it's sleeved. And I want to say Mojo was sleeved with standard in mind. So it had been a while since I played Mojo, where it was like Mojo 1, 2, and then 3 in a separate sleeve. A little bit of a historical for the archaeologists, they can tell. A villain named Venom, stage 2. All right. Venom's pretty cool. Oh, not you. Oh, no. My technology doesn't work because Venom auto-completes into Venom Goblin. Yeah, beans. Okay, that's not good. So I guess we're going to have to be... that's good to know. So my technology, if I search Venom, it apparently auto-completes the Venom Goblin, so I can't make that work. So we're going to have to search Venom's name a fair bit. Venom. All right, is Venom. Still has 18 health, though. The same toughness and steady. So our stuns and confuses are not going to be super good. I forgot he was steady, actually. I'll be honest. Totally forgot. Cool. So when revealed, search encounter deck for Tooth and Nail. Talk about that in a second. And that's that. Okay. We're playing stock standard. There's only one main scheme. It's called Leave Us Alone. We're going to play again stock standard. So Venom has no minions, but has a lot of ways to attack again and can get overkill and a lot of other stuff that are bad. Symbiotic Strength has a bunch of those small, what are they, steady little symbiotes and a bunch of ways to attack again with more boosts. And Down to Earth has some reasons to go down to alter ego. It's a really fun set, if you ask me. This deck seems really big, but that's everything we need. Put the Bell Tower environment into play. It's quiet. Bell Tower is really cool. It's another way to interact with the game. So it gets charm counters when you do damage. You can put the damage as counters here. And as soon as it has 3 flips, or technically 3 or more, but as soon as it hits 3, it flips. So if we do like one big 11 damage attack, it'll flip with 11 counters. On the other side, anytime Venom would attack us, we have to remove the bell counters to not take damage, which is forced. And the idea is that the Venom, the symbiote, is like kind of allergic or very sensitive to loud ringing noises. So it kind of keeps him busy. I think that's a really cool mechanic. Do you want to change the deck at all? Lose the B cops maybe? I think you're right, Joey. We probably should. Yeah, that's a good catch. We'll jump back to that in a second before we after we finish the setup. But the B cops are really not doing it for me. I'm not sure what to put in that slot. Like I just want more cheap attacks, and like Justice is not very good at that. Any suggestions I'd actually appreciate. So let's flip this over. So it comes in with 2 threat, gets 1 a turn. At 10 we lose. So not the biggest ceiling, but not bad. And it says when Venom activates against you, this text is not super relevant in single player, but there's a lot of ways where you attack Venom, you get extra boost cards, which means toughness is really good. Chump blocking is really good unless you run into an overkill. So any way that we can get toughness would actually be quite good. Toughness is the easiest way to deal with this because we're very squishy at 9 health, 2 defense. And again, if this is complete to lose the game, we start with Tooth and Nail. You do not want to get an extra encounter card, but has 8 threat on it. However, when Venom would actually take damage, you can remove an equal amount of your, not instead, but at the same time. The problem is you have to decide. When you hit Venom, you get extra encounter cards. If you hit Venom and don't give him the damage, it goes on Bell Tower. But if you want to put it on the Bell Tower, you don't take it off Tooth and Nail. So 8 threats a lot. And we don't have any like big 8 damage swinging web kicks to clear this. I love how swinging web kick perfectly clears this. Mission training. Isn't that a Justice card? What's mission training? Oh, mission training. I actually tried one of these before in the deck. So attached an X-Men ally. Attach X ally gets +1 thwart and +2 hit points. That's really good for Wolverine. It's not so good for our 2-costers. We don't have any way to get this consistently, but I did have this in the deck at one point for Wolverine because I thought keeping Wolverine healthy helps a lot because Wolverine can only attack once before you have to jump down. It was not as consistent, but it's not a bad include. I just feel like our kit really wants us to play something that has more permanent. Maybe the problem is we're playing smaller allies. We played like 2 allies last game. Maybe upside the head, but Jubilee doesn't attack a lot. Yeah, that's the other, like, there's so many things that were tried in this deck that like just don't make a lot of sense. Like upside the head kind of works. However, you don't attack a lot, so it doesn't actually make a lot of sense, let alone you usually have ways to get the statuses either, so you don't really need it. I just want to shout out like Float Like a Butterfly. The more I play Float Like a Butterfly, the less I like it. I think this card's a lot better in multiplayer where there's more people that can take a use of it. But for us, like Float Like a Butterfly usually just does 1 extra damage a turn, which is not worth a 2-cost card if you ask me. It's really good with certain heroes that have a lot of ways to do small attacks. Like I love Float Like a Butterfly with War Machine. But yeah, unless you're playing multiplayer or a lot of allies, I don't like Float that much anymore. My partner always gets so mad with how unthematic Wolverine is with the sidearm. I always have time for Overwatch. Oh yeah, so when I was playing with a lot of side schemes, I had Overwatch and I had the chance encounter in the deck because you could always set it up on your side scheme and get rid of it. Overwatch is actually pretty good because Overwatch multiplies the value of your side schemes. But the issue is we're not playing a lot of side schemes anymore because attaching Overwatch to your maul also doesn't work because it's a hero interrupt. Mission training isn't terrible if you can also throw in a game plan. Is game plan the basic one? Game time? Choose an ally with a training ready that ally and heal and damage. Yeah, that's a good combination. But we only have 2 slots, right? Maybe multitasking in one way or another. Brian, how's it going? One way or another is cool because it searches the deck. We don't have a lot of synergy when it comes to side schemes, but one way or another is really, really good. Specifically here, though, in Venom, a lot of his cards have a lot of threat on them. We also have multitasking, not multi-talented. Multitasking is really good. I think multitasking is just a good ass card in general, especially because we generate wilds. Like I think multitasking is the best option I think so far that I'm like really, really jazzed with. Blindfold is nice. Yeah, I think we might actually just want to replace Cypher with Blindfold. I think she's just a better card. And knowing the top of the deck actually really matters against Venom. I could see that happening. Hold on, let's make some changes. Let's pull out the binder. Yeah, Float with War Machine is really good. If you haven't tried it, it's absurd. It's really, 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 really good. Sidearm gives Wolverine what, ranged? At +1? +1 in ranged, yeah. It's not bad. Especially because on piercing, attaching other stuff is really important. Okay, so hold on, I guess. Cards that we want to get rid of or consider getting rid of. Endurance is going to be more important in this matchup. Turn the Tide in this matchup is probably not going to be amazing. I think Disguise is a trap. I don't believe in Disguise. I don't think we actually should play Disguise. It's cute. It's an item, but it doesn't functionally matter. B-Cop doesn't matter. Turn the Tides are a question mark. They're not bad. Cypher is like not great. I think our cheap 2-cost allies are fine. This B-Cop doesn't matter. This Turn the Tide. So I think these are the cards we're working with. I think Skilled Investigator is kind of good. Justice Spider-Woman, she's cheaper with Confuse. I don't like her numbers though. Like she attacks for 2 on 2 consequential. I don't know how much she would have to pay for her. I think for her to be exciting, she costs 1. Which maybe that's not awful. But what's really funny is all the cards we're considering cutting. How many Justice cards are left in the deck? Literally 1. All the cards we don't like in this deck are all of the cards. Is there another aspect we should be playing? Literally every card besides 1 we're considering on the chopping block. Isn't that so funny? To post this deck, what do I need to put in the chat? My guess is, hold on one second. I guess you don't see the URL here, but there's a URL. In the URL, if your decks are shareable, the URL will look something like this, where it has a number here. You just need that number, because then you could just search Marvel deck /view/ that number and you should get there. What about if we play different aspects? Like, what aspect would we be excited to play? Because yeah, our deck is functionally a basic deck, which like, yeah, shout out. I know Boom Guide did this a long time ago. 112072. Okay, thank you. Let's see if we can make that work. 11200272. 1 moment, please. One 20272. All right, so the next problem you're going to run into is that you need to go to your account in your settings and you have to enable deck sharing. You're not allowed to share a deck list with somebody unless, even if they like can force brute force the link. You have to go to your account and there's a button that allows public deck sharing without publishing lists. It should just be in your account settings. It's been a while since I hit this. Apparently I'm logged out at this point, but yeah, you just have to fix that first and then we can see your deck. All right. Is there an aspect we're playing? What does aggression do for us? We can play fluid motion. So far, these justice cards are like the worst cards in our deck, so we can literally do whatever we want. If we play protection, it's not incredibly valuable. Maybe we could play some protection allies that block for us. Maybe like rock slide, stuff like that. We can maybe play some med teams to keep us healthy, keep rock slide healthy. Aggressive energy to boost grand finale. Oh my God, that's really good, isn't it? We could also play the side scheme that gets us. Yeah, that seems really good, isn't it? When you spend attack event, that event deals 1 additional damage. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's try and get the aggression cards in here. Give me 1 second. I don't know if any other aggression decks built at the same time, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots at a minimum. We also can get Sunfire. I think Sunfire, I don't know if Venom has any attachments that actually do get Sunfired. Cheap leadership or sidekick Wolverine. That's another good option too. 1 sec, binder's coming. Okay, we'll start with red. I think we'll start with red for a moment. I think leadership is good. Obviously, leadership is good, but we'll look at red and see what we can do here. Okay. So, how many slots do we have? We lost 1 ally, which like we could play more allies easily because they are more consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. We could. I don't want to play 42 cards because finding our upgrades are really, really important. So nothing here is super relevant. Hulk is a cheap blocker. That's fine. Usually the first page is not that great. Okay, we don't want to get allies really consistently. That's probably not worth anything. Magic is like a cool card in aggression I don't play a lot of. She cares for a single resource and we can generate single resources with some consistency. Psylocke is good, but we don't actually need Confuse that much because we have access to Confuse. Sunfire is really good at getting rid of attachments, but I think all the attachments here don't have a hero response or hero action. They're all, oh no, some of them do, but the ones that are really scary now we're angry don't. It's only like violent tendencies that doesn't. Yeah, now we're angry, so it's not that good. Okay. Gold Balls is just a good card. Dust would be good to deal with the symbiotes. Never use Dust. She takes 2 consequential to do her attack to everything, but she doesn't even, oh, she gets +1. She doesn't even deal with them. She only does 1 damage. Does she even do anything? She only attacks for 1. Not sure. Oh, I guess this spoils the upcoming video for the week, but we were playing Aggression Maria Hill without any of the big airships, just like small people, and it was like a lot of fun. But in theory here, there's like Winter Soldier, which actually would make a lot of sense. Winter Soldier deals with the little symbiotes really well. So I think Winter Soldier is a consideration as a cheap enough ally that can knock out the symbiotes and has 2 attack, which is good. I could see us doing Winter Soldier. Okay. Relentless Assault. This is a kicker. There's not that many minions. This is core set. So far, not super exciting. I guess we can see all the cards here. Dropkick is more stun. Mean Swing for plus attack, but exhausts us or weapons. We don't have any weapons. Surprise Attack for form flipping. We do form flip a fair bit, so Surprise Attack is not awful. And we should have a physical. This is just damage. 2-gun is great. 2-gun's not bad. I think for 2-gun to be really good, you need to build into 2-gun. So like 2-gun Bambino, but then you also have to like I think for 2-gun to be really good, you need to upgrade him with upgrades. As much as Bambino Shield is a Maria Hill thing. Thor would work. Which Thor? There's like a bunch of them, right? This Thor has toughness, which is good. When Thor attacks a minion engaged with a player, spend energy, resolve this attack against each minion engaged with that player in the order of your choice. Yeah, let's try Thor. I haven't played Thor in a long time. I think I like toughness a fair bit too, and that's just like good ass text. That's really good text. We're gonna have to resleeve him. You can tell I haven't played in a while. Okay. Surprise attacks on the maybe list. Look at aggression. Cards. This does damage. Oh, this one does do damage, doesn't it? I don't know if we don't have huge synergy points for Clobber, unless we want to play Fluid Motion. Yeah, 1x1 is really good. We can go into increasing the damage on 1x1. I don't know if there's actually that many minions that we should be building into minions that much. Like the only minions in this deck are the symbiotes, right? Oh, and criminals. Like this is not a minion heavy deck, so I don't think we want to do 1x1. There's like literally 4 minions in there. Joshua, how's it going? So I'm not 100% sure we want to be doing 1x1. It's really cute though. It's a good card. Okay, some of these cards are out of the binder. I'm not a big bootcamp fan. It falls into the float like a butterfly camp. I don't get it. It's a multiplayer thing if you ask me. Shuffling cards back doesn't make sense. Air cover, we could do air cover and healing, but air cover is only really good with a lot of minions, again, because you have to attach them to something and defeat them. Last time I played Venom, I swapped out Down to Earth to Hero Venom's Nemesis set. That was fun. Oh, for all the symbiotes? Oh, Hero Venom? Yeah, that's all the symbiotes, right? Increasing our stats doesn't really matter. Knocking out minions doesn't really matter. Yarnborn is kind of okay. Martial Prowess is like fine. We do play attack events and it generates a physical. Like it's another resource generator. It's not super important. I think we're struggling to find cards that make sense. Like maybe it is a Justice deck. Overkill damage doesn't matter. Lion weight doesn't really matter. Giving our basics attacks doesn't matter. Fluid motion is kind of sick. Like fluid motion is +1 attack every turn as long as we're not exhausting. We could try it. Doesn't seem super important. Gotta ask, when you get a new hero pack, do you have to rebinder a ton? This is coming from someone who uses the binder. Never seen all the cards there installed. Instead, 1 copy either is nice. No, I don't really have to rebinder because everything is by type and just by like release date. So when I add upgrades, they just go on the end here. I do want to say some of the binders are getting close, but I haven't had to rebinder once. Eventually it will become unsustainable, but like the events, we have still a fair bit of room before we hit the supports. So no, I haven't had to rebinder once yet, but I see where you're coming from. This doesn't have actual pages that you can undo to move things around. Is Jubilee a good face the past hero or no? No, because you don't have what's it called? Piercing. Nanny's text doesn't matter when you face the past, which is kind of cool. So maybe actually she is. Yeah, maybe she is, because her text doesn't matter when you face the past her, because she's just a 1 attack toughness. Yeah, I think we could try it. I think setting up and drawing very quickly to find our items actually makes sense. I think that's a good shout out. We could attack training Wolverine, +1 attack and +2 hit points. Seems fine. Has to be an X-Men. Yeah, I'm not really hot on most of these cards. We could do Test of the Defense, but it's just more burst damage. This is every time you play an event. Again, there needs to be more cards like this. They're all in aggression. I mean, these seem to be like pretty mid cards. Healing, sidearm, Bambino we can't play. +3 hit points, +1 attack doesn't seem super relevant. This will be relevant. I think this is where things get interesting. So we can cheaply play lock and load. Again, the issue with side schemes is if you don't clear your mall side scheme, can you play a second side scheme and just trash the side scheme? Wait, she searches the set aside area? No shot. After nanny attacks, you control 1 or more, search the encounter deck or discard pile and set aside area. Okay, never mind. No, that seems kind of bad. Honorary X-Men on 2-gun kid and attack training. It's so many pieces and there's not enough minions. I made my deck public. That's the same code. Give me 1 second, Matthew. After we fix this, I think we'll pull it up, but perfect. Okay, things that we could do to make the deck just pop off more. But again, I don't know if adding more damage to the deck is what we want to do. Keep up with the pressure is good. Each player may search for an attack event and add it to their hand, and it does 1 additional damage. So keep up the pressure really naturally plays Grand Finale for 700 damage. Keep them busy removes threat. I think this has assault on it, which doesn't really matter for us. Removes 5 threat from the main scheme. I don't like it. We don't have a weapon. We can definitely play aggressive energy. This is important. Is this the only art for this? It only came out in X-Men? But we can play 2 of this. This means our attack events do more damage. Are there any thwart events in red? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, technically this is a deck. I'm not convinced we made it that much better. We did make it different, which is good. Robert, how's it going? What build are you playing? We just played a Justice deck and we like barely got through Mojo. But we found out that the Justice cards were not the best part of the deck, so we're trying something else. Unfortunately, something else seems to be adding some like kind of middle of the road, well, not middle of the road, but like not super impactful aggression cards. Chase them down. The issue with chase them down is unless you're playing multiplayer or unless the deck has a lot of minions, this is unlikely to do anything. I also, as you maybe notice, and it doesn't seem incredibly intentional, is that as an event-based deck, you want to make sure that you draw hands that can do something regardless of what you have, like to some extent. So drawing like no events and chase them down, like you literally do nothing. So any card that's like a bit situational is a bit more expensive in a deck that doesn't have like upgrades. So on any turn, you're allowed to do the minimum viable something. We don't have any minimal something every turn. So cards like chase them down that are like very, very situational feel so much more expensive to me. Maybe this is like, I got, you know, once burnt, twice scared or whatever. You're playing Justice with Utopia and allies? Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's a natural way to like fix things. It's like, we don't have consistent board presence. So allies fix that. I did try Utopia and I ended up cutting it in my Justice deck because I don't think we had enough. Like there's not a big reason to ready us, unfortunately. Maybe we just want to do a lot of research generation. Smash the Problem? Which one's this one? It's the one where you use your attack? Oh yeah, it says Thwart on it, but it's not, yeah, it's not very good, is it? I don't, one day this will be great. Like maybe this is going to be a card that you're excited to play in Hercules in a couple weeks. I missed out on Jubilee. That's the only X-Men pack I skipped. Am I missing out a lot? I think Jubilee is, I wouldn't say an acquired taste. There's a lot of people that their Jubilee is like one of their favorite heroes and a lot of people that Jubilee is not their favorite hero at all. If you ask me, I think Jubilee is really neat, but I think that question would be answered more by what cards came in the Jubilee hero pack, which at this point in the time, I don't know if I could tell you because I'm very bad at that question classically. Expansion with education. Yeah, we're definitely doing that. That's really, really good. We're doing the same thing there. Okay. While we re-sleeve this in the background, we'll just open this up. Hold on 1 second. Wolverine's Waylay. Cool. All right, this is a Wolverine Justice deck. It's 40 cards. It's always a good start. Oh, this has 1 sleeve in it. That's annoying. Hold on. Okay, so what are we looking at? It's a Justice deck. I'm not a big Wolverine understander. I think Singleton Beat Cop is like always a bit weird because it's a card you want to get as soon as possible. It is 1 threat a turn, which like in solo technically keeps you afloat. But for 3 cost, like I think Beat Cop is interesting. I think there's a lot of good decks that gets helped by Beat Cop, and maybe Wolverine's in that camp. I'm not 100% sure. I think for Beat Cop, you want to play Power of Justice as you are. That's good. So that's really nice. This seems all reasonable. You do have a bunch of cards that you would consider maybe playing X-Gene, I think. Like, I know you can make these free, but on the turns that you don't want to make them free, they all cost something. So I would recommend if you have X-Gene to consider X-Gene. Also, most of these are superpowers as much as it's been a while. Or not all of them, but some of them are superpowers. So you could always consider, oh, not enough of them. Maybe it's not enough. So maybe that's not the case. But X-Gene just seems really good. Under Surveillance is good. You have to find out on your own whether you're hitting this text or not. Smash the Problem didn't exhaust your hero. I love that card. Almost all the cards that like just use your stats in a different way exhaust you, and they just are so much worse. Yeah, otherwise this would be like very, very good. Very, very cool. It wouldn't even be that busted, I don't think. Cool. Waylay. So the idea is that after your hero thwarts, deal 4 damage to the enemy. So hey, Matthew, one of the things, is this Matthew? Yeah, this is Matthew, excuse me. One of the things I would recommend is that if you're going to have cards that really depend on you removing the thwart, the last thing after your hero thwarts, you probably want to have cards that can like get side schemes. Obviously you can do the main scheme, but it just gives you the good space, a good place to be to like consider cards if you have them. Again, I don't know your card pool, to play things like one way or another. Because one way or another is really, really good. You choose the side scheme, you draw 3 cards. That makes the setup for things like Waylay more consistent. On that note too, then you can go ahead and play like the Skilled Investigator package and just add more consistency and more card draw. But if you're gonna have cards that like really interact with it, and are you playing multitasking? You are, yeah. So like another good reason if you're playing multitasking to consider that, because there are some board states where multitasking is just a 1 for 2. Yeah, if you're going to be building to like multitasking and Waylay and that sort of stuff, I would recommend Skilled Investigator. I'd recommend one way or another, because then you have so much agency over those cards firing. One Clear the Area. Clear the Area is also really, really good and fits into that package really nicely. I don't know if you have to do the Sense of Justice to get a resource generator. Like, I don't know what Wolverine's resource curve is. I think one resource generator, as much as Wolverine generates resources as a cost for his own text, might be a bit expensive, but you can look into that. Concussive Blows an attack event. That's nice. That's really nice. If you make this free though with Wolverine, you don't get the kicker, right? Or Wolverine's claws more accurately. You don't get the kicker because this just reduces the cost. So watch out. There's a bit of a nombo there. At 3 cost, you could also consider playing, and you might get more stun for it. You could play the stun gun, the sonic rifle more accurately. That's kind of cool too. So sonic rifle might fit in the slot, but this is more damage. I think your deck doesn't struggle to get enough damage. So you could look at sonic rifle. It gives you 2 confuses for 3 cost, which is nice. I never play for Justice. I think 2 for 4 is just not good enough, but there's a chance that when you're playing Wolverine, this is the best you have. And 2 for 4 will clear a lot of side schemes, but I'm not a big for Justice fan. I think there's like this awkward thing where if you play a lot of 1-ofs, it's just like your deck, it's maybe more fun because you have a wilder time, but you're less like, it's harder to tell what you're going to be able to do on your next turn. So I think there is a small cost of playing a lot of 1-ofs unless you have tutors in your deck. It's not a big deal. It's not like you build around for Justice very much, but just keep that in mind to some extent. Stealth Strike is more damage and it can move 2 threat. This is 3 for 4 and removes 2 threat. So this is like 3 for 6. That's okay. I think this card just doesn't do a lot, but you need to add threat. This card is like, this card to me, I think your deck is good at dealing damage, but it's not good at dealing threat. So my guess is you'd want to spend your card on something that does more threat and not something that does a bit of damage but less threat. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe every turn you only have 2 threats, so this is good enough. But I think your damage situation is already really solved with Wolverine's cards that I would not feel super encouraged or super like necessary to import a mid damage card from Justice. It's built towards minion killing, so maybe add Infiltration. Is that the preparation? Oh, this is the one that readies you, right? Oh, this is this one. This card is amazing. I just don't think Infiltration is really worth it. Like, so Infiltration is good if you have a reason to have a minion. Your deck has no reason to get a minion, right? Like Infiltration is just really good because it adds massive burst thwarting to Wolverine. That could be good. But if that's the case, then I think you need more reasons to want to kill minions. Because if you play Infiltration and get a minion and then you defeat a minion, I mean, that's good, but it just made Infiltration a more expensive thwarting card. So the only way to make Infiltration, I think, really, really work is by also having benefit from defeating a minion, which I don't think Wolverine actually does. Stealth Strike is great with Winter Soldier. Is it? I haven't played that in a bit. The damage goes up by 1, which is good. Infiltration and Stealth Strike are a nice combo. Wait, where's my mouse at? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's cool if you get a minion that then you can just do 4 damage to the minion, but then you spent like 4 resources to do what, 5 threat and a confuse, like, and damage to the counter deck. I think it feels good, but it's less consistent. And I don't think actually mathematically it's that good. I might be wrong about that. Allies are good. I mean, it is what you'd expect. I'm not a huge Colossus fan, but Colossus makes sense. I think Colossus is not bad at all. Bishop's neat. After an enemy attacks you, if you're going to take attacks, why not? If you're going to be confused more, this is less good. But Bishop's a cool card, especially because it thwarts a fair bit and leaves. Like, Bishop should have probably been in our deck overall. Actually, no, Bishop doesn't make sense in Jubilee because you're stunned. They almost never attack. You have Jubilee. What does she do? Oh, you get 1 good turn? Yeah, okay. Wolfsbane. I think this deck will function. I think there's a lot of scenarios you can beat with this and not struggle too much. I just think right now you're like trying to do a bit of everything, and that you could easily focus this in one direction or another. Infiltration and Stealth Strike are a nice combo. It'd be 7 threat at max. Yes, because this removes... Oh, this doesn't confuse. Sorry, I thought this confused as a kicker. This is up to 7 threat
for 4 and 2 cards. Like, it's okay. But like, again, there's gonna be a lot of hands where you don't draw those, so it's okay. But spending, again, what's functionally gonna be, you know, 6 cards to do 7 threat doesn't seem great. Yeah. Thank you for feedback. Of course, yeah. I think there's some really cool things here. And like at the end of the day, like Justice Wolverine, they might not be the easiest like peanut butter and jelly, but I think there's something there for sure. So I think that's my high level stuff. It's like, if you want to do the multi-threat thing and clearing threat constantly to get kickers, which is really cool, and Wolverine can do that, and then you have your damage in Wolverine's kit, just build around that more and make that a bit more synergistic, which I think you're on the way there for sure. You can take 3 damage and not have to spend the resources. Oh, for sure. But you can take 3 damage to play a card that does something else, right? Like, I don't think you're going to struggle to use Wolverine's text, which means if you're not using Wolverine's text on another card, you did technically pay something for it. It's a bit of a roundabout way, but you know what I mean. All right, I need to get more sleeves. Hold on. Because I think some of other Wolverine's cards actually have kickers when you use Wolverine's text on them. I'm not struggling opening plastic. All right. Just need a couple more. I think we made the deck worse, I'll be honest. I like Justice with Wolverine because he brings so much damage. You could use Mutant Education, Logan's Cabin to cycle his events. I feel like I never jumped down to Alter Ego because Logan's Cabin is so sleepy. But I could see it. Yeah, maybe that's actually like perfect because damage is sorted, and so Justice sorts the stuff that you're not sorting. Justice gives you safe flip, it flips down. But when you flip down, don't you lose like your best upgrade? The one that draws a card whenever you take damage? I remember like having a reason not to want to jump down with Wolverine. And Logan's Cabin is like, what, just draw a card? I remember not being excited with this card. Shuffle 1 Wolverine card from your discard pile into your deck. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I wish this drew a card. Wolverine does recover for like 6, but if you don't jump down, he recovers 2 automatically. Cool. Let's give this a shot. Honestly, this might be harder than Mojo. Who knows? I think we're weaker to being hit really hard. You don't use it in Justice? Oh, it's so good. Free card draw is good. The art, not my favorite, but it's really quite nice. All right, we're against Venom. Let's give this a shot. We're now in aggression deck. The tides have changed. Venom, we smell blood. Did you put a Wolverine ally aggression in this deck? No, we can't, because our ally, it's Wolverine, right? Like, we have this Wolverine, so we can't play another Wolverine. You can't have 2 Wolverines, because then they fight each other for dominance. And that fight takes forever, because they both heal. Cool, let's go. Draw 6. Don't draw our side thing. Mutant Education turn 1. I mean, I've played it. You don't love to. Flash of Light's great. We do want the stun more than we want the confuse. This is Flash of Light with science, as I called it. So this is the maybe camp. We drew Endurance, which honestly we'll probably keep it because taking a lot of damage is a concern. The villain does have steady, so we're not going to get a stun or confuse off. I'll put that in the maybe camp. Blinding Flash is probably not it, but spending 3 when we should be setting up to give half a stun and half a confuse, it's not the worst in terms of like flexibility, but we could do better. Plasmoid, we'll definitely keep it. It's a double. And then another Plasmoid, which I think we'll also keep it. So at a minimum, we have double Plasmoid Flash. So that will set up something else. Endurance doesn't set up particularly well with the double Plasmoid. The issue with Mutant Education is an alter ego. So if we use Plasmoid on like a setup card, like an upgrade, then we can get the Plasmoid back into the deck, which is kind of cute. Getting your resources in your setup cycle multiple times is nice. I don't know if we need exactly 9 health, but Venom's already attacking for 2 in a card. The biggest thing we can do is get rid of Tooth and Nail, which is like really good for Flash of Light to start there for 3. We can get it to 4, so we're halfway there. We're still gonna draw 2 encounter cards. Let's try and not keep Endurance and say that we want to get on the second cycle. I don't think Deadpool would mind watching 2 Wolverines fight for dominance. I mean, that's entertaining. The finale, which we did build around into this deck significantly. We could, in theory, do 11 damage. Actually, F it. We're going to do 11 damage. That will clear Tooth and Nail. That's kind of sick. And then 2 more cards, multi-talented and aggressive energy. Oh my god, we can do the thing on turn 1. That's sick. Can't you play Endurance with your hero ability? Oh, we can. I was just trying to drive deeper into our deck. Right? Like, Endurance is really easy to play. I just think it's more important we find one of our upgrades that matters or a stun or something like that. It's nice, and like it's a 1-cost card, so you can probably weave it in somewhere. But I think we're going to try and use our Jubilation ability either to take the toughness off or let alone do more damage. This is a absurd damage hand. We have to decide between doing the damage and taking off Tooth and Nail, but we're going to clear Tooth and Nail in turn 1. We'll do our alter ego text to go to the mall. Even using our ability to go to the mall is like, I don't want to say reasonable, because jumping down to alter ego is going to be a bit harder. And every time I pull this thing out, I totally get burned by it. I don't like this card. Yeah, we're just going for a better hand. Like setting up with our upgrades is really important. X-Jet, X-Gene, like all of them are more important than Endurance on turn 1. Haven't seen Venom in a long time. I think I play against Venom a fair bit. And chat seems to like Venom too, which is nice. Do you think they would ever do a DC Champions version of this game? Even that would be possible, just curious. I don't think Fantasy Flight Games would be allowed, because I don't think the licensor would allow them to do both at the same time. I think it's just like a weird conflict of interest. I don't know if there's any licensor that produces Marvel and DC stuff, particularly in the same line. It is what it is. I think I know the Marvel champions more than I know DC stuff, but there's definitely other DC games out there. Gotta go play some champs myself. Good luck with Venom. Thank you, Andy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully you have a good time, huh? All right, so we need to plan this out. Did Legendary do it? That's a good question. I know very little about Legendary. But Legendary works with bespoke licenses, I guess. So they have a lot of different things. Like they have Alien. I know that. I've played the Alien one. Maybe they do have both. I'm not 100% sure. But they were not released at the same time, I think. Legendary does Marvel and Legendary DC releases this year. Okay, maybe I don't know about that. All right. I think the Marvel license I'm imagining are harder to secure than DC modernly. Legendary is going to release a DC core set this year. Interesting. Are they compatible? There's no way they're compatible. Okay, so we want to do a grand finale, which would be 1, 2, 3. It does 700 damage. That leaves us with this hand. We want to do Flash of Light. That leaves us with a stranded multi-talented and a stranded activation ourselves. I'm not going to lean into shopping spree, because every time I've done that, I've been totally burned. So this is where like keeping the endurance actually would have been really good, because we could have played it for our activation. Instead, I think we're going to activate to take the toughness off, just so that we get 3 more damage here. But this turn is going to be an absurd amount of damage. So we could exhaust to do this. I think we're just going to flip up, and we're going to attack 1 to the toughness. Now, we didn't do any damage, so we don't actually have to do any of this text. But Venom's text, I don't know if we looked at the villain's text. Oh, that doesn't work because of the Venom Goblin thing I have to fix. But this says, after you attack and damage Venom with a card you control, place 1 face down boost card. So Venom's going to double attack us with 2 boosts. That sucks. We have to decide between taking it off Tooth and Nail and putting on the Bell Tower. I think we're just going to take it off Tooth and Nail for hopefully obvious reasons. So we're going to do Plasmoid and Aggressive Energy for Grand Finale. We played 3 different kinds, and Aggressive Energy now says this will do 1 more damage. So all numbers on this are increased by 1 functionally, which means Grand Finale will do 3 damage and then 9 more damage. So it's a 3 for 12. So we'll do 3 damage to Venom. Yo, Joel, how's it going? We'll get the boost card. It's waiting for us. 3 damage to Venom takes 3 off of this. It's not instead. So Tooth and Nail is at the same time. So the Tooth and Nail says when Venom takes any amount of damage, remove an equal amount of damage from here. Okay, so that's 3 damage to Venom. And then we have 3 more instances of 3 damage. So we want to do 2 more instances to Venom. It's technically the same attack. So Venom will take 6 more, which clears this. And then the last 3 damage, we can either just send it to Venom and be like, we're winning, because we did a 3 for 12 opening, or we could put it on the Bell Tower, which will flip the Bell Tower, which might be a nice way. In fact, if we did that, we should have done that in the other order, because we could have increased the damage. Hold on. Wait a second. Let him cook. So there was a better way of doing this. So Grand Finale fires. Let's redo this entirely, okay? Hold on. So we're going to put Venom back at 18. Because the ordering here actually matters. Because flipping this happens immediately. It doesn't happen after the card resolution. So Bell Tower says, when any amount of damage would be dealt to Venom as an interrupt, you may place it here instead. And then if there are at least 3 counters, flip this card. So that seems to be interrupt timing. So Grand Finale will do 3 damage to Venom. We'll put it on the Bell Tower. So Venom takes no damage, but then this is flipped. And then when this is flipped, sorry, this now has 3 chime counters on it. And now every damage that Venom takes is increased by 1. So now this doesn't do 9 more damage. This does 12 more damage, as long as we do that first. Sick. So now we'll do 2 damage, increased by 1, which is 4 damage. So Venom takes 4. We get the boost card. This goes down by half. Then we'll do another 4 damage. This is cleared. And then we'll do another 4 damage. So Venom is now down to 6. A fair bit better. Then we'll do Flash of Light. This is technically the mental one. We'll remove 3 threats, so we'll clear as much as this. We'll give him half a confuse because he's steady. And then we'll pass. That's turn 1. The bell tower will protect us a bit from the double activation. We probably won't exhaust depending on our hand. Multi-talented is maybe worth keeping. It's a bit expensive when we have no research generators. We ideally want to draw another confuse here so we can jump down to safety. But we are going to be hurt, so at least we'll get the stun and the confuse off of this and a bit of value. I think we have 2 more multi-talenteds in the deck. I don't think we keep this one because we have none of our setup upgrades or research generators, as much as this card is obviously very good. It'll be better with our upgrades, so we'll pass and draw 5. 1. Firecracker. Okay, 4 damage and a stun. Power in all of us. Multi-talented would have been cheaper. There's our coat. Perfect. More like the Jubilee's goat. Aggressive energy and then beak. So we can play this hand. Most of it. All right. Leave us alone. Comes in with 1 threat. And now Venom's attacking us for 2 and 2 cards, and we have to prevent the first 3 damage. So I think we just take it to the face. So we're ready because we're going to need resources for this hand. People use legendary Buffy and legendary alien predators, so the community will make it work. How cool is legendary? I played it and it seemed like a fine deck builder, but it didn't seem like particularly interesting. It seemed like a lot of work to set up, but I have a friend who's a huge alien fan. And so like had a lot of alien stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take 2. And we remove the counters and this flips back. 1 encounter card. We can easily get attacked again, for whom the bell tolls. So I'm glad that we emptied this. Because it says when revealed, remove 2 chime counters from the bell tower. If the bell tower is quiet, take a damage. If it's on ringing side, remove a threat from the main scheme. So we just take 1 damage. So we're at 6. Okay, back to us. We have no confuse in our hand. We have half a stun. Threat is fine. We could jump down. Like, he doesn't scheme for that much as we haven't seen in advance. And not getting attacked is like kind of hype. If we play Beak, that's fine. The problem is if we attack Venom, we get another boost card. And I think that boost card shows up no matter what happens. Yeah. Because it says after you attack damage Venom with a card you control, place 1 face down boost card on your identity, and leave us alone just says that we get that boost card right away. I just wanted to double check that leave us alone doesn't care if the boost card's for an attack or for a thwart. So attacking Venom and jump down means that he'll scheme for up to worst case 8, which is obviously a problem. So an extra boost counter is really bad when he does a scheme. Yeah, it's when he activates against you. So Beak enters, removes 1 threat, removes 1 threat. We could probably just like play our coat. I think this is a window to jump down just to see more cards. Firecracker is 4 damage, which we actually could put on the bell tower. So that's honestly not terrible, but that comes at the cost of the coat. Maybe we just don't play Beak because Beak's not that good, honestly. So in theory, we could like use, it's nice to use the power in all of us though. But if we do aggressive conditioning into Beak into Firecracker, that does 5 counters and gets a stun without triggering anything. Then we can jump down, or then we can do Power of All of Us Jubilee Coat. I think I like that better. I think getting 5 counters on the bell tower is just like really nice safety when we're pretty squishy, as much as we can't recover this turn. So do aggressive energy. Again, we've been actually pretty good with these aggressive energies so far. It's been like one of the more meaningful changes going to aggression. So we're going to spend wild and energy to play Firecracker. So this does 5 damage. We're not going to do the damage to Venom, so we don't have to worry about the boost card. But we'll put 5 bell counters and flip this over. So we just functionally heal to 5. And then we play 2 different kinds, so we'll give half a stun to our steady Venom. Does Venom 3 have Stalwart? No, still steady. Okay, cool. Then we'll generate a wild, and we'll throw out the power in all of us to give us Jubilee's Coat. Again, these are so important. We go to +1 thwart. Again, I don't know how to make this card relevant. I think it's multiplayer only. And then this will be ready for us. We'll just hop down. I don't think we could get attacked. It might just keep the bell tower up, but I think drawing 6 cards here is totally fine. I love it. I have most of the Marvel stuff. There's no campaign though, so I rely on randomizer to keep the game fresh. I'll make my own scenario every once in a while. Definitely wish there was a campaign mode though. Do people homebrew campaign modes? Flash of Light, nice, especially with the coat. Firecracker, nice. We'll get a full stun. Uh-oh. Thor's here. Triage for some cheapo healing. And then we have Keep Up the Pressure, which Keep Up the Pressure is actually a really nice setup because when we clear it, we can go get our, what's it called? grand finale, and it'll do an absurd amount of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. This goes to 2. Venom is only half confused, so we'll scheme for 1 in a card. 1, 2, 3, 4. Master plan. Not gonna hit the shopping spree. It goes to 6. If we draw an advance here, we can easily lose. Okay, now we really have to attack him, which means we really need an ally. So we need to attack twice into this because this card's really, really mean. Now we're angry. So Venom's attacks gains overkill. It comes in with 2 rage counters, and every time you attack him, as long as you do damage, you can remove a rage counter. We need to get rid of that because overkill is obviously not good. So that is our priority this turn for sure. If we do double firecracker, he's double stunned. We have to watch out because if he gets too many boost cards and is stunned, then he'll activate against us, pull an advance during the encounter step, and then the boost is really bad there. But that's the thing that we want to consider doing for sure. So how do we do this? We have 1 firecracker I think we want to play. He'll take 5 damage. We'll get an encounter card. We'll get now we're angry. If we attack him again, we don't get another encounter card. I think it's only the first time a turn. Oh no, it's after you. Okay, so that would be 2 boost counters, but he'll be stunned. We'll get rid of this. This we can play, I guess, 1, 2. We have no research generators. I don't think we play Thor here. So we could do 1, 2 for firecracker. Oh, that's 2 different kinds. Oh no, have you seen our hand? Our hand is only energies. So I guess we play the other firecracker. That's really funny. So that's 1, 2. Then this hand is only energy. So if we want to do this flash of light, we're going to need to use Jubilee. Ugly. I think we need to do flash of light so we use the coat. But yeah, this hand is like all energies besides 1, which I don't think we considered at all when we're adding all of these aggression cards, which resource type we're adding. But in theory, that's a well-oiled Jubilee deck. We'll use different resource types. We only have energies in our hand largely. So that's not good. As much as we have an X-Sheen and an X-Jet we haven't found. Okay. So what are we doing? This doesn't matter. I think we need to rush down Venom. So firecracker is 5 damage. So we need to do energy. Sorry, we have to beat the other firecracker. So we need to do blue plus yellow. Leaves us with this hand. We do flash of light that removes 5 threat. We're playing no allies. But for this, actually, we have to exhaust. So that means we can play keep up the pressure. But let's play your side schemes. How do they work? Can I play a second player side scheme trashing this player side scheme? Are you allowed to do that? Is it like allies, or are you just locked in? I think we have to check the tomes. Why are the tomes rotated? How did I rotate the tomes? I hit a button that rotates the tomes, and I have no idea what the shortcut is to rotate a PDF file. How do you rotate a PDF file? Refresh doesn't fix it. Okay. If you're on mobile, this is easier to fix. This is goofy. Yeah, it really hurts my neck. I need to get this printed so we have it in paper. I think it'll be much easier to use in general. Player side scheme. Okay, hold on. You can replace him. Thank you. Okay, good. I didn't want to have to read that. Oh, wrong window. Okay, so we can replace it. So I think we get to keep up the pressure just to get out of our deck because I don't care about the shopping spree like at all. Okay, we can't recover legally. Control Shift Plus. Thank you. Wait, does that work? No, that zoomed in for me. Beans. All right, we'll flip up. Again, we have 5 more health because of this thing. We're going to generate a wild and a blue to play Firecracker. So this Firecracker does 5 damage because every damage is increased by 1. So Venom will straight take 5. Almost going to advance. Wow. So we get a boost card. We remove 1 from Now We're Angry, which we can't clear. And because we spend 2 different types, he's actually proper stunned. So that's scary because when he advances, it gets a lot worse. And I think we draw some encounter cards. Then we'll pitch. Sorry, we were not meant to exhaust ourselves. We were meant to pay blue, yellow because we were meant to be ready for this part. Because we need exhaust to do wild plus yellow for flash of light. Yeah, that's right. So now we spend 2 different kinds. We'll remove 3 threat from this, which drops it to 3. We'll remove 2 more, so it drops it to 1. And then we do get the confused because we spent 2 different kinds. And we'll just keep up the pressure, which I think is just better. So it comes in with 2 threat. And when defeated, we can go get an attack event. So ideally, we set up and clear this when we get an aggressive energy. And then we can grab the grand finale, and then we can do, I think it's going to be, especially if we have our glasses, it'll be, what is it? 4 damage into 4 damage into 4 damage into 4 damage plus 5 damage. Does 25? It'll one-shot Venom, I think. That seems good. Let's go. Drop. Multi-talented. It's nice. We can use the healing. The X-Jet, honestly, might be a bit late, but the power in all of us helps with all of these. X-Gene, so all of our research generators at once is a bit clumsy. And then finally we have Fluid Motion, which is maybe a bit ambitious. It's a bit of a slow card, but it gives us +1 attack on a turn that we play an event. All right, this goes to 2. Venom is actually properly stunned, as much as his attacks are big. And 1 encounter card is grounded. Okay, so we jump down to Alter Ego. That might not be the worst thing. So we're forced back to Alter Ego. If we want to leave, it costs us 2 of the same resources. And as soon as we play one of our events, we get rid of it. Unfortunately, our hand doesn't have our events. So this is weird. Here, at least, the good thing is we can play X-Gene. So if we do like Fluid Motion for X-Gene, but when we flip up, we have to spend 2, which means we can't spend this. So we actually are grounded. Maybe we just stay grounded because it confuses there and we just set up here. Because this hand can set up. The X-Jet can't do anything because X-Jet only generates for an X-Men. And when we're grounded, we're just a mutant. That's it. But kind of funny how we got grounded at the right time. It means we can't do multi-talented, which is kind of valuable, but not super valuable. So let's do 1, 2, 3 for X-Jet, and then we just play X-Gene and pass. We just like do full greedy setup turn, and we'll recover for 3. Yeah, that seems okay. Well, we don't mind some time in our room. So spend 1, 2, 3 for the X-Jet. This generates a double, and then we'll do Fluid Motion for X-Gene. So our resource generators are all here. All right, we'll put them in the middle. We're still grounded. We're going to draw 6 cards. Neat. Here we go. I love the grounded art. It's really good. I love the theme of this, like, as a teenager. Sometimes other stuff shows up. Who's in the window? Oh, you see the X-Jet spinning off? There's a Deadpool sticker. There's like a stuffed toy on her bed, which clearly is something that is relevant. I can't tell what it is. But this art was made specifically. Oh, this is the Guido Bono art. The art was made for this, so I don't know. That has to be a reference. Yeah, it's the X-Jet flying away. That's very funny. All right. 6 cards. Flash a light for some threat. Martial Prowess, probably not the card we should add to our deck. I think we should just add more damage. Hey, speaking of more damage, Jubilee Sunglasses, so that's more damage. Plasmoid, Legion, and unfortunately no attack event and no thwart event. Besides, sorry, we have Flash of Light, so we have no way to fire the Jubilee Sunglasses. But with Mutant Education here, I think it's in our best interest to, especially with a small deck, to shuffle back something important because we're going to be decking out really soon. And so we can set up the, like, kind of, I wouldn't say OTK, but sort of OTK. All right, this goes to 3. Confused. 1 encounter. Now we're angry, so that's okay, because this functionally doesn't do much. But now he attacks for 4 with Overkill, and every attack gets rid of one of these counters. So there's going to be a massive attack. We have to clear all of these so we can block with an ally. Luckily, we have Legion to send in bravely. Very important, when you advance to Venom 3, things get a lot worse. Not only do you get 2 more face down boost cards, so this will be a 4 face down boost cards, but if I'm not mistaken, after you defeat Venom 2, Venom 3 shows up, and then you do the forced response on Venom 3. At least I think that's the case, because the villain has the same title, so it's like you technically attacked Venom 3, which means we have to give ourselves 2 more face down boost cards, because it's the first time we attacked Venom. So we'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boost cards. And some of the boost cards even just give Overkill, so we have to put Legion into play this turn. It's almost like a necessity. Because we're going to be attacked for way too much damage. And then we have to clear both of these, which means we have to attack twice, which is possible. We just have to attack with Legion first to not get the retaliate. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be dicey. It's going to be really, really dicey. So if we want to play Legion, we can do X-Jet plus Plasmoid. Sunglasses is definitely worth it. The issue is if we jump up, we have to spend 2 of the same kind. So we can get rid of Martial Prowess and Flash of Light. That leaves us with Mutant Education. I guess we could actually get rid of the glasses, unfortunately. So we could do glasses plus Flash of Light. Sorry. We could do Sunglasses and Martial Prowess. That means we can play X-Gene and Mutant Education for Flash of Light. I just want to check how much damage is left in our deck, because otherwise we'll have to shuffle stuff back in. We don't have any big damage in our deck. So I think we might actually shuffle into our deck this turn to grab the big old finale, because we can play the finale defeat this, and then play the finale again if things are good. And that seems really, really strong. So I think we need to play Mutant Education because the bottom of our deck is like kind of not particularly strong. We do need to play Legion, so let's make sure we plan this. When we jump up, we have to spend 2 of the same resource because we're grounded. So we have to play Legion. So 2 of the same resource will be any of these combinations. Flashlight's not incredibly important, but allows us to play Jubilee's Coat, so that's nice. We need to attack with Legion, and we need to attack with ourselves to clear these 2 Now We're Angry so we don't have guaranteed overkill. Still, we might have overkill. If that's the case, Flashlight is played for X-Gene and our last card, which means we don't Mutant Education. Huh. So I guess we don't Mutant Education? Because again, Legion is here. X-Gene plus a card is here. 2 cards gets us up. Jubilee has to attack as well because we have to attack these twice to get rid of the overkill. So I think we can't Mutant Education here. Bummer. We have 5 counters here, so the damage is not going to be that bad, but it's still damage. Okay. Let's do it. There's nothing to do down here. So we're going to jump up. When we jump up, we have to pay for grounded. It's removed from the game. So it doesn't really matter what we pay. We'll play wild and physical. We can get 2 physicals. Oh, sorry. We still have it until we play an event. We'll flip up. Our first attack, we'll technically get retaliate no matter who attacks Venom. Oh, but Venom will have toughness in a second. I guess that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter who does it. So Jubilee will attack for 1, which is increased by 1 to 2 into Venom. So what happens? That's 2 damage. So Venom takes 2 damage. So Venom is defeated. These both lose a counter. Technically, the damage happens first, so we don't do the forced response. We flip Venom over. We advance, so we're on Venom 3. Venom 3, I have to do this manually, has 20 health, so we can one-shot him. Wait, do we have lethal this turn? Whoa, wait, do we have lethal this turn? No, I think we need an aggressive energy to have lethal. All right, Retaliate 1. This resolves because this happens at this point after you do damage. So we actually take 1 retaliate damage. Bell Tower is... What's the Bell Tower tax? Whenever you take damage or only from an attack? Okay, so from an attack. So we do take a damage. Has steady, has toughness. So the toughness is now here. And after you attack and damage Venom with a card you control, which we did do, place 1 face down boost card on your identity, 2 face downs if this was the first attack this turn. So the boosts are piling up. Now I'll do X-Jet plus Plasmoid for Legion. I think we're allowed to rip through the deck with Legion. So Legion will attack for 2. Legion will take off the toughness. Oh, wait, Now We're Angry doesn't clear. Oh, no. Wait a second. After Venom takes the amount of damage because of the toughness, we actually don't clear this. Oh, this is going to be a big attack. I forgot this is going to be a big ass attack. So we might not attack with Venom here because I forgot because of the toughness, we don't actually do damage. Hold on. Does that change the entire turn? Because Legion was valuable because Legion's a blocker. If that's the case, we might not play Legion. We might like do Mutant Education. I mean, it's good to have a blocker just in case. But everything is overkill. I guess he's like healing 3 health. So I think we just play him and then we just tank a hit. Like, I don't think we don't use Legion, or if anything, we use Legion to thwart. I don't think we're going to need to. Because if he attacks, it's like we heal for 3, right? Because it's 3 plus 5. So we probably won't die. But we can't get rid of this because we can't do enough damage. Unless Legion draws one that does damage. But Legion's text is after. So Legion attacks for 1, takes 1, Retaliate takes 1. Now We're Angry is only after Venom takes an amount of damage from an attack. So Legion has no way of clearing Now We're Angry. Going for OTK to getting OTK'd. I mean, we were setting up the OTK. This is really good though. This safety is good. Never played this game. Yo, Flesh and Blood, how's it going? But notice it was your other gaming page. Figured I'd give it a watch and support. This game is really good. It's really, really good. It's like this cross section. It honestly plays like Flesh and Blood, where every turn you drop to your hand size and you have to spend your cards to play your other cards. It has that same sort of like Slay the Spire-esque engine. I think Flesh and Blood players like very, very similar game plan. Except you're playing against obviously a scenario. And you can play co-op. Okay, this is interesting. So we're gonna be attacked for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like we can be attacked for like 1300. We could die here. There's no way to get rid of Now We're Angry. He was on 1 health. Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay, but I think we do block with Legion just to prevent more damage. So I'm gonna use Legion there. And then I think we just have to do the best we can, which is X Gene, Mutant Education for Flash of Light. So we'll remove 3 threat here. We can remove the threat from Keep Up the Pressure, but there's no reason to. So we won't, but we'll get it confused. Sorry, my partner just left again, so my cat is yelling. I'm just going to let her know that we're still here. Yeah, no, we're still here. Okay. It's a 1-player game. It's 1 to 4. So I'm playing pure solo, which is like, you know, an acquired taste. A lot of people play this as a pure solo game, but you can play co-op up to 4. They technically added a PvP mode in the recent expansion. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And we'll pass. If we survive this turn, we might have an OTK, because if we clear this, it does. Admittedly, the bell tower will probably flip. It will do 11 damage. If we flip the bell tower first, we might have an OTK. I need more 1-player games. I play this mostly solo. Attack training, not useful. Marrow, damage, useful. Wolverine, a bit expensive. Test defense. Okay, we drew all our slow cards. What is your other channel name? It's called The Metropole Grid. Metropole is a French word. It means metropolis. If you just search The Metropole Grid, however you think the spelling is correct, you'll find it. All right, this goes to 1. Venom 3 is now attacking us. Things are slipping away. It gets a boost card. So it's attacking for 3/4 with overkill plus 4 boost cards, which is obviously absurd. If we defend, we get +2 defense. If we block with Legion, we get +3 health. So defending ourselves is actually like kind of comparable, and then Legion will be ready to take the toughness off. I honestly think we do defend. We, in theory, here have like 13 health, and with this defend is like 15 health. We could get 1 shot. That's the issue. But I think we have to do our best here to defend. So we're defending here for 2. We have to hope. I really planned the whole turnaround getting rid of this thing, but we might not. So 3/4. Boost. Uh-oh. Put it engage with us. So this is going to slow things down. So it's going to activate against us in a second. So 3/4 still. I swear I shuffled the deck. That's 4 more damage coming in. So these are like 2 boosts. 3/4. 5. 6. Biting Retort technically does 7 because it removes its bell counter. So again, 3/4, 5, 6. So we block for 2. So we take 4 damage, which we just remove all the bell counters. So we didn't actually take any damage. Wasn't as bad as it looked. But now these symbiotes attack us. Technically it's not the Nemesis set, but it's the same card. So attacks for 2, attacks for 2. I think we'll just take it. We'll go down to 4. 1 encounter card. Gank up, totally loses the game. Guard the bell tower. Okay, so good ordering, because guard the bell tower, I think, just wipes the bell tower. So treat the bell tower's text box as if it were blank. When revealed, remove each chime counter from the bell tower and flip it to its quiet side. So good ordering there. All right, back to us. So if we're lucky with Legion, we'll be able to knock out both symbiotes. Actually, no, we'll be able to knock out 1 symbiote. I think we have to go down and lick our wounds here because we are very much hurt. We are going to be decking out. So this hand, we can play Wolverine. 1. That's it. Do we have 1 card left over because we can't use X Gene on anything? These events are kind of suspect. Well, Legion can discard a couple cards. Our deck has 1 of each. So like, I would love to have a multi-talented. Oh, multi-talented in this hand would have been so good. But I think we use Wolverine, play Wolverine, and jump down. And Wolverine honestly might attack Venom. I guess if we jump down, overkill doesn't really matter. Oh, wait, they have guards. So no, we can't even attack Venom. All right, so we need Legion to rip a physical from the top, I think. Or sorry, no, an energy. So Legion will attack an enraged symbiote. We'll do Legion's text. Nailed it. Sick. So we lost immediate education, but it's an energy, so we deal 2 damage. We'll knock out this symbiote. It's not an attack, so we can take out the toughness. Symbiote schemes for 1. Maybe we just take out the toughness. Because Legion isn't an attack. With it not being an attack, we can take out the toughness without taking retaliate. I mean, we have Wolverine, so it doesn't really matter. Then we'll dump 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hold on to Marrow, I think, for Wolverine. Wolverine has piercing. We'll use Wolverine now to attack for 3. So he's going to take 2 consequential down to 2, knocking out the rage symbiote. Okay, we will jump down to Alter Ego. When we do, Wolverine recovers. So it goes back up to full health. We have nothing to do here. We'll hold on to Marrow because Marrow like helps us get to the end game. Because if we survive this round, it's somewhat likely we can do 20 damage. Because we have 2, 4, 6, 8 damage. No, we have like 12 damage with Keep Up the Pressure. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Marrow is 18, 19, 20, 21. So as long as we don't draw terribly, we should be able to knock out Wolverine this turn. I guess we have to clear this somehow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Multi-talented helps. We deck out, so we get an encounter card. Yeah, Wolverine hit the board. Pretty good. All the other cards with Wolverine weren't very good, so it was very easy. We are wounded. Venom is only scheming for 2 and a card. We have a fair bit of headroom. The Confuse is not real because he's steady, but we have to just like finish Wolverine. So the best draws here would be one of our doubles. We want a way to Keep Up the Pressure. So if Legion could like hit the remove 2 threat, we would be totally gaming. Because clearing this is going to actually take some of our damage. Another damage card would be really nice too. I think this is a scenario where like we'd rather have the damage classes than the thwart coat. What a sentence. Okay. Stress shuffle, stress shuffle, stress shuffle. Martial Prowess, not very useful. Flash of Light, that at least will remove threat to do our thing. And we have a power in all of us, which makes Marrow cheaper. So that's not the worst. We could definitely got worse than that, I think. All right, this goes to 2. Venom is scheming for 3 and a card. Sorry, 2 and a card. 1, 2. Oh, no. We drew all of them. This is bad because not only is it in play and it has card, but it also will scheme against us. So this goes to 4, with the symbiote goes to 5. 2 encounter cards. If we draw in advance, we might lose. Assault, okay. It's good to draw that at the wrong time. So, Surge. Caught off guard, totally acceptable. So we have to discard an upgrade or a support we control. Looking at the board. X-Gene matters this turn. X-Jet matters this turn. So it's probably the coat. The coat doesn't matter this turn. Actually, coat kind of matters because we can thwart for 2 into this, which clears it. So it's probably the thwart into 2, because if we thwart into 2, we don't have to play Flash of Light, and that saves us more resources. So I think we'll get rid of the X-Gene. Next card. Friends and family. This is an obligation. Oh, this makes cards more expensive, doesn't it? No. Yes. While in hero form, increase the research cost of each event you play by 1. No. As an action, discard 1 identity-specific card from your hand. That's fine. Discard this obligation. So we can get rid of Flash of Light perfectly. We only had 1 ID-specific card in our hand. Okay. I think we can now do the math, slow down, and figure out whether we got there or not. So friends and family, discard identity-specific hand. I think we have to do that. So we'll discard Flash of Light and Alter Ego to get rid of this. Yeah, Flesh and Blood. The big thing about this game is that unlike unlike Flesh and Blood, your hero has 2 sides, an alter ego and a hero. And what your opponent, the villain, does against you is dependent on what side you're on. There's 2 different lose conditions. Each of them are chased on a different side. And certain cards are only playable and certain actions are only playable in alter ego versus hero. You're only allowed to flip once a turn. It's really good. Good thing you're not an event-based hero. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Symbiote now is in the way. Legion has a really awkward break point here. Because if Legion attacks a symbiote, it doesn't really matter. So my guess is we use our... We didn't draw an aggression energy. That would have been sick. Also with the power of aggression, we added... Not the power of aggression, sorry, aggressive energy. We added a couple more wilds to the deck, which is not good with Legion. I think with Legion, you really want to wild minimize. So I guess Marrow deals with Enraged Symbiote or Multi-Talented. So let's plan this out. Jubilee clears Keep Up the Pressure. We get a card. It is very likely going to be the big card that does a lot of damage. You know the one. And then we can play it and it'll do 3 damage 4 times, which is 12 damage. Wolverine will pierce Venom, getting rid of the overkill, taking 3 consequential. Is going to survive. Enraged Symbiote can be knocked out when we play Marrow. So this plays Marrow, which means we can use the X-Jet and 3 cards to play the thing that we have. So Enraged Symbiote is dead. Wolverine is on 17. Okay. We play that thing, it drops him to 5. I mean, I don't think we get it, but it's going to be close. I think we're like 1 damage short is my vibe check. So can we recover here? No, because we have to thwart this. But we shouldn't thwart this if we think we're going to not win this turn. And I don't think we can win this turn. Because again, Venom is on 20. This will drop to 17. This will drop to on average 16. We play the thing that does 12 damages on 4. Marrow does 2 more damages on 2. We can interact with the bell tower favorably, so I don't think we have it this turn. So I think we're going to keep this for next turn, which means it's more likely that we're going to play multi-talented with the X-Jet and we'll play Marrow ourselves and just deal with the board and have enough blockers and get rid of the overkill. I think that's probably a bit more prudent. If that's the case, this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, so we can recover for safety. Multi-talented will full heal us and we can clear a lot of threat. This seems like if we don't have the reach, we'll do the best we can by reaching without overextending. So we'll recover for 3. Cool. Nothing to do in alter ego. Correct. We'll flip up. Doesn't matter who does this, so we'll just do it now. Power on all of us. X-Jet for multi-talented. Such a good card. Multi-talented is just like the most fun in any deck that plays it. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, so we'll knock out the symbiote. I think because you kill it, because you do these in any order, I think we're now allowed to thwart. I'm pretty sure, because we discarded the thing before we had to decide to target. So we'll remove 2 threat from this. We'll heal 2. We're at full health. Then we can do Jubilee's Coat, which is perfect because we can exhaust this to remove 3 threat because this is a thwart event. Okay. Wolverine will attack. Attack will be for 3 with piercings, takes 2 plus retaliate. So we take off the toughness and the villain takes 3. We can't put anything on the bell tower because the bell tower is broken, but we clear now. We're angry, so we don't have retaliate, but Venom's text, or sorry, we don't have overkill, but Venom's text now will give us 2 boost cards. So we're getting attacked hard. Okay. Issues if Jubilee attacks, sorry, if Legion attacks, unless Legion rips a physical, Legion will be dead. And I think we want Legion for a panic chump blocker because we're not expecting any overkill here. So we'll spend 2 for Marrow. After Marrow enters play, only if you're X-Force or X-Men, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we'll deal to the villain. And Venom's text is only for attacks, so we don't have to worry about that text. After you attack and damage Venom, so that's fine. Okay. I think we can here use Legion to thwart for 1 to make this accessible for Legion next turn. And we will use Legion's text because if we heal or do threat, oh, actually we shouldn't use Legion's text because if we remove 2 threat, we waste that value. So this is the problem. So if we hit anything else besides energy, we're happy. But if we hit, sorry, mental specifically, we have to pop keep up the pressure because it's not optional. If you do the response, you have to get the thing. So that sucks. So I'm not going to use Legion, and we'll see what the top deck is. If we attack with Marrow, we get another boost card, which I guess gives us 2 more damage next turn. But if we clear this, we're going to have enough damage anyways. So I think we'll just pass. We've seen all the guard minions. All right, here we go. We would have discarded Wild, so it wouldn't have done anything. So I guess that's fine. Blinding Flash, test the defense, our shopping spree, Fluid Motion. These cards are terrible. All the aggression cards we added were pretty bad besides the resource, but we wanted to draw any damage here. I guess we got Thor at a minimum. Yay. But yeah, really ugly. I think we still probably have lethal. This goes to 1. Venom attacks. For 3 and 3 cards, we'll put Legion in the way. So 3, 4, 5, 6 on Under Fire, 7 on Common Criminal, Advance. So Legion is very much destroyed. Thank you for your service. You were interesting the whole time. Improvised weapons. Okay, this is probably fine. Improvised weapons? We doing improv? What is this? Yeah. So attach to the villain. It's all the resources types and is a hero action to discard this. Otherwise, yeah, it just gives an amplify. 15 damage. We should have that. No problem. So we have literally nothing in our hand that progresses the game state forward besides Thor. So I guess we're thwarting 1 here. We will thwart for 2 on Keep Up the Pressure, which pops. Yeah, all these like 1 cost cards, like Fluid Motion doesn't do anything in this hand because we don't have an attack event. Test the Defense doesn't do anything, so kind of ugly. So when defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for an attack event added to the hand, and all attack events deal 1 additional damage. I think these should have just been attack events. Very easy change we can make to make aggression make sense. So we'll go get the grand finale. We have all the sort of resources we want to play this, which is good. And again, this does 1 more damage for the entire turn, let alone all our attack events do. And let's finish with our big attack here. So Marrow will attack for 2, is defeated to retaliate. We get 2 boost cards because it's their first attack. If we played Jubilee against Strife, she lapses increased cost. I don't think she does. Any character that wants to play a lot of events is not good. And like you can't make these cards. Oh yeah, Grand Finale gets better. That's the one that does get better. But like technically Firecracker doesn't get better. I don't know. Any deck that wants to play like multiple 2-cost cards on a single turn, I think Strife is a problem. It is cool that the Grand Finale does get better though. That is kind of fun. Okay. Wolverine will attack for 3. Is defeated to retaliate before consequential. Oh, you're right. Her coat and her glasses. That's an interesting angle. Because this says after you play a thwart event, remove threat equal to the cost. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then we'll finish it off. We'll do 1, 2, 3. We'll play the Grand Finale. Deal 3 damage to an enemy, so it'll hit Venom. We technically take Retaliate 1, add through the attack, so it won't happen. And then for each type of resource we paid for this, we'll do 3 damage. So we'll do 3, we'll do 3, we'll do 3, -2. Got him. This hand, it's not super playable. I guess we should have played Test of the Defense to set this up. But that was way faster. That was way better. That was like a half-an-hour game, which is what you'd expect. I think we just sent more damage. Like the Grand Finale turn 1 was kind of perfect because it cleared the side scheme. And we didn't get attacked that much. Like it was just enough stun and confused to deal with it. That actually like felt really good. That felt like we were planning. That felt like we had payoffs. I do think like the Bell Tower gives you that sort of like way to feel clever about what you're doing. I do want to say all the like weird attack of things we added to the deck probably don't make sense. I think we should just play as many like little cheap attack events as possible. And while we did get the code, the one turn that we decided not to get the glasses, I think it was probably right, but opening with the glasses would have been sick. But yeah, I think the cards that are too cute might be too cute. We could just play some cheap attack events, the best we have. The aggressive conditioning is like very, very good. I spy some advancement tokens. These ones, technically they're power counters. Very, very rare. Did you play it back in the day with these were a thing? Because these are very, very rare. I'm always looking for more of these. Cool. That was fun. It's 1:40. We have about 20 minutes. Again, this stream, I can't go too long today. We usually would do like a third game here. But there is a Netrunner stream that I am responsible for streaming at 3 o'clock. And I need some setup time, let alone I need to rest my voice, let alone I need to have lunch. So what we're going to do here is I think we're going to finish off on some of the spoilers. We looked at spoilers last week at the end. Are these the Team Covenant ones? Is that what TC is? No, these are, this question gets asked, you know, it's not inconsistently. Focus, please. These were power counter tokens that you could win from coming in, I want to say the top 8 or the top 16 at a national level Netrunner tournament in, I think, 2016. It might be 2015, but I think it's 2016. So these were actually first party Fantasy Flight Games prize support. And I won 2 sets from playing 2 different nationals, or maybe I traded for 1 set. I think I won 2 sets. One was a Canadian national. The other one, I think I won going down and playing in Ohio. But yeah, these were actually prize support. FFG used to have token prize support for a while. I played the OG 96 and then gone to A&R after it was shutting down from FFG. Okay, cool. Yeah, these were actually prize support. FFG had tokens every once in a while from prize support packs, which they weren't bad. They weren't bad. They look nice. They look really good. I think on camera, they're not the best because the side between flipped and unflipped is like somewhat subtle, specifically on a white text box. When it's on something with color, it's very obvious, but I like to show the art because you can't really read the text that easily. On the white text box, it's not the easiest to tell. But for me, they make me so happy. And I've been playing with them for over a decade. So yeah. I might watch the Netrunner stream later, even though I know nothing about it. Tony, I just want to give you a warning that I do recommend jumping into Netrunner streams. I stream Netrunner Thursday nights Eastern if you want to drop in for that. That is like a fun sit down and like ask questions and we play online. The stream that is specifically this afternoon is for a format called Eternal, which is a format where you're allowed to play from cards all the way from the first like box this game came out. And the format is of the most absurd power level. It's ridiculous. So there are games that are like very Yu-Gi-Oh-esque where like you can win on turn 3, people combo out of nowhere. It's fun because it's kind of like, you know, watching cycling and then you go to like a BMX show and it's like, wow, why are they doing backflips? This is ridiculous. So it's like it's not representative of what modern Netrunner looks like, but it is very, very cool Netrunner if you want to watch cards do ridiculous things. But just as a caveat, it's not like I wouldn't recommend it as the first thing to watch as much as the commentators do a great job to make it approachable because Eternal is not a very popular format. And so a lot of people also have to learn for the first time what these cards are that are like 10 years old. Netrunner's an amazing game. Andre is obviously a great host. Thank you, Flesh and Blood. But yeah, if you want to check out Netrunner, please come by on a Thursday night. I think it'll be suiting you better if you're not familiar with Netrunner. But today it'll be a weird thing. All right. I said this before, like we did before, and last week I also attached all of the links to the people who have these spoilers, but all these spoilers came through the community. And so we're just a couple weeks away from getting, hopefully, I don't know. Canada's such a crapshoot. I'm really upset if we don't get cards on the day that I want to get them on. I'm a baby. But there's some nice folks. So if you want to know more about these cards and listen to some more nuanced conversations, go to all the stuff. I'll link them all below. I think they're linked on this page as well. But if you want to look at like Hercules spoilers and listen to podcasts and stuff, please do that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Turn 3, man, they slowed down. I remember turn 1 victories. No, I think modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a lot of turn 1 victories. So you're not off. In Eternal, there is no turn 1 victories. It's usually turn 2 or turn 3. So it's slightly slower than Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, this is Herc. I am excited for Hercules. I do want to say between Wonder Man that we looked at last week, Wonder Man looks so absurdly smooth. Everything he does looks cheap and easy and flexible, where Hercules has definitely things you have to do and then the rewards you get from them. When you haven't done the things that you have to do, you look very weak. You are one of the lower hand size heroes. And the idea is that in the late game, you're busted because everything you do is very, very, very strong. I don't know if I honestly love that archetype all the time. The build-up heroes that like the early games, the struggle and the end is super easy. That's kind of the opposite of the narrative I want in a lot of games. I actually think a lot of games are more interesting where it's easier at the beginning and then it gets harder at the same time. Shout out to Enchantress, which is one of the few Marvel Champions villains that actually mimics the sort of expected difficulty curve. That being said, I do think this is a game where you play as a hero. So getting to the point where you're like, you are incredibly heroic and just crushing through things, there's definitely something to be said about that. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of characters like that where like Ironheart, Iron Man, early game, struggle bus, late game, things don't matter because you do everything. Regardless, Hercules in the 14 hit point category, and I think we've been told that Hercules comes with that that one cost card that readies you if you have 14 or more health, which is really useful. Hercules begins the game with a labor deck and a gift deck. Those are, I think, 3-card decks that you have to shuffle, so you don't know what's on the top of them. The labors are the things you have to do, just like the stories of Hercules, and the gifts are the things you randomly get from completing the stories of Hercules, the labors. As an action, if there are no labor cards in play, this is the only way to get a labor card. You can reveal the top card of the labor deck. So as soon as turn 1, action 1, you can get it on the table. The 3 different labors, though, do 3 different things. One asks you to defend, one asks you to do a lot of damage, one asks you to thwart a lot, and I don't think Hercules is as good as doing all of them equally. So you would love to be able to pick the labor, and I think I'm a big fan that you get a random labor because that'll actually add a lot of inconsistency to your games as opposed to like Maria Hill always grabbing the right, starting card. So that's kind of cool. Art's also really good. Very big smile. I'm going all in on Hercules and I'm 100% ready to get my heart broken by how clunky he seems. I think I am in the camp of like, it does seem like very difficult. I'm hoping they've done a good job of making it exciting and fun. They've been doing a really good job on latest heroes. Like heroes have been fantastic. So I'm hoping that it does have a good curve. But like compared to Wonder Man, it's very, very different looking. Now, this is the other side. 132 stat line is not amazing for solo. 3 attack is good, but one of his labors requires him to thwart a fair bit. Now, he only has 4 hand size, which also stinks. However, after a labor card is added to the victory display, which will only happen 3 times in a game, you get a jump. You get to get the top of the gift card, which the gift deck is random 3 cards. They're all good. Hercules gets to ready. That's also good. And then he may flip to alter ego form. Don't you draw 4 cards? I think it says on the labors, on the gifts. Once you get the gift, you also draw 4 cards. So you refill your hand, you flip, you ready, and that's good. Ready Hercules, you may flip to alter ego form. Okay, so you do get a lot of value from that. The good thing about the flip too is you can immediately grab the next labor, which I'm not sure how commonly you're going to do that, but at least that's like a good payoff for doing the thing. As much as 4 hand size sucks, and Hercules does have resource generators. They're just a bit limited. Amadeus Cho is tied to one of the labors as a 2-cost ally is really good. And when a minion would attack you, it instead attacks Amadeus Cho instead. Honestly, you can build that as an upside, which is really funny. And there's a protection card we saw in Wonder Man that allows you to protect Amadeus Cho. But the action for exhausting Amadeus Cho draws a card. So you are incentivized to protect Amadeus Cho because that's a very cheap card draw engine, and card draw is better than a resource. He's a wild himself. One of the labors produces Amadeus Cho for free, which like if you open with that one seems so good to open. And it does seem like the one that's the easiest to finish. However, it's the one that will guaranteed take you multiple turns to finish. But opening with Amadeus seems really good. This card seems fun. I really like how this card gives you a mini game on its own. I wish there were more cards like this. The Gift of Battle. So almost all the cards are like this. They're 3-cost cards that reduce the cost by 1 for every gift. So at the beginning of the game, this is a 3 for 5. In terms of like Marvel Championship, as soon as the core said you expect 3 for 8 to be what you want. 2 for 5 is already okay, but it's not amazing. 1 for 5 is really good. 0 for 5 is just buck wild. It's very kind of nutty. That is the idea behind Hercules. The beginning is going to suck. Again, imagine you are a 4 hand size hero. So if you draw gift of battle, that's all you're doing, barring a double. So yeah, you really need to get your first gift. And at that point, more gifts, more better. I think you have 3 of these in your deck. And I don't know if I love this. Like, this feels like it's going to be awful and then it's going to be busted. I wonder how long we're going to hang out in the middle section where it's just like a 1 for 5. And that's the other thing, is like, this card's not interesting if you ask me. It's just the numbers that change, the cost. There's no kicker. The ordering doesn't matter. Any of the sort of things that you can actively interact and change your ordering on the turn, change your deck building, that doesn't matter. This card just numerically gets better, which I think is maybe going to get boring. That's my concern. Son of Zeus, though. Ready Hercules for 2 cost. That's not the worst. It's not amazing, but you do have 3 attack. And then depending on your gifts, different things happen. I like this a lot better than just like reducing cost, because I'd rather have a well-costed card that just gets more interesting, more modal, more powerful, as opposed to just a cheaper card, because the card being more expensive or less expensive doesn't make the card more interesting. With 1 gift, you ready an identity-specific upgrade. Hopefully you have one by that time. With 2 gift cards, and mind you, you do all of these, it's at least, you gain a tough status, and a 3, you draw a card. So this is a 1 cost ready that draws a card's ready and gives you a tough. That's really good. I think 2 is a really big jump. Toughness is great. I don't think you want to be defending with a 3 attack stat, and you have the health to just take damage. So maybe even toughness is not that good. I'm assuming you only have 1 of these. That's my guess. I don't know. Probably people do know. Armor of Olympus. Gauntlets of Hercules. When Hercules defends against an attack, exhaust the gauntlet, and Hercules gains retaliate for the attack for each gift card you control. I think this is a really cool thing about Hercules, is he actually has a lot of 0 cost upgrades, and that's very important for someone with a 4 cost hand. It's easy that you can get these onto the table, and then the second cycle, you know, you're just drawing into your events that hopefully are better by then. Obviously, this card does nothing, and there's a big chance that in your first cycle, you're going to be struggling to deal with your labors that you don't even have time to play this. You have to exhaust this when you're defending, so you have to defend, but this can be Retaliate 3, which, like, it's very easy to build a whole deck around Retaliate 3, but it's a 0 cost armor. Who knows? I love this beam shot. That I'm so glad they went with this. This is the helm, and I think this is very similar. Oh no, it's actually not that similar. When the villain attacks, exhaust Hercules' helm, reduce the amount of damage this attack deals by 1. I really like this. It's defense traded, which is interesting. So I think it technically makes you the defender, but this is only when the villain. So like, I think if anybody gets attacked, I think you're allowed to exhaust this. And I'm pretty sure if it's defense traded, it just makes you the target of the defense. This also just means that it's kind of like inflating your health, because any attack reduces the damage by 1, and you have 14 health. So that actually scales really well, because the bigger your health pool, the more often you're safe taking attack, so that you can fire this. I like this card a heck of a lot. I wish this card showed up in more places. This sort of effect is great. I like this a lot. As a 0 cost card, this is very easily playable. It doesn't care about the gifts. Then we have the Lion of Olympus. It's temporary, so it's only for the round. I do think if they ever reprinted Nick Fury, I wonder if they would give it the temporary clause, or whether they would still explain it. When I first heard about Tigra, I thought she'd be terrible. Yeah, that's the idea. I think a lot of people thought Tigra wouldn't be interesting or not as good as Winter Soldier, and they did such a good job. You get +1 to all your stats. For 0 cost, that's not awful. I do think this really wants you to have readies, and it looks like we have multiple readies in the kit and in the aspect cards, or the neutral cards. So this does help a lot, especially because your thwart sucks. But anytime you get plus stats, I think you want to look at anytime you can ready, or anything that scales off of your stats. And I think you can play a whole bunch of those. Those are the cards that was spoiled. My voice is really falling apart. Hold on. Let's see what else we got here. So let's look at some of our labors. We only have 3 of them. So you can't choose these. They're shuffled and you get the top one randomly. And I think they're all pulling you in a different direction. So again, there's going to be some massive inconsistency here. So firstly, when revealed, find a non-elite minion with at least 6 printed hit points, reveal it, heal all damage from it, and attach this card to it. You are allowed to search your Nemesis set, and your Nemesis set does have a 6 cost health minion in it, so you're always guaranteed to get a 6 cost health minion. This is now going to be, what, +6 hit points? Because after you attach it to minion, it gains elite, so you can't cheese it. It has +6 hit points, so you're going to have a 12 health minion. An attached minion cannot take damage, except from Hercules' specifically attacks. That means Retaliate doesn't work. That means a whole bunch of weird defense stuff doesn't work either, but you have to attack it. You have base 3 attack. This thing will have 12 health. Even if you have a ready, this will take you probably 2 or 3 turns to deal with it, and it's going to be smashing into you. I think the arts on all of these labors have this like cool cross section where the left side is modern, or and the right side is ancient, or vice versa. I think this one is less obvious. It just kind of looks like somebody standing behind a building, a Hydra behind a building. The other ones I think do a better job. Like this one's cool. This one is also really cool. But the art is like really neat that they have like a really strong design direction of what they wanted from this series of arts. This one, I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know how easy it is to knock out a 12 health minion quickly. The 12 health minion will be depending on the encounter set. Again, your Hydra that you have in your Nemesis set is bad. I do think it is bad. It just takes less damage and costs resources. You have a 3 for 5 attack, which sucks. So the breakpoint is if you do your 3 for 5 and then you do a basic, you're at 9. No, you're at 8. So you don't even defeat the minion next turn because you're only going to hit it to 11. So like, I just can't tell how quickly you do this. Like, what's the chance that you don't grab your labor on turn 1? Like, there's a chance that you don't grab a labor on turn 1. There's also a chance that you grab the wrong labor and scoop. That being said, you can play aggression. So you can play all the cards that are cheaper that aren't 3 for 5s on turn 1, especially the stuff that like targets minions, like the core set stuff that's like 2 for 5 with overkill. Like that's a lot better. But yeah, obviously who knows what this is going to do. Then we have Embody Pathos. So attach side scheme, when revealed, find an encounter side scheme that's not in play and reveal it and add 1, trading each per player on it as 1 and attach this card on it. So it's like you're playing solo. Then you place 6 additional threat on it. Attach side scheme gains assault. That's really important. So when you thwart, you can use your attack. That's really important. But threat cannot be removed from this besides from Hercules' thwarts. If this didn't have assault on it, it would be awful. But now on average, again, you're looking at something that has like 10 threat on it, is my guess. Which if Hercules is thwarting this with 3 thwart, that's going to take a couple turns. I think this one is actually one of the more manageable ones, funny enough. And that's because there's a lot of side schemes that don't do bad things to you. Like maybe it's an amplify icon, who cares? Maybe it's an acceleration icon, whatever. Maybe it's text that's not relevant, like +1 attack to the minions that aren't at the table. Like this one actually seems like the most doable. Even in aggression, the fact that you can boost your attack stat and use that on assault, like that's actually kind of good. But there are side schemes that don't do anything, but most of the minions that have 6 more health do something to you. So it's going to depend on what's in Hercules deck, but actually this one's the one I'm surprisingly least worried about drawing on turn 1 because side schemes might not matter. If it has a hazard icon, yeah, that's bad, but like you can choose it. And you can choose from your Nemesis side set, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see how bad the Nemesis side scheme is. You even can have one like 0 threat on it and then you add 6 or like 1 threat and it goes to 7. Like that's doable. So this one seems okay, but it's a huge difference which one of these you draw. And then this one I think is the most, maybe the easiest to do, specifically also if you're playing a protection deck. It also just gives you a benefit immediately because when revealed, you find Amadeus Cho and put him to play. And Amadeus Cho is an ally that you can exhaust to draw a card. Then when the villain would attack Hercules, choose one of your allies. The villain attacks that ally instead. I think this force interrupt interacts with the force interrupt on Amadeus Cho that has like similar text. I don't know if one overrides the other. At the end of the day, they're kind of very similar. But after the attack resolves, if Hercules defended, and you don't have to perfect defend, you just have to defend, remove a labor counter from here. Now the downside is Hercules attacks or Hercules' stats are really attack heavy, but this will get cleared in 3 turns. The problem is if Amadeus Cho is defeated, that's still okay as long as you have allies in play. But this seems kind of good because then you're functionally a 5 hand size hero as soon as possible. I think this is probably the easiest one to clear. The issue is like you just can't clear it faster than 3 turns because you have to be able to ready yourself and get multiple attacks, and none of that's consistent with your kit, especially during the villain phase. Hand size is small, so Savage Strike doesn't feel great, but that's the same time it helps a lot with Hydra. Yeah, I guess Savage Strike is a bit better. It's your whole hand though, right? As a 3-cost card. But it does give you a massive 9 attack. It's just at the end of the day, like +6 attack and piercing for the Hydra will matter. That's for sure. But like, it's not that much different than doing a 2 for 5 and then setting up like one of your 0-cost events, or sorry, 0-cost upgrades. Those are the labors. They're wildly different. Honestly, this is the one that's the most scary, which is like kind of funny because this is the one that I think I would see Hercules doing more often than not. This one seems doable depending on the scenario. And this one seems actually just like generally fine. Like there's a lot of card decks that would love to be able to just pull the ally out of play and block anyways. So this just works for your game plan. All right, it's 157. We have to fly through this. This is not going to be a great review. Excuse me. Maybe we'll do 10 minutes over. These are the rewards, which is really important. This is the Nemean Lion skin, permanent. And again, anytime you get one of these, you don't choose, you randomly get one from the top of the deck. So there's a huge amount of difference here as well, because you might get the one that gives you plus attack, but you've already defeated the Hydra or whatever. So that's still fine because they're good cards. So you get +2 hit points and steady. That's nice. And after this card enters play, draw 4 cards. The steady thing thinks you're less likely to see that upgrade that gives you steady if you have 14 or more health because it's built into the kit. This one is like not the best. I honestly think this is the worst. I'm assuming. I don't remember the other ones, but they all give you plus hit points. But gaining steady and drawing cards doesn't seem like it'll help you complete your other labors. And I think you really need your gifts to complete your other labors. So this seems kind of sleepy for me. Then you have the Shield of Perseus, +1 hit point and retaliate. That one already is a bit better. It helps a bit. Retaliate 1 maybe helps with the defending one. That's the shield you see on the art. And then Sword of Peleus, I think that's how you say it, gets hit +1 hit point and piercing, and then draw 4. Like these are all good. I thought they'd be better. Like, it's kind of like Hercules has all these texts on his stat blocks. So he's like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hit points, steady, retaliate, 1 piercing. Like, that's good. But these don't actually help you as much as like just your cards getting better because you have more gifts on the table. I think they're really dependent, right? Like that you get the gift that helps you with the next thing. Like if you defeat the Hydra and then you get this one and then you have to protect Amadeus Cho, like, yeah, I'm in. It's kind of weird. I would love this to work. I love this to be really cool. Unshakable, I use that in Draxia, Unshakable. All right, we're just going to go through the spoiled cards, officially spoiled. Call for Backup gets a reprint. I play Call for Backup a lot when I play Leadership. It's just really, really good. The art is fantastic. Very, very great art. And each player may search your deck and put an ally into play. If your ally has enters play effects, this is really good. So like you can play Nick Fury. I play Beast a fair bit with this. It's very, very nice. It's very easy to transfer 3 thwart into getting your best ally on the table immediately and pulling the right ally for the time. This card's very, very important. Avenge Me. So I think we got defensive conditioning, aggressive conditioning, whatever the justice conditioning is called. I think this is the leadership one, which is weird. Only play if you have the Avenger trait. It's literally a statue. I wish it had statue subtype. I thought that'd be really funny. You attach it to an ally, max 1 per ally, and then when the attached ally is defeated, draw 2 cards. Interesting. It's not unique, so you can have all the statues you want, but it is 1 card for 2 cards later. Card draw in this game is really important. You also can fire this on any of the cards that defeat your own minions. I think they defeat them. What do these cards say? Like Last Stand. Is it defeat or discard? Oh, it discards them. That doesn't defeat them, does it? So I don't think you can defeat your own minions, or sorry, your own allies. This one's not bad. Like to me, this feels a bit like what is that one where you see Iron Man inside his suit? Where it's 1 card for 1 card later. This is a very easily playable 1 card for 2 cards later, as long as you're playing enough allies that you can't miss on the ability. But yeah, assess the situation. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Assess. Oh, I'm going through all the cards that say the word assault. That can't be it. Like assess the situations has some niche amount of play. Some people really like it. I think anyone who plays events is really good. I don't think we have anyone who wants to play upgrades, but now I guess Yellow Jacket has another target because you can always just like attach this to Yellow Jacket who comes into play, and then Yellow Jacket's really good. This card seems fine. It seems kind of boring, but it seems fine, and you can attach it to anybody's ally, so you can actually help people around the table, which is nice. I'm assuming that becomes their card, so they draw 2 cards. I don't 100% know how that works. I don't play multiplayer. I'm assuming that they draw the 2 cards. Death Cry, an Avenger. Hero interrupt. When Death Cry makes a basic attack, she has 3 attack, 2 consequential, 1 thwart, 4 health. That's good numbers. Deal your hero 1 damage, and Death Cry, if you want, this is not forced, takes -1 consequential damage for this attack. That's a lot of damage on a single card. She is a 3 health card that can attack for 12 or 9 in a block, as long as you're okay taking a bit of damage. Classically, leadership decks are okay bleeding a little bit of damage for sure, on the basis that they have allies to block for them. So they don't always interact towing the villain. You know, clarity of purpose. You know how that works. Like, you're pretty good taking some amount of damage playing leadership. I think that's cool. There's not that, I guess there is a couple leadership allies that attack for 3. But that is definitely something that is beneficial for you. This seems good. It's also an Avenger. You can upgrade it. This seems fine. That seems fine. We're at the point where like, unless the ally does like something really wacky, you largely have to compare it to some of the other options you have. And the card pool is so big if you play like the non-limited format that there's like a lot of cards that do something similar. So this card probably only gets incredibly exciting if you can attach it with something that like really works off of it. Like Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham must be in here. Like Spider-Ham, now you get a resource when Death Cry attacks. Like that's very, very good. So if you can find a way that the interaction makes more sense, power to you. But on its like face, it's just a totally fine card. Avenge Me is you immediately throw them under the villain's attack for 2 cards. Exactly. You just tell them, don't worry, we'll build a statue. This is worth it. Thor Odinson, 4 cost, 3 thwart, 3 attack, 4 health, huge numbers. After Thor makes his basic thwart, discard cards from the top of the counter deck until you discard a minion, put that minion to play engage with you. You can't play Thor and Thor, so you can't draw 2 cards. But if you want to play a leadership like Winter Soldier or leadership ally collector like leadership Tigra, which I know people like to do, this does become some amount of value to you. I think Thor, 3 thwart is very good for 4 health for 4 cost, but at the end of the day, I would only play this in a deck in which you want to have minions engage with you, which is obviously only a subsection of the heroes that you should be playing this in. You have to discard cards until you find a minion. That is so much worse. In certain encounter sets, that's like terrible. It's really, really bad because there's not a lot of minions, let alone there's a big difference between the biggest minion and the smallest minion. If you could search for it the way that Tigra does, obviously that'd be way better. Hey, Donovan, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Pop in to say hi. Thank you. That's very kind. We're just like wrapping up here because we only have like honestly -3 minutes to wrap up the stream. What else we have here? Avengers Compound. Play only if your identity has the Avenger trait, max 1 per deck as an action. And this seems like it could be an alter ego thing, but it's not. Exhaust this and to choose to tuck an ally from your hand here. If there are no allies tucked here or play the ally tucked here as if it were in your hand. I read that sentence terribly. Let me try that again. So as an action, you can tuck an ally in your hand here, or that's only if there's no allies here, or you can play the ally tucked here as if it were in your hand. I'm not a huge fan playing solo, having the cards that tuck away things for later dates. Right? Sometimes you have one card left over in your hand and you want to tuck it for later, specifically because the circumstance and where that card is good is not the circumstance you're in right now, right? Like, I don't have a good example for this, but like Squirrel Girl is only good if there's minions. So maybe you want to tuck away a Squirrel Girl so Squirrel Girl can show up later. I can't say that word very easily. Hopefully that's obvious. Or if there's a certain kicker on a card and you don't have the kicker card, so you want to store it later, like that makes a bit of sense. But I'm not a big fan of those. Like, what is that called? Resource reserve. Like, I don't play this in solo. And I think these cards are just way more interesting in multiplayer, specifically because anybody can do that action ability on multiplayer, right? Exhaust, choose. Yeah. So the idea is that during someone else's turn, more accurately, you can hit this button to play an ally on someone else's turn. I think that's a cool thing about this, that allows you to play allies during the like timing window that allows you to be flexible during multiplayer. It's not something I know much of, but to me, that's like the best thing about this card is it allows you to play allies at weird times. Otherwise, just tucking cards for later, not something I want to do. Generally, how I play, particularly on higher difficulties, is just play your hand as best as you can. And like tucking a card for later means you're doing less now. That card has to be really good later for that to make sense, right? Like maybe you have a hand that doesn't make sense for Nick Fury, but it's so good to play Nick Fury later. Maybe the villain's already confused, so you don't want to play Prof X, but usually I just use that as a resource instead of going down one hand size. Like you're functionally giving yourself a hand size penalty for later. That being said, that card now gives you a hand size boon the next turn. So next turn, you're a 6 attack hero. Sorry, 6 health hero. One more time, a 6 hand size hero. There's some value to that. Got work here in a bit. Happy I was able to stop by even at the tail end. Avengers Compound Spectrum Alley. Yeah, that's a cool one, right? Like that's the one where you need to be on a certain board state for Spectrum to be really good. And so like I could see you tucking Spectrum for later, let alone Spectrum is expensive. But at the end of the day, right? Like if your deck can't consistently play Spectrum in most hands, I wouldn't play Spectrum in the deck, I don't think. Yeah, it's interesting. I do think the multiplayer aspect of this card is probably more interesting. I don't imagine playing it a lot in solo. Ancient Rivalry, it's a team up between Hercules and Thor, which means you need to play the Thor. That's the problem. It's like it wants you to play Leadership Thor in this precon. And I don't think I want to play Leadership Thor because I don't know how many payoffs you have for fighting minions in this stack. It doesn't look like a lot. Regardless, search your discard pile for identity-specific upgrade and add it to your hand. A lot of those cost 0 and ready Hercules and Thor. That's really good because this is one of the cheap readies that will help you fight. The problem is if you're using Thor, at least for thwarting, it's pretty bad. So maybe you use Thor to attack and you feel okay about it. But that's a good payoff. That's generally good because your upgrades are really cheap, at least in Hercules. In Thor, your upgrades are expensive, but they're very, very good. And that's that. All right, it's 206, so I can't go deeper, but we didn't talk about the cards that were spoiled by the community, folks. They are below. Please check them out. Just to do a quick wrap up here. How are we doing on time? Yeah. I have some videos. We didn't get a video out this Friday, but we're going to try and get a video out every Wednesday morning, and then we'll stream every Sunday. I do want to apologize. And it's so frustrating, but I have a Maria Hill gameplay coming up on Wednesday. And the idea is that this Maria Hill game, we played none of the big airships. We only played small supports and see what it's like if you play Maria Hill and don't do the big airship thing, which like the big airship thing in solo just takes over the entire game and the game warps around it. So we wanted to try something else. The game were really good. I recorded a game. It was okay. I re-recorded the game after making some deck changes and it was better. The issue is like there's a bit of crackling in the microphone. I don't know why. It's just like an interference thing, a cable thing. It's not something I can fix in post really easily. So there's a bit of audio like artifacts in it. It's not unlistenable, but like I wish it was different. I think I'm always like my biggest critic. So please just so you know that's there. I'm aware of it. I have some like timestamps above it. It's like such a pain where you spend so much time and then it's like not perfect and not in a way that you don't want to do it. You like, I don't want to do it again because I spent so much time on it and it's like, it's a good game. Regardless, I filmed some other stuff. So this weekend I filmed a Groot game, Protection Groot. So that'll be coming up next Wednesday. And I'm trying to just have stuff in the pipeline. So I'm not scrambling the 2 nights before to get a video up, that we can always have like this comfortable backlog. So that's nice. Otherwise, we'll be back next Sunday. We did hit 1,000 subscribers just a while ago. So hopefully sometime this month, and I'll let you know before it happens, we'll do a longer stream either on Saturday or Sunday. And we'll probably sit down and do like a whole campaign run, or like we'll answer questions. We'll do something special. It's been really hard right now, just for context. The new Netrunner set comes out at the beginning of March. So I have to work on spoilers content for that and things will get a bit busier. March is a bit of a busy, sorry, February is somehow a busy month, it turns out. But yeah, there's just a lot of things going on. On that note, I have to leave to do another stream. So that's just how it is. Hope you have an amazing day. Can't wait to see Maria Hill deck. You got this. Thank you. Is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. good and true solo? Metal Blizzard, how's it going? It depends what you want, right? I think no. I think though I want something that's a bit more difficult. I think the box has like really inconsistent solo play. I think MODOK is one of the easiest solo scenarios they've ever printed. I don't think Baron Zemo was a lot of fun. I think the Thunderbolts is one of the more interesting scenarios they've ever made, but it's not very interesting in solo. So I would say overall, no. I think Maria Hill and Nick are very cool heroes. Maria Hill is very interesting, very, very powerful. Nick is fascinating, one of the coolest heroes they've made in a long time. Black Widow, the first encounter set, is sick. I don't like the campaign mode of the box. I think it's really samey and like just kind of tedious. And I think like Batroc has really wild balancing when it comes to solo. So it's not my favorite solo box, but like Marvel Champions is, you know, kind of pizza-like. Even like not the best Marvel Champions is still pretty good. But if you're just trying to like, you know, pick up one thing, it would not be the first solo box I'd recommend. If you can pick them up, just about all of the mutant waves are really, really great for solo play. Some of them I wouldn't recommend interacting with the campaign mechanics. Just still play them though. You don't have to do the campaign stuff. What's your best solo box? Mutant Genesis is great. Age of Apocalypse is great. Sinister Motives, really hard to find, is great. I have a very soft spot for Rise of Red Skull. It's their first box, so it's a bit uneven, but it's a really fun time. If you ask me, it's a bit easy. Those are the ones I would say very easily. Next Evolution is not bad. It's also pretty good, but those would be my best three by a mile. But there's no bad box. Just watch out. The only box I would warn about is like Civil War. It's specifically built for PvP. You can play it solo, but it's not great. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my least favorite. I'm a bit biased. And Galaxy's Most Wanted is by far the most difficult by a mile, but there's some cool stuff in it. It's just very, very, very difficult, very punishing. All the other boxes are fair game, if you ask me. Thanks. Of course. Let me know if you pick something up and if you enjoy it. Ask for other opinions though, because like I have a very specific opinion set, which is like I love campaign mode. I play mostly solo. I like to play on expert. So what I prioritize might not be what you prioritize. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you like content like this, if you want to take a second to leave a like on the video, I forgot to ask that last week, I think, on the stream. It really does help grow. I'm going to answer some YouTube comments later tonight. I have to catch up because we didn't post anything this week. I didn't get to check in, but really appreciate people hanging out, taking the time to leave messages. It's all been very, very nice. And I look forward to every Sunday, let alone putting out a video. We'll see you Wednesday morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're watching the Super Bowl, good luck with the sports stuff. Hopefully your team wins, or the team that you don't like doesn't win. I guess it's zero-sum game out there, huh? Take care, y'all. Catch you in the next one.